live. Oh, welcome everybody. Welcome to the first live stream of 2025. I'm really excited to do this with you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you guys doing today? I'm eager to do continue to do this live stream, and obviously we got a lot of exciting things to talk about with Blackmagic Design with this live stream. Um, and let me know when you guys are here. Let me know when you guys are in chat, and I'll be able to pull you guys out. I already see Fritz is here. He says it's early for the party. Hey, like I said in the chat, hey man, it's happy hour somewhere in the world. So, but I know it's going to be in about less than 30 minutes. It's going to be happy hour for me because I can't wait to check out Blackmagic, what Blackmagic has to do. But let me know you guys are in the chat. Also, let me know how my audio sounds. This is my first time out here using this setup. I have a completely different setup live stream wise from what I've been using. Epic Films, hey, what's up, man? Cheers from Brazil. What's the time frame for you guys? I'm assuming you're about what, an hour ahead of us on the East Coast. Let me know, man. But yeah, hopefully I sound okay. Let me know how the audio sounds. Okay, Fritz says sound good. Also, again, this is my first time using this app, so I'm about to play. I'm about to cut and play my video, the video I did just to test, so I can make sure when we do the live stream, we are good to go. So let me see this and let me know if this sounds good to you guys. And some things that are coming out, getting light of NAB, getting ready to start this Saturday. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go to NAB. So anybody that's going to be out there, I hope you guys enjoy yourself. But this is involving Blackmagic Design. If you guys are hit this. By the way, I am hosting a live stream watch party of Blackmagic. They're announcing all their new products. I will be starting the stream at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow Eastern Standard Time. So okay, you guys are interested, no check problem. It out. But so apparently some pictures. All right, so that's the main thing I wanted to know, is that we are good to go on the audio on there. So all right, so and I'll just bring this down. So that way I am going to have we'll have the live stream right there. So I'll be hearing it go with you guys. It's a bit loud, no problem. I'll turn it down, no big deal. So, all right, we're good. So let's see who is here. All right, we got people coming in. Flip McCall Safri, hey, what's up? Switzerland, hey, what's going on? Thank you for coming. 10, so it must be about what, 3:30? 3:30 over you guys time, 11:30 in Brazil. Yeah, all right. Yeah, so just an hour ahead. Thank you guys for taking your time. Again, everybody's coming in saying sound good, awesome. So let me cut back to remove this, and let me get myself. So I may be having a guest coming in. It's not confirmed yet. I hope this person will show up. If you've been on my channel for a while and you've been following me, you might know who this is that may be coming in. But really, really excited to be here, you guys. Let's go over quickly what we did, because there's been a couple more things that have came out since the initial picture came out, and we got a little bit more details on what is potentially coming with this brand new Pyxis that will be hosting the 12K sensor. So as you guys, I've got my little templates up here. So again, as we know, in about, let's see here, 25 minutes, Blackmagic is going to start hosting their NAB 2025 update. Well, we all know we're all coming here for the Pyxis. Also, let me know what you guys are doing. Let me know what you guys are hoping for in the Pyxis. Leave it in chat. I'll definitely are going to spring with you guys. Also, I'm also doing a little goal of some super chats. If I get uh, 10 $5 super chats, what I'll do is win, because I'm definitely going to get the Pyxis 12K. If all seems what I've been reading and what has been seen from this poster, I'm definitely going to get it. If I get it, what I'll do is I'll do a live Q&A, let you guys answer some questions so we can chat about it. But if I reach that $10 super chat. But let's go into the Pyxis. Now, I've broken the Pyxis down into sort of three categories. One, things that we definitely do know about the Pyxis, what we can assume about the Pyxis, and then what we really do not know, because some people has been saying things and it hasn't really been that way. So what we absolutely do know from this picture that we see right here is that it's going to be using the same sensor from the URSA City 12K large format. It's going to have 16 stops of dynamic range. And if you look down over here in that bottom left, it says it will do 12K up to 60 frames a second. Now, we also see that there's an 8K and a 4K, but we don't know for sure. But those are the things that we do know. Now, there was another picture that City D actually posted on their Twitter panel. And I know it's going to be really, really, really hard to show here, but in that it has that same poster and it has 8K. When I cropped in, again, it's very digitized, so this will still take a grain of salt, but it looks like it, based on what the banner says, it's going to do 8K at 120 frames a second. Because what I can make out here is that there's at least 3 digits on the frames per second portion on this picture. And it looks like it says, what my eyes can tell me, I believe it looks like at the last two are a 2 and a 0. Now, again, this is not fully confirmed because, again, it's a very, very fuzzy, low-res picture. So I'm still saying, hey, hold out a grain of salt, but it looks like it's going to do 12K at 60 frames a second, 8K at 120 frames a second. And so that's what we got with that we can assume. We can also assume, since it's going to have the same sensor as the URSA City 12K, the readouts are going to be roughly the same as the URSA City 12K. We can also assume that there is going to be a Super 35 crop mode. And lastly, just given the price of the current Pyxis and the body-only URSA City 12K large format, it's probably going to be somewhere between $3,200 and $6,000. That's based on what we know in some of the things. Now, there's been a lot of talk about built-in indies, and some people have said, oh, built-in indies is confirmed. Nowhere have I seen anything, whether if it's from the picture or any other sources, that give me any clear indication that there's going to be built-in indies. And by all accounts, it looks like it's sharing the same body as the original Pyxis. And if that is the case, I don't see, at least based on what Blackmagic has said to me directly about it, also what they have said to other outlets, and basically the design of the body, I don't know if built-in indies are going to be the case. I will be happy to be wrong. I will be happy to be wrong about that. But just before we disappoint ourselves, right now there's nothing that confirms that there's going to be built-in indies. There is also a possibility that what they may do with this mount is that they may make this be an interchangeable mount, and they may have a mount that may have an ND system built into it. But as far as I can tell, there's nothing about that. We also don't know any idea right now what the max frame rate is at 4K. We don't know what the power limitations, again, if we're assuming it's the same body as the Pyxis, it's going to have a limitations of about 12 to 15 volts, which can limit the options of what you could do with that. And we also don't know if there's any Super 16 crop mode options. Let's see. Oh, we got a lot of people coming in. All right. Stefan, we got Stefan in here. Hey, what's your stream? Looks good and sounds great. So the program I'm using is StreamYards, but I'm only using it for this one. And the reason why I was using it is because of the potential guest I may have here. So that was the reason why it just made the most sense. I don't know if I'm going to hold it continuously unless there's monetary reasons that I could continue, because the payment options that streaming is offering is ridiculous. I just happened to get a little test trial of the full thing for the week, so that's what I'm planning to do here. Jonathan Poultry, hey, what's going on, man? I'll always love the content that you're doing. How's it going? Looking forward to the announcement. Also prepping my studio for a real quick reaction after. Hey, man, yeah, we're all gonna be excited. I cannot wait. Let's see here. Let's see if Gino, hey, thanks so much, man, for joining the stream. Really appreciate it. Central, hey, man, thank you for joining. Last year, Blackmagic said they were going to look at the Pocket series after releasing all their expensive models. Hey, look, this is another expensive model. We'll see. We got Alex Grant here. 12K up to 60 frames is crazy. A part of me is excited. Another part of me feels that I bought the 6K as soon as it was released. Hey, look, man, the way I always look at it with cameras is, as long as you bought it, if we went into the mindset of an investment, meaning you went into the mindset, especially with pro level cameras like these, and you were able to utilize it and maximize it to where you could get some return of investments. Yeah, it kind of sucks that there's a new one that comes out that's better, but at the same time, I look at it like, did the camera do its job? If the camera didn't do its job, then but yeah, a lot of people are going to be saying there's a lot of people that's going to be bad, and I can definitely see that. So let's see here. So that's regarding the Pyxis. Now there was another picture that came out, and I'm sorry I don't have it here. I couldn't find it, but it looks like there's another banner that is going to. What else they're going to announce is a new side handle for the Pyxis, which is it's going to be called the Blackmagic Pyxis Pro side handle. And what you can see with it, it has a ENG style zoom rocker on it. There may be a kit also that will come with a backside EVF, similar to how the Canon C series has their EVF put onto the back. It looks like that they're going to have like a top handle, side handle option where you can put the EVF right onto the back of the top handle. And it looked like that there was a record button. Again, I saw it somewhere. I can't remember, but I cannot remember. But it looks like that's part of another product of the Pyxis. Which, if this is true, it would be funny because this is literally what I asked for when Blackmagic announced the Pyxis. I was like, and I believe I made a video about it. I was like, if they do this, I think this would be a big hit. Is if they would make a side handle that has like a handhold style, which makes allow the camera to be sort of more like a camcorder style, which will be a little bit more. It will be less. It will be more discreet because you can walk around with it with just like this small little box camera with a backsides, and you'll get good stabilization. I was like, if they do this, I think this will sell really, really big. And they actually looks like, at least based on the picture, they are going to do that. That they are going to put out some sort of pro side handle for this. And quickly, I just want to talk about some of the other products that I expect for them to announce. A lot of stuff other channels have talked about. I think we all 100% agree they should be announcing a new generation of video assist monitors with CF Express Type B cards, because it just makes sense. They have a whole new generation of cameras from the Cinema Camera 6K full frame, the Pyxis 6K, the URSA City 12K with the CF Express module, even the URSA City 17K can utilize that CF Express Type B module, and now this new Pyxis 12K, most likely using CF Express Type B as well. It just makes sense to build an ecosystem that utilizes CF Express Type B. CF Express Type B is the standard. We can get more out of it, and we can probably can record Blackmagic RAW to those CF Express Type B cards without having to really worry about going to SSD cards and trying to find some Frankenstein monster rig to work around it because of SD cards. So, new video assist monitors, I think it will be kind of disappointing, just a little bit. Even though I know we're all excited for the Pyxis, I think it will be kind of disappointed if we don't get an update to the video assists. The other one I think we all expect is an update to Resolve. Now, most people are saying it's going to be Resolve 20. I don't personally believe it will be Resolve 20, simply because, so some insight, I am actually a certified trainer to teach the beginner's guide for Blackmagic, for Blackmagic's DaVinci Resolve. And one of the things, the requirements that we are told is that in order to keep your certification, you have to be certified in the latest versions. So when 19, even though 19 came out in April of last year, we didn't actually start getting certification training for 19 until January of this year. And I'm not sure, I haven't talked to my contacts at Blackmagic yet, but I don't think they even released the specialized books for the different things like Fairlight, the colorist, and the special effects one, and editing. I don't think they've made those books yet. So it doesn't make sense for them because those are not, it's not been fully out yet for us to teach. It doesn't make sense for them to release a whole 20 update. So I am going to assume that they're going to release something like Resolve 19.5, which is going to have a lot of major updates, but it's not going to be a full integration of updates, because then that will give us trainers time to still be on Resolve 19 and have our certifications without having to then figure out when to upgrade again. And then the last thing, and this is possible, this isn't really a thing, but the ATEM Minis, which I still have my ATEM Mini Pro. I even have an ATEM Mini Pro SDI one as well. I expect that there's going to be some potential update, especially given the fact that so many other products like YOLO Live, Rode, even OBSBot with their Talent, they're all coming out with these these more affordable video switchers. The ATEM Minis are getting a little bit aged in the tooth, so I expect potentially that there's going to be some 4K ATEM Mini options, or at least some update with ATEM Minis. Maybe there's going to be where you could either record ProRes to them or H.265, but there needs to be something that could. Blackmagic needs to really update the ATEM Mini lines for me to stand up. And that's mainly it for in terms of products. I'm sure there's going to be more, but those are the ones that I'm expecting. So, okay, we got a lot in the chat. So right now, we got 43 people in the chat. Thank you guys. Make sure to hit the like button as well while you're here. So I'm gonna go through and let's chat for this final 10 minutes before the stream starts. So, all right, let's see here. Jonathan Portry says, "No, I'm here for the Video Hub update." Hey man, I see you, man. Let's see here. Gabriel, thank you for joining, man. It's like, am I ready? Yes, I am. Dude, I've been ready since I heard they were going to do a Pyxis 12K. I've been ready for a while now, so I've been excited. So, Flip says, curious if it will have CF Express Type B like the URSA City 12K with alternate frame rates on 2 cards to get more write speed in theory. Cards will um that's very um that's very possible. Will That's definitely very possible. But we'll see. I guess it depends on if they've designed the Pyxis body to do that, or maybe they did an update to where it allows that to happen. I mean, I do expect it to have CF Express Type B, but that is a good question. I mean, we'll find out soon enough. Alex says there's not going to be any NDs. There's a matte box in the photo. So, yeah, that's why I'm saying I know everybody's been sort of like, oh, there's going to be built-in NDs, but actually, let me switch this. That's why I said I didn't expect that to happen. Rob, hey, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining, man. Looking good so far. Great, excellent. If those specs are true, be interested to see what media it uses. Be amazed if it costs less than 5K. Even, so yes, I would love to know. Leave your comments down below. What do you guys think the price is going to be? So I'm going to go give you my guess. I'll be first to give my guess. I expect it. I think most people expect it to be $5,000, which would be fair. I think it sits right in between the Pyxis and the body URSA City 12K. But my gut has been telling me since yesterday, I believe it's going to be $4,000 because of what Grant said, because there's not going to be built-in NDs. I truly believe because of that, and there's going to be less frame rate options. Obviously, it looks like it's going to do 8K 120, which is still insane. I do believe that it's going to probably be somewhere around $4,000 to $4,500. But leave your comments. What do you guys think? And I believe, like I said, I believe it's going to use CF Express Type B cards. Saw it on the base. Okay, so you talk about that Pyxis Pro. That's where I saw it. It was the Facebook group. The Pyxis Pro side handle. Yeah, it basically turns it into a handycam. Like, that was the thing that I've been wanted from that. Just to have like that little side handle. But helps with stabilization too, which obviously it doesn't have IBIS. But yeah, Disney lovers, I agree with that. Brandon Washington, what's up, man? Thank you for joining, man. I know Brandon, you're prepping for your show. Good luck to you guys. And then hopefully Blackmagic doesn't too long. But given their track record for their optics, especially for NAB, we're gonna be here for a while. Like, I expect at least an hour and a half presentation. They typically do that. Colton still hoping for a Pyxis monitor 7-inch. That I agree. I think that would be the. But you know what I would really love to see for Blackmagic? If they add a Pyxis monitor or do it in the camera or do it in the current Pyxis monitor? I would love them to announce that we're going to have EL zone exposure tools in the camera as well as the Pyxis monitor. That would be awesome. Because to me that has been my favorite tool ever since I've got Monitor Plus and I have been using the Sony FX3. It makes it so easy for me as a DP to just get the lighting how I want it to be. So yeah, but I would definitely love to see it. And thank you again for joining us, Walton. A10 mini update, yeah, man, I totally agree. A10 mini update. Fraser Syntax. Sorry if I said it. James, do you know where Blackmagic cameras are made? China, Singapore. We need to evaluate the impact of the new tariffs. Yeah, that is definitely something we got to impact. Though I don't know how much of that will impact, especially we'll see. But I don't think they're coming directly from China. I think most of them are typically coming straight from Australia, if they're going to be. And look, the tariffs are going to still impact, and I don't want to get into that right now. I'll make a whole video about that, but I'm in an emotional state regarding that, and I don't want to like have that hit at me for a second. So, but yeah, I don't believe the Australian tariffs are as bad as some of the others, but we shall see. Brandon about to jump on that Pyxis 12K. He knows. You never know. 8K, 120 frames a second. The readouts, if the readout speeds are the same, that would mean the 8K in 3x2 open gate would shoot at around 8 milliseconds. In 16 by 9, it would shoot around 5 milliseconds. And if you go 4 to 1, it would be like 4.7 milliseconds, if I remember. Again, all extremely fast readout speeds. Again, not global shutter, but extremely fast for what they're going to do. So, hey, yeah, Brandon, you gonna get that Pyxis 12K? I mean, we already know Kofi's is going to get it. Kofi's gonna sell his Pyxis to get the Pyxis 12K. Flip. I hope the U.S. tariffs that EU, China, Japan, Korea will make a big trade agreement. We can all hope for that. Pyxis is about to be my A cam, and Pyxis 6K is my B cam. That sounds like a great combo. Pyxis 12K is going to definitely be my A cam. I still have the cinema camera 6K full frame. I love that camera. And I got it on that 40% discount. So I got it for like $1,600. So that's, until something else comes by, since this is now, if this, we all are going to say, this still may be blowing huge eggs on our face and may be looking stupid. But if all things are true, this is going to be my thing. Oh, it looks like they're getting ready to start, but I'm going to lower that for time being. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, that seems like good. We need photo page in dynamic range 20. Need is a strong word, but I love the enthusiasm, man. Jonathan, I wonder what power zoom lens has shown on the top panel of the EVF image. I'm not sure if there is one for the L mount. Maybe their own new lens. Yo, if Blackmagic starts making lenses, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, this industry is in trouble. We got just about 2 minutes before the show starts. Here for the Pyxis 12K, awesome. ATEM Mini 4K, agree. Risk, what's going on? Risk, good, thank you for joining. $4,500. All right. Alejandro says $4,500. I think that's a good price. I think that's a definitely. Pyxis 12K would be between 4 and 5K. Totally get it. 4K would be a dream. 5,500. Yeah, that's definitely good. I think 5,500 is a little bit pushing it. Without the indies, I think it's good. It's getting pushing to that hard sell. But look, that's still going to be a good buying opportunity. No, it will do 12K. Yes, Robin, it will do 12K. It's going to do 12K. That's I'll already shown, but as you can see on here, Rob, it is saying right here 12K at 60 frames per second from this photo. And this photo is from City D. So yeah, Rob, definitely gonna be 12K. 45 euros after taxes. so I wonder what's that conversion rate? $4,500 after taxes. What's that conversion rate? So around the FXP. So I guess that would be around $3,500. I don't. That would be highway robbery. They will shatter this if they do that. We're getting close. 30 seconds. So Trackzilla, thank you for joining. Was waiting for the Panasonic S1H2, but this mouse think it's a wrap. I think so too. All right, guys, we got 20 minutes, so I'm gonna pull this up, and I'm going to get this ready for us, and I will mute myself for the time being. But let's watch together, shall we? Let me know if this is too loud. $21.99. No, no way. I mean, it's possible that it may drop, but I don't know anytime soon. Fritz, we'll see.
I'm Graham from Blackmagic Design, and I wanted to give you a quick update on what we've got for NAB this year. We've got quite a few new products today. We've got some new cameras and some new switches, plus some new SMPTE 2110 IP video products, and some really nice live streaming solutions as well. Plus, we'll be
Oh,
introducing DaVinci
oh,
Resolve
hold
20,
on,
which is a
hold
really big
on.
update
We
this year.
may we
So
may
we've
be
got quite a lot
having
to talk
my
about, so
guest
let's
just
get started.
arrived,
Now,
and let me
first
see
I
if I
wanted
can
to talk
bring him
about
to
backing up
stage.
media. We're all generating a lot of media files,
Simon,
and something that Blackmagic
Good
Cloud
morning, James.
good morning.
Magic
Yo,
update. Now, it's
thank you for
similar to our
joining the stream,
Blackmagic
man.
Cloud
They
dock,
literally just started.
but it uses low cost.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm late, but it's a work day. I didn't have
I'll
time
show
to
you
book time off, so I'm just taking an early lunch so
here.
I can join you, my friend.
Okay,
You can see it's a rack mount
awesome.
design. Now it's got 8 hard displays along the front, and each bay
So
has a
okay,
nice
so a
illuminated
new
LED border.
Blackmagic Cloud
You can just
backup.
insert up to 8 hard disks in the slots. It's really easy to use. Let me check out. I'll show you the back. I'll turn it around.
I once built my own
You can get a
RAID
close look
array
at that
server.
there. So you can see it's got the 410G Ethernet connectors, so everyone on your network can access the backup media and back things
Ooh,
up. Plus, it syncs to Blackmagic
I wish
Cloud,
they had this
which
when
means you
they
can do
had
your
first
own
announced
local
the
backup of
Blackmagic
Blackmagic Cloud storage, which
Cloud.
is always a really nice thing. Now it has that status display HDMI output as well. And it has USB for the utility, but also the USB looks like Ethernet to the computer. So you can connect the computer with a simple USB cable and you can access the media just within a USB cable. Let's go back to the front.
So you may have missed it.
So I can plug
So I
in some
sent you some
power.
pictures, but yeah, it looks like if the bed is true, it looks like the Pyxis 12K is going to shoot
And
12K
I've got a
60
hard
frames per
disk that
second,
I can plug in and show you.
8K 120 frames per
There's a disk here.
second. It's going to have 16
So
same
we've
16
actually
stops of
developed a
dynamic
case for
range,
hard disks.
and
So it looks a
expected the
bit
same
like
readout
an old
speed as
videotape.
their
You can store them
City.
on the shelf.
So sorry, what was the
Yeah,
readout
like an old
speed?
digibeta tape.
And
So
OpenGate is like 8
and we'll
milliseconds.
manufacture those
Nice.
hard disk cases, so they'll be on our website. and they'll
16
be
by
priced on
9
our
8K,
website.
it's like
So if I insert the
5.5
disk here,
milliseconds, and
there
then
you go there.
2 to 4 to 1 is like
Should light
4.8,
up. And now
like
the
4.7,
LED
That's-
is red when it's writing
That's
files,
really
it's
good. So
green
I
when you
remember
read
the
them.
R5 Mark 1 had, I
And
think,
some of these
around,
hard
what was
disks are
it,
actually so
16
fast you can use them
milliseconds?
for editing. But the main thing is they're really cheap.
The
That's
Rolly
the
Shutter
big
wasn't
thing about them.
bad, but the R5
And that's
Mark
what
II
really
does
matters.
6 milliseconds.
Now, when you finish,
So
you can
once you start to get down
power
below
on the
6,
disk
you get
and you
down
can
to
remove
4.
it
You're
and put it in a
really,
fresh
you're
disk, so
really
you can have
like the
backup
R3 is
for
3
one
milliseconds.
time.
You're really,
So I think it's a really good
unless
way
you're
of backing
shooting
up a lot
stuff
of media
very,
really
very
fast.
fast and you're close
The
to it,
Blackmagic Cloud
you're
backup
not
label
going to
is priced
see
at
any rolling shutter.
$1,495. The prices can
$1,500
change, obviously,
for
depending on
look
government
for a
duties and
raid
taxes.
style for a raid style
It's just
backup.
production, so it should be
That's
available
not
in the next
bad.
week or so. So the
Well,
Blackmagic
so
Cloud
here's my
is
problem with
going
these
to provide
raids.
support for the new Blackmagic
These cheap
backup
ones is
blade.
they usually,
And it should be
it's
posted on
not
the
something
website
I
in
would
a
buy.
day or
I
so.
just don't trust them.
Okay, so now we're
A really good
talking
RAID array is going to
with
cost you a
new
lot of
type
money,
video hub
and
today.
you're also using
It's called
spinning disks. So
Blackmagic
you're going to have to
Mini
populate every
High
slot.
Speed
You never want to
4K.
rebuild an
And
array
it's like
later,
mount
especially if
that's
it's
very
50%
tiny. It's been
full.
designed when you need a small
If it's
router,
75% full, you can literally
show you, I'll
take
bring one
days
out.
or weeks to rebuild the array.
There it is
And
here.
while that's happening, you can
So
lose a disk.
it's
Um,
only a third rack width.
honestly,
It's
this day and
works
age,
perfectly for
I'd
design.
rather, if you're editing, I'd rather
There's a built-in
go
control panel on the
SSDs. But
front.
if you're
It's got
doing
those
like
it's like a nice
archival
breadcrumb
purposes, then
style
yeah,
routing.
spinning disks
Actually,
are
the custom
good. But
labels on,
still,
of course.
the
It's
amount
got
of time
4
it takes to
input buttons
rebuild an
and it's got 2
array,
output buttons. So
Yeah.
to use it, you just
one
select
one
the
disk
output
goes. Well,
and
guess
then you select
what?
the input
The
and
others
put an
might
output
go
out.
while you're
Like really
rebuilding because you
simple,
bought them all
simple
at the
to
same
use.
time.
Let me show you the back.
Gotcha. So
See there, if I
so it
get
looks like
closer
it's
to
a
that.
new sort of
So
like
it's got 4 12G SDI inputs, but it's also got 4 12G SDI loop outputs. So you can loop it out
okay,
to other gear.
interesting.
And it's also got
So
2
it's got a little
12G
mini.
SDI
So it's
router
got a video
outputs.
hub.
Now it supports all SD,
That's
HD, and
useful.
Ultra HD video standards, and any combination of Ultra HD, SD, and HD. I didn't do that order very well, but you can do all those different formats on the same router at the same time. Now it's got 1G Ethernet for remote switching, so you can actually use the video hub software with it. And it also supports the video hub protocol, so you can use like for broadcast automation and things like that. Now it's got an AC power input, and it's also got
Yeah,
a 12
usually
volt
they'll go
DC
through
power
their
input for
they'll go
redundancy.
through the
And the 12 volt
broadcast
DC has the
products
lock-in
first.
connector, so the plug will pop
Then
out.
they'll go to
Let's go
Resolve,
back to the
and
front
then
panel.
they'll they save the cameras
There it is
typically
there.
for last.
So we've actually done something really exciting with this router. It's quite different. It's got an emergency input connector on the front. It's under the front. There's a rubber cover on the front. Let me take that off so I can show you.
But yeah, I'm
There it is
I'm
there.
so
You can get a
excited.
shot of that.
Also,
So what you do is you get an extra 12
there was another
GSDI input
picture,
on the front.
Simon,
So when you
where
plug video into that input, it
they're
actually overrides input
presenting
4
a
on the
new
back.
side handle
I
with
think
it.
input 4
They're
would
calling
probably
it
be
a
the
Pyxis
lowest
Pro
priority
side
input. I
handle.
reckon you'd
But
probably have the
essentially,
most
it's like an
priority buttons on
ENG,
input 1,
like
2, and 3.
handycam style
So this is really
handle that
great
has a
when you're in
zoom
small,
rocker.
you know, like small
And it'll
portable
also have
racks,
like a
but you
top
don't have
handle
any
with a
space for
EVF on the loop
patch
on the
panels.
back. So you could
And
convert
even
the
larger
Pyxis
routers, you know,
into
you
sort
know,
of like a
you've got space for something
handycam
tiny.
style
So if you need to
camera,
connect video urgently, you just plug it in the front right there.
which
You
would
can
be
also
really
see there's a
dope.
USB-C connector.
Yeah,
on
I
the front there.
regret I
That's
missed the
USB.
early part of this. I've been a little
So you
bit
can connect your computer
distracted
to get video.
over the last
The
couple
computer
of
actually
days.
thinks that USB is a
I missed
webcam
the,
for
well, I
video.
didn't miss the Nikon
And that's output
Z5
number
II. I
2
just
video.
chose
If you
not to
switch
give
the
it
source of
time.
output 2, then it'll change that webcam output.
Just
So
there's
it's pretty
there
cool.
are only so
Now, it actually
many
has an
limits on my
instant
time
connection here
while
as
I
well.
still have a day job, right?
Includes
Lately, it's been
blocks input
getting
1,
busy at work.
but it's
So,
quite different to
Yeah.
traditional
you know,
routers.
after the end of the get to the end of the
Traditional
day,
routers
and it's
have
like,
the
okay, I
clean
can
switch
do one
input.
video. What am I going to
The clean
cover?
switch isn't, it's on the output, not the input. So you could have like
So tell me about this camera. What?
the
Because I love these
with the clean
accessories,
switch
and
on that
but
output,
you know, it's
but then
the
over here
camera
on
that
another
gets me.
output,
Tell
it doesn't
what
have
was the
the
price point for
so
the
record would
new
get a direct
Blackmagic
feed
camera?
from the input video without
Hasn't
any
been
resync process.
we haven't been told yet. We're
But
all
the streaming processor
we're
would
all
have the clean
speculating.
switch.
Most people are
So I think that's
most of
really
the people in the
quite
chat
cool.
are speculating
Because then your
around
live stream wouldn't have any glitches when you're
$4,500 to
routing,
$5,000.
but you wouldn't be inserting frames on the recorder.
I
You can
personally
set
think it's
the
going to
output
be.
clean switch functionality in
My
the
gut
utility
tells me it's
software,
like going to be
and each output has a like
$4,000
checkbox
or
where you can enable and disable the
$4,500.
clean switch.
Do you know if it's going to have
Software's
EL
working
zone?
on multiple languages, plus
That
the
I
labels
don't
and
know.
Unicode, so it's pretty
Most
nice as
likely
well.
not.
So as you can see, it's a
Oh,
very
I wish they would. I mean,
and the images
Blackmagic's
on
the
the
type
bed,
company you'd expect to come out with it first.
Yeah.
So the Blackmagic
Honestly, it
Hub
would benefit
Mini
them because
4x2
really
12G
you have to go to
595.
something like the small
It's just
HD
out of production,
monitors
so it should be
before
available
you
by the
get
end of
like
April.
EL zone support for
I think it would really help
Blackmagic
when small portable racks and broadcast
profiles because
now we also have a
Atomos does
larger
not
model.
support
It's
because
called
Atomos doesn't support
Blackmagic
Blackmagic.
Hub Mini 6x2 12G. It's a little larger. It's
And they're
half
both
rack width,
Australian or
but that extra
Aussie
size
companies.
gives you 2 more inputs. So I'll bring that one out.
They should
Yeah.
support each
There it
other.
is there.
Um,
So you can get a close-up
I
of
don't
that.
know if I.
You can see the extra buttons
So-
on the input buttons on the front.
We'll
let's
talk
look at
later,
that.
but I haven't. There's a history. Let's just say there's a history
See
between
there. You can get a close-up.
certain people
So you can see
of
it's got
both
the extra
companies.
inputs there. So it's got 6 12 GSDI inputs plus each.
Super
input
Collector,
is
what
window.
noise you're referring to? It could
And
be
also
my
this
wife
model
getting
has a
ready to go to
dedicated
work.
reference input,
Yeah,
which is nice.
I
So
think
the clean
that's
switch
good
can
to
lock
hear.
to the black
And
code
also,
for
it was probably your
preference.
typing.
And if there's no reference, it'll still lock in.
Could be.
But let's go back to the front panel because there's another difference as well. Now, I like the smaller model. It's got the
What
front
about
panel
codecs,
input,
James?
but there's actually an extra connector
Just
on this. Let me
Blackmagic
show you
Raw.
that.
Blackmagic. Every time I've talked to them,
We've got a bit
I mean,
more
again, they
space.
haven't confirmed it.
There you go,
But
there.
I'm
You can
assuming
get
it's
a
only going to be
close-up
Blackmagic
of that.
Raw
So you can see
because
it's actually got two
the way
12 GSDI
I've talked to them in
connectors. So we've
previous
added a 12
events
GSDI
and
output,
from what
and
other
that's the
outlets,
same video output
they're
as output
dead
2.
set on basically
So on this
just
larger model,
pushing
GSDI
Blackmagic
input
Raw
overrides input 6
on
when
all
it's
their
connected.
cameras because it gives them a lot
So
more
these front panel
flexibility
patch
to
connections
control
can
the
be really
sensor
handy. They
and the
can get you out of
pipeline.
trouble if you need to patch
Well, that's
versus
fair.
your live jobs. I think it's pretty cool.
By the way,
So
James,
this
thanks for
model is
having me
exactly
on, man. I've always got you on my channel, and it's nice to be a guest because I don't have to work as hard.
Blackmagic Video Hub Mini 6x2
Oh, no, thank
12G we priced at
That's
$795.
not bad.
It's also just
A
out of
video
production, so it'll
hub,
be available
6G,
soon.
12G, 6x2,
But we also
12G
have a
for
third model, and this is the largest one. Now, it's got the exact same features as the 6x2 model, but it's a larger 8x4 size, which means it's got 8 inputs and 4
So, what are
outputs.
your big purchases for
Blackmagic Video Hub Mini
2025?
8x4 12G.
Oh, the Pyxis
Let me show
12K.
you that one.
Like
Actually, I'll just make a little
that's
space
if
here.
again, if everything is true about the Pyxis
Yeah.
12K, again, we don't know.
Move that over. I'll bring it
We're
up.
probably not going to know for
There you go
a
there.
while on this stream.
Now,
But
it's 2/3
if
rack width,
it's
this one.
exactly what I
And it
think,
has a
and it's
larger
coming to the
control
price
point, 'cause it's
range
got
of
8 inputs
what
and
I
4
think or
outputs
what
now.
most people think,
Now it's got the same
that
12
is
GSDI
like
front
I'm
panel
going all in
connectors,
on that,
which I can
and
remove.
I'm basically like
Throw up on this one and show you.
going to just
There.
huddle down after
Now
that.
the front panel
This because
input
that
overrides
essentially is
input
going
8,
to be
and the
the
output is
camera I
same
have
as
been
the
waiting
output
for
4 on
so
that.
long. Like I
Now,
was
it's also got
I was
USB-C
going to get the
webcam
URSA
as well.
the 12K,
I'll show you the back.
but as an older, since I'm doing with a lot more owner
Now, it's got
operated
the
instead of
same
full
rear
size
panels, the
crews.
other,
Mhm.
micro
A
models,
Pyxis 12K
mini
makes
models,
more
sorry.
sense.
But now it's got 8 12G SDI inserts
Somebody,
without the
Robert
controller.
just talked about
It's the
multiple
12G output.
sensors.
Yeah.
So let me bring it back around.
This camera is not going to have 3 sensors in it, is it? It's not going to be like a broadcast camera.
No,
this
I
model,
think what
is a
I
really
think
good
what
balance
he's
between the number of
referring to is
connections and
that
still being pretty
um,
small, which is really what you
the
want for these. The idea is to small.
the
now,
way
when
the
you rent them
sensors. He's talking about the
rack mounted
sensor
into a universal
scaling
rack
of
shelf,
how the
you still actually have
RGBW
a bay
sensor
free,
scales the sensors
so
to
you can put
different
a streaming
resolutions.
encode or a
It
high-def
doesn't
video
work
mini
on
there.
anything
It's pretty
except
nice.
B-roll
Now,
because
the Blackmagic
B-roll
Resolve Mini
Blackmagic Resolve does a
8x4 12G
partial
will be priced at
debayering at the
995.
sensor level
I like
before
the
it
other
hits the
two models that just
processor.
started production.
Okay.
I think these routers are
Yeah,
really
my
nice.
glasses
It's just
aren't
a
the
lot of
best for this
like,
tiny
particularly
screen.
portable racks.
Yeah.
I don't have
But-
Chrome
Best
on
service
my
for
big
those.
one, so that's
We
why
have
I'm
a
using
new
the tiny
up-and-out cross
screen.
converter today. Now we have a HD model. but
So
we really
yeah,
want an
so
Ultra HD version of it.
Rob,
but
if
we went a
I've
little bit further
misspoken
than
on
that
what you
because we
said, please
also
let me
wanted to
know.
make it rack mount. Plus, we actually also wanted to add SMPTE 2110 IP video support as well. We wanted some really high quality conversions between all SD,
So,
HD, and Ultra HD.
The other
video
thing
formats.
I'm waiting to hear
standards,
them
I
is
should
that
say.
they're going to give some new
Which means this model actually has
video
better image
assist
processing than
monitors
simple
with
converters.
CF Express Type B cards.
Because it's got a
I
larger
think
processor that's
because
just dedicated
they're
to standards
really
conversion.
dated right
So
now.
the image
So
quality
that's
is really great.
the other
Now,
products
it's
I'm waiting
called
to
Blackmagic
hear from them.
2110 IP up-mount
Mhm.
cross 12G. Let me
And
bring it out.
I'm
Bit of
also
a mouthful.
expecting, I hope
It is
to
here.
see an
Actually,
update to
let
the
me,
ATA minis,
just
maybe
make myself
to
some space
go
here.
to 4K and have some more
There
streaming
it is there.
compatible because they're
So you
the
can see
ATA
it's
minis
1/3
and
rack width. It's got a new
the
cooling
mini
design, so
platform
it's really quiet.
is definitely
But it's still quite
long in
small,
the
so you can
tooth.
kind of use it as a converter.
Yeah, it is. So you know,
It
my streams,
has
what
the
I
USB
often
on the
stream
front
with is
the explain audio
Ecamm, which
meters
allows me to
as
do a
part of the model
4K,
that
but
we
it's
use,
not
which
as
is the
the
standard.
quality isn't as
It's
good
very
as if
easy
you
to
could do
use.
it using your
You really
own
just set the desired video
architecture.
on the front.
So them supporting
All the
4K is a
video coming
huge
in
sign.
will
Now,
be
in
version
terms of
standard.
multicam,
And for monitoring,
again,
it's also got
Ecamm
a built-in
supports that
speaker
easily. I don't
on the
even
front.
have to install the EOS
You can push the button,
utility.
hear the
So it'd
sound,
be really nice if they did update those those
and if
ATM
it's
minis
up
because
to
I was
it's
on,
gonna
I was
pop
actually looking at getting one until I discovered
There's also
Ecamm, and I just thought, you
headphones.
know what?
In fact, you
Let's
can put
remove
the
the
headphones in the
hardware
bottom and adjust the
layer
headphone
and
Now, it's
just
got
go
a
right to
USB
software.
C on the front,
Yeah.
which is also HD webcam, so you can connect it to the computer, and the computer thinks it's a webcam video source, but it's actually SDI video. But let me show you the back. There it is there. So you
I
can
mean,
see it's
these
got
are
a
all
12
interesting.
GSDI
I'm
input,
just
and it's got a 12 GSDI loop
just
out.
knowing my
It's
setup
also got
doesn't
two 12 GSDI
I
standards converted outputs. So
don't know if I would
two
ever
outputs there are
utilize
the main
this. But
standards
if
converter
you got
outputs.
all you guys in
It's
the
also
chat,
got a
if
HDMI
if
input
any of
that
these
does 4K.
products, do you see any
And
of these
it
products that you
also
could
splits
utilize?
between SDI, HDMI,
I know
whatever's
I know
plugged in
one
first.
of the people, Riss.
It'll switch also
She
if
does a
one
lot
input's
of
unplugged. But you can actually set that
live
in the menu.
events
There's a bunch
work,
of menu settings for
but
that.
I
You
don't
can set
know
whether
if
you want
any of
2110,
the
12
like
GSDI, or
video
HDMI
hubs
input on the menus. There's a
she would utilize.
HDMI
But
output that
if
does
they,
4K
like I said, if
as
they
well.
do some
And
new
also the
ATA
10G
minis,
SDI there.
I know that's something
10G
she definitely would
Ethernet
be interested in.
for the SMPTE 2110 Ethernet video. And you can also route the 2110 sources in the menus as well, which is cool because it's kind of like, you could put this on a single Ethernet cable and just feed video through it when you want to convert things. So it's pretty nice. Now it's got a single BNC reference input that locks to internal sync, and there's also a BNC reference output.
Super
for the
Collect
internal
Clark
sync
says, if they
generator.
announce the
Now,
Pyxis
it'll
Pro,
actually-
okay,
it's
what
got
do
a
you
built-in
think
sync
they'll be
generator,
shipping
and the
them out?
output will still
I
work,
honestly, and
even if there's
this
no
look,
reference input
maybe this is
connected,
hopium
because
for
the sync
me,
generator will just output.
man,
the sync
but
generator can also lock to
I
a
think they're going to
2110
say they'll
PGP clock as
start
well.
shipping now
Now we've also got an
because
AC power input on the back. and also
Blackmagic has a
there's
history
12
of
volt DC
if the
backup
body
power
and
with a
the
locking style
sensors
connector,
and
so
stuff
that's
is
really nice
new,
too.
they take
Means you can
forever
add a
to
second
get
power supply
out.
when you need
However,
redundancy, which
once
is,
they
it's in a
set it
critical
up,
path, that's really
something
important.
like
So I
the
think it's really nice. I'll
6K,
swing it back around again.
the
There it is
6K
there.
Pro
Um,
that
so
uses
it's
the
got a lot
same
of processing
sensor and the
power.
same.
I won't
They
demo it because we don't have
typically
enough
say,
time. There's a
hey,
bunch of
they're
things
starting
to
to
show.
ship now, or
But it's
Ursa
really
Mini
easy to use.
Pro,
You just pretty much turn it
the
on and then
Ursa
set the
Mini
desired
Pro
video center on
G2.
the LCD.
They're like, hey,
and
they're
that's
starting
it.
to ship now,
It's a
and
really
they
powerful
get them
standards
out
converter.
pretty
So
quickly.
the
Once they
Blackmagic
have like
2110
body
IP up
designs
across
like set
12G
up
will be
and
priced at
have all the kinks worked
$545.
out.
And
So
it'll take care
I
of
would
all
not
your
be
HD,
surprised
SD,
if they
Ultra
say
HD conversions. It's got a
the
D
Pyxis
processor built in,
12K is
so
shipping
it'll even
now,
handle
and you can get it
1080i,
now.
NTSC, and PAL video standards. It's got quite high quality processing.
Well, with NAB just around the corner,
SMPTE 2110 IP video.
that would be a good opportunity.
Converters like this are so useful to include with all your live production gear. It protects you from strange sources.
Hex
video
Tech says,
sources you
end
have to
of the
deal with,
year, they will
like
ship them
weird
out.
cameras and venues that
I
break
mean,
strange video
look,
standards. And it'll convert whatever comes in
I
to
can't
whatever standard you want to work in.
say they
Now,
couldn't.
it'll be available in May or
Well, we're
June.
already seeing delays on other cameras and products,
Now we
so
actually have
who
another
knows?
converter as well. It's a bit simpler this time. And the real problem, the next
Until
problem
they actually announce, things can
pretty OLED
change.
TVs for high-end color grading. Everybody wants to use them because they're so good, and so we need a converter for that. And also,
Thomas.
we can use
Thomas
those
says,
TVs for on-set
when
monitoring.
I used to
They
shoot
have
the big
such good
screens
color
at rugby
color
cricket
imagery
matches,
now,
this
they make
hardware
really
could
good
have been
grading
amazing.
monitors. So
It
we
used
need
to
to
cost a
convert with more
fortune.
powerful
Yeah,
features.
it's
And so
just like
actually, I was trying
cameras.
to
It's
convene
amazing how
SDI
much the
HDMI converters,
broadcast has
which we
become
have.
so
Kind of do the
affordable.
job, but they're not
And
actually good enough.
Blackmagic is
We
a
need
lot
better
of the
audio
reasons
outputs for
why
monitoring.
it's become
We
so
need some
accessible.
audio delay,
Like broadcasting
so we
has
can
become so
compensate for the
accessible
processing
too.
delay on these TVs and projectors. And then the output, that
I'm an
audio
old guy,
output,
James, and I remember when
and you
it
convert
used
it
to
to
cost a
Blackmagic
minimum of $100,000. This was back in the 80s, right? So $100,000 back then to be able to just do basic video editing. And this was 3/4 inch to 3/4 inch Sony Beta players and recorders.
So let me show you that.
And then this Video Toaster 4000 came out. It was based on the Amiga computer, and you could get a full system for $6,000,
It's actually got the same kind of front
and you could do it NLE. It was one of the first NLEs for under $10,000.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, so they
and
got
there's
a
also
little
a
mini
menu, just setting
SDI
up
to
the
HDMI
audio
converter.
meter
They're
ballistics,
announcing too.
because you can change those between VU and PPM. It also supports the HDMI.
If I
instant
get this
lock.
Pyxis,
So when you're switching
that may
video,
be something to look at.
to a different like reference timing, it'll continue to provide HDMI out and resynchronize it so that you don't get those big
But
long.
I remember when I still remember when Resolve was $50,000.
And take a while before they come back again, because televisions were never.
Like
really
I
designed for
remember
broadcast
DaVinci
monitoring.
Resolve
That
used
fixes
to
the
be
HDMI instant lock
like
will keep the output going out to
insane.
TV and then take care of
Yeah.
it straight away. So
And you know what? The only reason I went Final Cut
it'll be the same video
is
sound.
because I needed an NLE, and at the time,
The HDMI
Resolve
output.
wasn't an
It also includes
NLE.
a 3D lookup table.
Yeah, it
so
was
you can
just a
accurately
color. It was just a color.
calibrate a monitor,
Yeah.
which is
color
really critical,
grading
obviously, for
software.
color
People
grading.
always ask me, well, why didn't you go Resolve? Well, because it wasn't an NLE when I needed an NLE. And once you're in an NLE,
12-volt DC backup
you're
power
kind of there.
Mhm.
It's got the 10G Ethernet for 2110.
And now they
Ethernet,
just
high
give
video.
Resolve away when you
It's got
buy
the 12G
one of their
SDI
cameras.
input. And you can
Well, no, you're not getting that full package though. But yeah, no, look, even the free
you can also
version
do
for like a
output when you
lot of
start these
people,
sources in the LCD menu
the
as
free
well.
version's more than
The light
enough.
up-down cross converter,
No,
the front
yeah,
panel
no.
is
I'm saying they
basically
give the
around
whole. When you buy one of their
Um,
cameras, you
Oh,
get
yeah?
the whole
That's the great thing about
studio.
it.
Really? Oh,
Now,
I didn't
got
know
a,
that.
It
12G
comes in the
SDI
package.
loop
You
output,
get
so
the
you can loop
whole,
out the
the
gear.
complete studio
And you can
of
actually
Resolve.
Now that's smart. You know, with Apple, if you spend like 10 grand or even 50 grand on one of their hyped up computers, they still try to charge you for Final Cut.
It's not just an SDI loop; it's a loop of
Yeah,
whatever the
it's-
active video source is.
It's
Yeah,
only
well,
300, but they should, see, those are the
I'm-
little things you should just toss it in, right?
Yeah,
And plus
I
it's
mean,
got 2x
Apple's
large
also
and
will
audio outputs,
charge
and
you
these are the
like
ones that are adjustable and level.
$8,000
They embed
for
from channels 1 and 2,
12,
but you can
16
select the audio
gig RAM
channels in the
update.
menus that you want to be embed.
The RAM
Just the XLR audio
doesn't
stuff.
bother me as
You can
much
drive powered speakers. Now, you can
because
use
with the
knobs at
efficiencies
front
you get
to
now,
adjust the level.
and 64 gigs is
Still
all I
very
need.
slick
I'm not
with the
doing large
extra app.
language
You can
models.
use the speaker.
I
So there's actually some
I can
settings
deal with that.
in there, and you
What
can
I
change
don't
the
like
output
is
outputs.
the highway robbery you get with the
It's got a
SSD
bunch of really
pricing.
nice options.
Ooh,
And there's also
Like,
an
come
audio
on,
delay for
come
audio
on.
audio.
And I have a studio, and you can actually remove it. And they go out of their way to make it difficult so you can't. But there's stuff on the market. But
That's for us. It's for
what I do is I just buy enterprise class SSDs, and I do it. I
so you can
plug it
rate
in
remote volume
just
knob you can
USB, and it doesn't matter. Most times you're not exceeding that 500 megabits per second. It's all GPU and CPU work.
Yeah.
But yeah, like,
And-
come on.
Again, I won't show it
yeah.
working
And as
because we
Robert
don't really have the
says,
time,
DaVinci
but
Resolve
it's a very
Studios are
powerful little
pay
converter.
once, upgrade forever.
Yeah.
Blackmagic
Now, I should
2110
also point
IP
out,
SDI
because it would
HDMI
just
12
not be
series
this.
priced at $495.
Yes,
And I think it's the
Blackmagic
perfect monitoring
could
solution for HDMI
at
displays.
some point
It's a nice
change that.
replacement for the Teranex Mini SDI
But
HDMI model.
yes,
And it makes these
but
new
the
OLED
history is
TVs into
in Grant
fantastic
Petty's
grading
really,
monitors.
really.
Now, it should be available in
It's
sort of
been
May
one
or
of
June.
Grant Petty's
It's a really nice monitoring
pillars of
but
foundationals. Is
what, of
basically
course, what happens if you need
you know,
surround sound monitoring?
being
That's very
accessible.
common
So,
in
but
grading
yeah,
suites now, so we actually
Robert,
have a bigger
pay
one
once,
to handle
upgrade
that.
forever.
It's got 10
Unlike
channels of XLR
Adobe,
audio
where
monitoring
it's
out.
like
Otherwise, it's exactly the same as the
Yeah, but with
Hey.
Adobe, you get more, right? So you get a few more bugs, you get a few more crashes,
we are here.
right? So of course, you get the opportunity for them to collect your personal data and do what they want with it. So
well,
you
when
get a
put
little
it
bit
that
more
way-
with Adobe.
When you put it that way, Adobe, I mean,
But the front
Adobe
panel has
is a
basically the
bargain.
same features, it's just wider. Let me check out the back. I'll show you the back.
No, I don't see them changing. Hey, Angela, I don't see them changing their model at this point, unless they really change the strategic head of the company. I really do like Resolve and what it does. The only reason I'm on Final Cut, because that's what I went with then, and all my stuff, I'm not going to switch. It's just too much of a headache. These guys, when it comes to NLEs, if I was advised you're cross-platform, go Resolve. If you're just on a Mac, consider Resolve. I think it's terrific. I think Final Cut is good,
there.
but
This
you
model's
know,
called
there's
Blackmagic
still
Design
some of the things when it comes to color
SDI
correction
12G-10.
are done really
Angelo,
well.
Mine's a
yeah,
little bit
Angelo, thank you.
complicated. There's so
Yeah,
many features.
coming all the way from the
It'll be
Netherlands. Thank you,
priced
man,
at
for joining the stream.
$7.95. It'll also be
But
available
yeah,
in June.
no,
So I think this is gonna
like
be a
Resolve,
fantastic monitoring solution.
Resolve is
It makes
really
it so
putting
easy
the
to
br-
get,
is
color
really
accurate
putting
monitoring,
Blackmagic
editing,
General is
and
putting
color grading.
the
Or video walls
paddle
and
to a
LED
lot
screens
of
and
these
projectors, you know, there's so many
manufacturers.
different
They're putting the
display
paddle
devices
to
now.
Adobe,
And you can adjust
and
the AV
because they're
delay for
just
perfect AV sync.
putting so
Even
much
when
in there.
there's processing
Like
delay on the display.
especially
And of
if you
course, it's got
render,
the
if you're
3D
on a
autofocus,
Mac
accurate
on one of
color
those
calibration, so you know,
the
it's
new
great.
M4s,
Okay, so next I wanted to talk
and you
about
export out
graphic
ProRes,
cards.
it takes like
Now,
2
last
minutes
year
to
we
do
launched
a.
couple of Declan cards that had
It can
simply 21
2
1080p
minutes to
video
do like
connections
a
on them.
10-minute video
They had
export.
10G Ethernet
It's
for
insane.
really low cost connectivity, which means they can do a single channel of Ultra HD IP video. And they'd actually also.
Sorry, James. I'm just now reminding my viewers to come watch our live stream.
Extreme, I guess, a little bit more high end. So we've designed a new capture card. It's called Decklink IP100.
Yeah, Jones, I agree. It's
I'll
like
bring it out. Actually, I'll
exactly. That's
some
why
space
people
here
are paying the switch.
to let me bring things out. Otherwise, I'll run out of bench.
Yes, and so they all.
the curve of the
Yeah,
earth
they
will be a
like I
problem
said, Grant
because it'll get
Petty.
too
Look,
long.
they know how to
So
do
let me
because they're
bring this
gonna
out.
they're gonna
Here it is here.
entice you with
Now, it
all
plugs
other
into a
things.
PCI Express slot.
What type of deck
It's a
link is
PCI
that?
Gen 4 card with 8 lanes. We just put it there.
That's a that's not a deck.
Which is
That's
extremely
a
high
whole
performance. It's got
like
built-in
GPU
cooling.
card.
It works in HD and Ultra HD video standards, and it supports multiple video channels at the same time. So let me show you the side there. You can see there. It's got. You can see. I'll just.
These
And
guys
it-
love working there too.
It's got 200G
Oh
Ethernet connections
yeah.
on the back.
Everybody I talk to
So that
loves
gives you
it.
up to 8
But yeah,
Ultra
Jones.
HD video
Yeah,
connections all at the
Apple
same
makes
time.
sure that you
Plus
can't
can
alter
capture
it.
and play back 8 channels all at the same time. And we actually think it can do more channels in HD. We haven't done that yet because we think the card should be able to handle 30 channels.
Angela asks, why do you think they
designed it
decided
to
to
do
go
that. We
with
actually don't
USB-C
know
for the
if it'll work
viewfinder instead of
practice. At the moment, we've
HDMI
been
or
focused on
SD,
HD
so you can use them in other
playback.
cameras?
So we need to do a
I
few more
think
tests
they
to see
did
how
that
many more
because
channels computers
it's
can handle. It's really up to the
one,
computers you're plugging into.
it
So
can
that'll be
travel,
really
it can
cool.
do a lot of fast
but it is 8
data.
channels of Ultra HD and HD initially.
Especially
so
when
see
you
we've got
start talking
200G
about
Ethernet
all the
connections on the back, and that's for
resolution, even
redundancy.
though like
So you could run 2
it's all the
separate 100G
resolution
Ethernet
and
switches
frame rates
and have
options.
redundancy, which is really
So
important at the high end.
and also I think it's just easy. I think it's just easier. But more cameras are now having it where you can send data out. Like the
Now, it
Canon
also supports the
C400 is
GPU
not
direct
is the same thing
RDMA.
now. Their viewfinder
And,
is
it also allows, allows the direct
Type
memory
C
transfer
out.
between the Declan card and GPU.
Kid
So it
Infinity.
reduces the
That's some
peak
loud
time
typing.
when
Excited.
you're doing video processing on GPU.
Sorry.
A lot of, huge reduction.
The mic's over here. I don't know why it picks up. I'm going to mute myself. There we go.
Yeah.
So I think it's
Well,
going to
so
be interesting
the
to
Kid
see what software can do with this
Infinity,
card.
the new
Just
Kid
uses the
Infinity
same
EVF,
Declan
I
driver.
believe is
With
SDI
all this
out
new
as
AI
well
processing,
too.
AI processing, it's going to be it's kind of an exciting world right now. There's a whole new generation of CPUs and GPUs and everything going on. And so I think it's going to be exciting. I think this card will make it really easy to process a lot of video channels at the same time. And I can't wait to see what developers do with it in particular. Now, the Decklink IP 100G will be priced.
Yeah, I don't like these Mac keyboards either. I like, you know what? I miss those 1980 style
I think it's going to be really
keyboards where you could actually smack somebody in the head and knock their head off. They were industrial strength. You got one there, don't you?
No,
And so we
actually,
needed
this
actually
is
a bigger
a
switcher.
speed editor
And so
for
we've
DaVinci
got,
Resolve. So
now the
it
810
allows
Forum Constellation
basically
4K
I
is
can just
already
use
very
this
big.
and just cut.
Can you zoom in on that?
40
I don't know how to zoom,
It's got 24 12G
but I'll just bring it
outputs.
closer to the
But
camera.
for some people, that's still not enough.
I need
So
one
we
of
need a bigger
those.
model.
I'll show you what I'm using.
Constellation 4K Plus.
And it's
I'll
decent.
help if I bring it out and show you because it'll explain.
It's just a very simple pad. It allows me to scrub. And the biggest things I do on the timeline that I find I use this almost primarily for is zooming in and zooming out to the timeline constantly and then cutting. I use it. That's what I use it for more than anything
It's got
else.
the same features as the 810
Yeah, no,
Constellation 4K,
I love this
but it's got
thing.
twice the
It's
number of inputs
because
and outputs.
especially if
It's got a few
you
other
utilize the
extra
cut page,
features,
which
but
is
the main
very
thing is this
the cut page
Constellation
has a
twice as
very
many
it's like a
inputs,
final
twice as
cut
many outputs. Let me show you the back so you can
cut
see.
style. So
bit
you
of a
go in
monster.
and it allows you to just cut. You could trim and do a lot of the stuff, and we can still hear you typing, Mike. But I'm gonna mute you.
It's
That's weird because I just muted the mic, so it's coming through the computer. I'll check the sound.
12G
Yeah,
SDI
we can hear.
inputs,
We can
and
still
there's a
hear
full
you.
standards converter on every single one of those inputs. That's 80 standards converters built in.
Input,
every input
Sennheiser,
video standard.
output.
It's
All
also
right,
got
so
48
they're getting to the
independent,
now they're getting to
switcher
the
outputs, 12G
A10s.
SDI switcher
I mean,
outputs. Now, all the outputs
This is
have,
I
RP188
mean,
time
look,
code
this
embedded
I
on them.
got this
They've all
this
got
ain't
camera
for this
control,
one
the
ain't
tally, the
definitely ain't for
format
us. I just hope
is
they're going to
embedded
do
in all 48 outputs.
minis.
It's a
I
lot
mean,
of
this
outputs.
is Look, this
It
is
doesn't have enough ports. Not for what we need. I mean, that's for amateurs, I think.
Into those individual
Oh,
outputs.
puppy
that you can
just
route into each output,
beginners.
which is all completely customizable.
Real ones need
each output will be set
100. You
between
need
the
100
video,
outputs and
the preview,
200
any
inputs.
specific input,
A whole wall.
internal
Come on.
sources,
Yeah.
clean feeds, which are before the downstream cares. And also
But
now,
yeah,
you
this
can
one
get
I can.
4
Yeah, this one
multi-views.
is
The 4
definitely
multi-views
for
built in
like
can also be routed
major
up the main video
broadcasts.
output as well. Like before,
probably
the
like the
multi-views were actually on
major
dedicated
medias.
outputs, which they still are. But you can
And
also route
Jonathan
them out through
says
to any
what
video
Jonathan
output,
says
which
is
really
true.
cool.
The speed editor is the cheapest way
And
because
each
it
of these
does
outputs,
come
like
with
the
the
same, is
Resolve
completely
Studio 2.
independent.
So when you buy
because
this,
we've got more inputs, it
Simon,
means we've
the
actually
speed
also
editor,
we need
you
more
will
media
get the full
outputs.
studio with this
So we've
as
doubled the
well.
number of media outputs before.
And I think it's like,
and 4 media outputs.
correct me
lets us-
wrong,
lets us
Jonathan,
send all
isn't
the
it like
switcher audio off to
$255?
external mixers, which is why we need more when we've got more inputs because we've got more audio coming in.
Would it also work with Final Cut?
So that's kind of important.
No,
No.
it's
Okay.
designed
Yeah, it gets all the
specifically
audio
for
'cause it's getting all
Resolve.
the sources. Now the video inputs. are
I've been
then
thinking
mapped
of getting a new
6 individual media
one.
output channels across
This
the
is
load.
fine, but there's
You can pass it all off to someone for
I-
mixing. We also
I know where it works really
two
well for me,
additional
but there's other areas where it
channels
doesn't.
of
And
extra
I
audio
keep
input.
finding I keep going through these keyboards because they just can't handle repetitive.
audio inputs into
The
audio.
L goes, the
Each
K
one of those
goes, so
channels
I'm
is
trimming,
audio.
right? I find still trimming with the keyboard
Each one
works
of
for
those
me.
MIDI channels has 6-band
Okay.
parametric EQ, a compressor, a limiter, an expander, and more.
So-
Now we've also one other thing you'll notice on the back there, if you can get a shot down the side.
Probably because that's how I used to play video games in the 80s on my
additional
Commodore
Ethernet connections with
64
connections now.
Yeah,
with keyboard
this,
controls.
This will be the
now we
ultimate
can
game
actually
hub.
connect
You
the,
this
control
look, this would be
panels in
awesome
the
if this could be
software.
like you could plug this to your
Um,
game. So now you can play
But now we have
50
apart from that, we
games
have
at
all the other
once,
ATEM format
do
constellation
ultimate
connected,
ultimate
connections on there.
competing.
So we've got the 4 12 GSDI dedicated Ultra HD
Okay.
multi-view outputs.
Jonathan says
Each multi-view can have up to
the
16 views. And
the,
of course, you can have custom colors, labels.
the speed
borders,
editor is
meters.
$400.
There's also
It's
an
like
RJ,
300. They may have
45
raised the
style
price,
talkback connector, and it has the
but
RS422
that's still
serial control
for this
input,
little guy. That's
which
still
is
a
also
pretty
good
solid
for
deal.
switch
I would still
automation,
recommend the
interject
speed
control.
editor
It's
if
got
you're
a
going to use
VNC
it. It just
reference
makes
input. And
things
also the
so
USB
easy.
port supports like a HD webcam out, so it does that on the back as well, so you could connect that to a computer. And
Super
stream
Collector
directly from there.
says, thanks
It's
for
got
Japan, by the
2
way.
AC
We
power
had
inputs for
a
redundancy.
$1,000 sale on the
It's got
Pyxis
2
6K,
internal
which
redundant
went
power sources. So
on
each
for just a few
power
weeks,
input
all
goes to
sold
two
out.
completely separate
I told you
power
this
supplies.
$1,000.
We'll go back to the front.
Oh, so it must have been like $2,000. So
as far as features go,
$2,000.
It's got the 4 internal
That's
media
for the
players.
6K.
It's got the 4 ATEM advanced upstream chroma keys per row. So it's got 4 rows.
I'm still impressed with the amount of sales that we're seeing on across all brands right now.
Plus, it's
Yeah.
got 2 super source processors,
Well-
which each have 4 DVs each. So what you got is you've got 12 built-in DVs in here.
So the Pyxis
The 1080i,
12K,
1080p,
what
HD television standards.
what
It's a bit of
storage
a-
is it
You can do everything.
expected to
Uh,
use?
Now, I don't have a lot of time
Safe
to demo
Express
it here,
Type B.
but I do have one on the
If
back
it's
at
if
the
it's
end
the
here.
same body
wanted to
as
show
the
you
original
very quickly
Pyxis,
the inputs.
which we all
Um,
assume it is,
So if I quickly show you
it's
the
going to
ATEM
use
software control
two.
here,
It'll have
and you
two
can see all
Safe
the
Express Type
inputs.
B
So
slots.
let's go down here.
that, Canon?
However, Simon,
So you can see I've got the preferences
Blackmagic
here.
tip
I can go
doesn't
on
let
here
you
to sources, and I
dual
can see
record,
all my inputs, and I can
but you
type
can
across,
relay
and you can
record. So
see
if one stops,
how many
it goes
inputs
to
I
the other.
have, which is
But
a lot.
for whatever
And then I can
reason,
go to the
Blackmagic
outputs,
doesn't
and you can see
allow
I've
you to
got
relay record,
all the outputs. And this is
except
where you can
when
do
you're
custom names,
recording
obviously, that's what you
raw,
normally do.
like you're
But it gives you a
recording
good idea of how
every
many
other
outputs I've got.
frame
Plus, of course,
from
I've got all the
on
internal
both cards. So
sources and
one
things as
card
well.
records a set of
But there you go,
the
you've got
24 frames, half of the
outputs
24
and
frames a
the
second.
80 inputs.
The other
It's pretty cool.
card records the other
Um,
half, and then you stitch them together in Resolve.
So
I'm
the
looking for redundancy.
Deployment Constellation 4K Plus will be priced at $12,995.
Yeah, that's
for really
yeah.
large jobs.
Oh
like
yeah,
concerts where you've got a lot
this
of
is
lights and recorders.
NFL. Like this is
You know, I remember when I
NFL
switched to that 10
setup.
inputs, and they're a lot bigger
That
now, so it's
ATEM
pretty
is an
cool.
NFL setup.
So this
No,
is
that's my
the-
basement. That's how what things look like behind the camera.
So that'll be cool. So next we've been working on another
Trevor,
software update.
well,
for
right
ATEM
now, no, you didn't
switches.
miss the whole party.
So this one
No,
is,
camera hasn't been announced
essentially
yet.
adding some advanced
They've
features
just
to the ATEM
been
4ME models
going
and
through their
2ME
broadcast
models.
stuff.
Now,
I
we'll
think they're
be
just
adding
starting the
support for
ATEM
shadow
products.
buses. This is where 2 MEs can be linked together, so one follows the other. And so you
Robert,
can
we
get
will have to see
basically
the
separate
impact of
feeds.
tariffs on
So
the
one
U.S.
bus, well, the main
MSRP.
bus is the primary one.
Yeah, we'll have to
It's
wait
the
and
one
see
you
on
do the
that.
switching on, and then a follower bus, which is a separate.
Well,
ME.
are we getting the announcement at NAB or at the end of this presentation?
Separate bus.
Of the camera, of the Pyxis
doing the
at
same
the end of
thing.
the, at the end of
But
this
where it gets
presentation.
really cool is you can do source substitution.
So I'd be surprised if they don't
This
give
is
us the
where
price
some
at this
of the
point.
on the follower are actually overridden by alternatives.
No,
So
they
it follows
always
most
give
of the time, but not
give the
always,
price
'cause you
of
can override
everything
very
they talk
specific
about here.
sources on
Yeah.
that follower bus
And
map
they'll
them into a new-
either
into a new
say
source.
ship it now or where they
So there's
expect
a new
it.
mapping
If they say
window
they
to set
expect
this
it
up.
at this time,
Although another thing we've also done is we've added
that's
force
like
tally as
okay,
well.
we're maybe
Apparently
have to
Tally only
worry
works on,
about
ME1,
delays.
but you can now enable it on the other MEs
Or
as well.
price adjustments. They
So
can
if
always
you're using,
happen.
a source on those
But
MEs,
I'm also
the
keeping
camera
an eye
operators will
out
see it.
for
So these new features will be added to
B&H
the
if they
A10
update
4MA
anything.
Constellation switches.
Me too,
So
sir.
far,
Filmmaking Constellation
So far,
models as
nothing.
well. So let me show you how the shadow bus feature works.
Sometimes these guys
So
leak
up here
stuff
to the, utility.
unintentionally.
I'll bring up the preference window again. It's down here. And you can see there it is there. So I can do, you can see how really powerful this can be. I can basically just go across and add
people
one.
don't realize just how
And
much
there it is there.
back
That's the shadow bus, and it'll
end
follow.
equipment Blackmagic makes.
So
and they're such
you
a
can
small
see from this
company.
window we can have up.
And
to
what's
two
their
cameras
market
at the
cap?
same time. So I could have,
I
ME2, ME3.
I honestly don't know. I do know Grant Petty
all following, and that would all
himself.
follow.
His net worth is
But there's
over $1
something
billion.
even more exciting, which you sort of hint of it.
So I
Wow.
don't know.
Output can also be a shadow bus. And this
So
switch
I
has
don't know
48
what their
outputs with the
market cap,
the
but
Constellation
they're a
4MA Plus here.
big
So any one of
sponsor
those
of
could be
it.
shadow bus.
Like they're
Now,
one of
it's
the
a simple
bigger.
cut, so only
Blackmagic
bus, but it
Design is
works.
actually
So
one
I'll
of the
show you.
bigger sponsors
So I could
of
take this
NAB.
one here instead of it being
So
ME4. It could be any
They've
of these
they've
on the
got
70.
they got some
Look at that.
they got some.
So we can make output 10.
But yeah, they've been,
shadow
as
bus.
Trevor was saying,
Now this
they've been
output-
putting
this output
so
only
much
does cuts
out
'cause it's,
for the
it's a simple
broadcast, and that's
output.
kind of I think where they make
But
most of
it'll
their money,
follow the
outside as
primary
well as
and
the
do cuts
popularity
only.
of their cameras.
And then
Yeah.
what you can do is select any of the sources down here to be substitutes. So I could come along here,
So,
for example, and say,
Chicho, they haven't announced
I want
any
that one to
updates to
be
Resolve yet, but
different source,
they're
or
gonna
maybe
they're
this
probably
one.
gonna get to that.
so there it is there.
If you missed it
So
at the
you can map
beginning,
as many
I
combinations as you
don't
like.
assume there's
Now,
going to
with
be
the
a
primary
Resolve
bus,
20. I know a lot
there's
of
the
people
camera
are.
6, this bus
I
will go
don't.
to
I think
camera,
there's going to be like a 19.5,
56.
and the reason is because
so you
I
can do
am
whatever you
a
like.
certified trainer by
Now
Blackmagic
you could
to
use that
teach
for streaming
the
in multiple
beginner's
languages.
guide
One ME could
for
be
DaVinci
in one
Resolve.
language, like the
And
character generator could be coming
one
in
of the
input
key
in one
things
language,
is we have
and
to,
another
in order to
ME
keep our
could have a different
certification, we
character
have
generator in a different
to
language coming in.
constantly
So they'll
update and
follow
take
each other
courses
perfectly,
on the
but when you
new
switch to the titles, each ME would
the
have a different
new
character generator source.
for
And,
the new
you
versions.
so,
And
you can do multiple
we
languages
just
that way with
even
different
though
title generators.
19 came
Or you
out
could use them for, like,
NAB
streaming
last
concerts.
year, it was
One ME
only
could be
till
doing, like, the live stream
mid-January
of
of
venue,
this
which is
year
always close
that
ups.
us
The
trainers
other ME could
started
be doing
getting
the streaming output to the public,
classes
because you want the
to
lead
get
screen
the
in the venue to be
certification.
close-ups.
So it
Whenever you
would be
switch a
really
wide
weird
shot
for
on
us
the
to
screen, you
just,
could
and
replace
that's
it
just
with
the
a close-up
beginners and not
version
even
of
the special
one of
league
the
folks.
cameras
So
from
it'd
the
be
lead
really
screen.
weird
It
that
essentially allows
we
one person to do two
didn't,
different shows at the
that
same
they would
time.
do that,
It's
and
quite
then
cool. They could be
2.5
doing
months
the lead screen
later,
internal
we
venue
now have
work
to
as
get
well
ready
as
to
the
do
live stream.
20.
Now the tele override feature is also really helpful. Let me show you that. It's up in
All right, I want you to get emotional, James. Why do you want this camera?
Um,
Like, what
so then I
excites
talked
you
about
about it?
the
Oh,
downstream key override
Jason
before.
said it's
Let me show
DaVinci
you
20
that
at the
setting.
beginning. If he
Um,
did,
There it
we'll
is there
we'll
on
know
the bottom.
we'll
So that's where you'd
we'll
set
know
the
more about it.
override when the downstream key is completely covered over. All the upstream tallies can be turned off. So it's really cool. So I think this is
I
a
don't
nice
I don't know,
update for,
but we'll
high-end production.
we'll keep it
high-end
we'll keep an eye out. Like I
because it's a
said,
high-end
I'm always
feature.
around. But in terms of your
Advanced
question,
live
Simon,
production needs these
why
features.
I am emotional, because this is
It's gonna be
literally the
A10
camera I've
10.0,
been
and this update
what
will be
for
free to
a
download,
good
but
solid
it's released.
dynamic
It'll
range
work on the
camera
A10
with
4MA
good frame
Constellation,
rates,
and the
good resolution
switches
that I
and
could
the,
use
the
for
2MA
major
Constellation
projects.
switches,
And I was going to
both
go with the
HD
URSA
and
City
the standard
12K,
4K models, and
even
the
if
4K
this
Plus,
didn't came out.
obviously,
Yeah.
which we're showing
But that's definitely
Okay,
designed
so
for crew with
coming back down here.
the
Next up, I want to talk about hyperdeck
with
recorders.
like the
Now, we have a
side
new
monitor
hyperdeck
for
shuttle
first
model
day
today. It's
Cs
called
and all
hyperdeck,
this other additional
Shuttle
stuff.
4K Pro.
Whereas the
Let me show
Pixel
you. I
is
probably need to make some space here.
where the Pyxis
the,
is more of an owner
Move
operator,
some
so
things
that's
around.
why.
This,
But yeah, but how is it going to change how you do your business, your workflow? How's this going to improve your outcomes?
There's a certain level of
I'll
image
zoom again.
quality that I have seen and I've tested with some of the samples that I've
now, we
got.
already have a model
and
called hyperdeck shuttle HD. And that's
It
a desktop design with a
is
really nice search
like
style for jog, shuttle, and
one of,
scroll.
and
But this is a way more
it's
powerful
amazing.
model. It has the large
And it just
built-in
makes
70
it makes makes me, it allows, also gives me just the flexibility. I got 3x2 open gate, which is always what I wanted.
It's ultra
High
HD,
frame rates, good
includes
fast
a
rates.
speaker
It's
in
just
the
a
front,
great overall
and there's
camera
also
that
a speaker
competes
button.
with
It has a
cameras
nice large search bar
20
and the
times,
transport control buttons
50
here.
times.
Now,
It's
records and plays
potentially its
ProRes
asking
DNX
price.
and H.264, but this one now
I think
has
you hit
Oh,
on
they-
something there.
and it has the teleprompter.
Like for me, image quality is huge too. But what we're seeing and what you've articulated earlier in this stream is how we're beginning to see broadcast level, really high-end stuff
It also has the H.264
coming to
picture, so it'll record a proxy while you're recording Ultra HD files.
a much
And it'll record
to
to
a
an
really
internal
like
SD
almost
card
retail
or
space here.
USB
We're
card
seeing like
or a USB disk, but it can also record
incredible image quality for such an incredible price.
But also
It's just it's shocking
show you there.
where they're able to innovate and what they're able to bring to us.
Storage card, so you
Absolutely.
can put that in the bottom.
Ooh,
And then you
this
can have
is
internal
interesting.
storage.
A
So it's like
hyper,
having network storage built in.
Jonathan. Yeah, I'm
And
with
it
you,
also has a lot
Jonathan.
more
This
connections.
is
All
a
these
hyper
features
deck,
means it, it can be used for
which
so
is
many
like
different
their
tasks.
like little
It's a
external
lot more-
recorder,
it's
but it
probably
has
a lot
built-in
hyper deck.
replay
You
as
can use it
well.
as a media player,
which
for playing clips in the
I've
production
been-
switches. You can use
I've
it as a
been
master
asking
recorder
for
or a
this
field
for
recorder.
their
Very
hyperdecks for
powerful.
so
So
long.
let's check out the connection in the back.
I tried their other hyperdecks
Give it a
because
shot
I
of that.
loved working with
So you can see it's got
Atom in
quite
it,
a lot of
but
connections.
it was kind
So
of
I'll start
finicky.
on from
But
one
the fact
side.
that this
It's got a
is
6.5mm
they got
headphone
that,
socket, so you can plug in
this
a
is awesome.
headphone
Yeah.
to the headphones.
It
And
looks
there's
like
also
it's
the
going to
speaker
be
on the top
mainly
panel, of course, for audio modding.
an
It's got the
SDI
12
version.
GSDI input plus
So
there's a
it will
12
work
GSDI
great
loop
for
out.
the Pyxis
Now
12K.
it's 12 GSDI, which means it
HDMI
works
ones,
in
it's going to be
SD,
you're going to
HD,
have to
and Ultra HD
get a
standards,
converter.
like all of them. Even SD, because people are capturing from archive still, so we still need to support SD on hyperdecks.
Well, I'm afraid, James, I might not be able to stay much longer.
Fill and key, so you can do a full fill and key.
Oh, I'll
So you
up.
can play clips
Yeah, I
in the
know,
alpha
man.
channel.
Like,
The alpha channel gets converted
again,
into a
still
key
thank you
signal
for
coming
coming
out
by,
in real
Simon. I
time.
really
So
do
you can play
appreciate.
clips into a
Well,
key
I'll
and
keep
in
you
a switcher.
updated as things go by.
It gives you playback
Well,
with
James, I mean,
alpha channel
thanks so
running.
much. You're always on my channel, and I
and we'll also
love
have
having you
HDMI
around and
support.
your expertise that you bring.
It's got HDMI.
Thank you.
It's very
I-
much appreciated. I just, I love, but I also love to reciprocate. I want to be on your channel
Different built-in
when
monitoring.
things
Yeah.
go. Next time, try to give me a bit more notice, and I'll book some time off.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, and for everybody here, definitely check out Simon's channel. It's Ordinary Filmmaker. You probably are more sub to him than me, but if you're not, definitely check it out. He does a lot, especially with like Canon, Sony, Nikon. He gives a lot of does a lot of like gathering for potential rumors and stuff that come out. But definitely check out his channel. It's a really great thing.
Yeah, news and rumors. I cover more stills hybrid. I don't get into the broadcast stuff as well, but that's where you rule the roost, James. So thanks so much. Have yourself a great weekend. To all your viewers, the same. Hopefully, you've got some great spring weather coming your way.
Thank you. Same to you, Simon.
Power connection. Yeah, it's got a lot of
All right, cheers, buddy.
Cheers, man.
So let me show you how it works. It's quite simple. And actually, to save time, I've got one that I've already wired up and connected, so I don't have to spend a whole lot of time plugging things in. So let me move this aside, and I'll bring out the one that's got connections on it.
Okay. If he said that,
Here we are
then
here.
look.
So you can see that
It's not
there.
like I'm going to be upset. I may just be a little annoyed that I just got my certification,
thing I'll
but
do is
honestly,
we'll
I'm
add
not going to be
some- we'll
upset
add
if they
one
do a
of
whole
them
20
on here.
update. So if I'm wrong, it's not going to be first, and
move
it
off
won't.
to the side a
And
little
it probably
bit
won't
so
be
I
the
can-
last.
Control the hyperdeck. So now it's powered. You can see the LCD. It runs Blackmagic OS, so it powers on really fast. And I've also got the video output connected to the switcher.
Totally
in the
agree,
rack over there.
Trevor.
That's what the
Totally
fill and key outputs are there. Now, if you look at the front, you can see the really large LCD, 7-inch LCD. The user interface is actually quite similar to HyperDeck Extreme, and also it has 3D LUTs. So you can
Oh,
load those.
totally,
It's a HDR quality
totally,
screen.
totally true,
And
man.
it shows playback and record of the video. There's also overlays on top of the screen, so it shows things like the codec, video standard time code, record media status, all those things. And you can swipe on and off the overlays. So you just swipe down.
Central? No, you don't.
get that
No,
shot
you
there.
don't. You
and you can
just
swap them back on
it would.
to
So what
bring
would
them back
help
so
you
you get,
is
you know,
if you
clean
go
You can also
to
enter quick
Blackmagic's
metadata,
website,
and that's done using
there's
the digital slate.
a
And you
page
swipe
where
fo-
you could
swipe
actually
sideways to show
sign
that.
up to
So if I
do
swipe
their
sideways, you
coursing,
can see it
their
brings up
online,
the,
but you don't even
digital
have to
slate.
do
You
that.
can enter
You could
quick
just take their
metadata here.
test
It's really
for
good if
end
you're recording
users,
from cameras,
take
you
their
can use that.
test for the
the
beginner's
also has
guide,
built-in scopes.
for and you can do the
What is that?
specialties with Fairlight,
You can access them from the scopes icon here, which is
the
just
special. I
can
don't know
see
why the
the,
special effects page is.
scopes menu on
It's
the
got
bottom of the
it's
screen.
resolved me.
So I can
The color
select any
page, the edit
scope I
page,
want. So I can go
and you can take
through-
all the tests, and you
There's
can
a
get those
waveformer,
certifications as end user. If you get those,
And there's a pro.
it would help, and you can and you
Display.
can also reach
There's a
out to me
vector.
via email. We can try to
that's
put you in
the
touch with the person in
also add a small
charge
picture-in-picture,
of the certification,
which I
but
can
it's
do
free.
here.
They basically
So I can
let
still
you
see the
do the
video feed.
certification training for free.
Okay, well, let's go
You
back to
just
video.
have to there's
video,
usually
and then
like
we'll,
3 to
close
4 days of
menu.
a virtual trading
So
session,
now let's play with the controls.
and then you have to take
So you
the
have some really
trader's
nice
test.
transport control buttons here.
And once you get the
plus
trader's
the search
test
dial. So let's
of the
jog around.
beginner's
So we'll go
guide,
to
you'll
jog.
be a certified
Let's jog,
trader.
and I can log up and down.
Fusion, yes, yes.
It's nice.
That's. I don't know why that keeps losing me.
Now you can also scroll on the LCD. So there's a timeline where you can see all your clips, and you can scroll with your finger. So do that there.
So
Scroll up
touch.
and down all the clips.
So touch replay.
It's pretty nice.
Where was this
it
like
makes it really easy
four?
to find the
Where
clip
was
you
this
want.
like 4
You can-
years
you can
ago
even
in
jog on the
2020 when
LCD.
this would
If
have
you go
been
up higher,
dope?
You can jog, accurately jog, which is really nice when you've got a lot of clips. And then the scroll will be much more severe because you've got just more content. So the jog is actually a really nice way of finding a playback point. But also you can use the transport controls obviously to play. So let's play. You can see we've got some stuff playing there. Now you can see it on the monitoring output, and we've got, you can see there's a graphic overlays of all the status and things like that. But let me show you how to use it as a media player. Now to play a specific clip, you can use the clip button. So first you find the clip. So let's do that.
I know Amaran
So we'll jog and
announced
we'll
some
It's one of
new
these stingers here. So that looks
flat
pretty good.
lights similar
And then what
to
you do
Dan
is
Light's
you,
Pavel
press the
Slims,
clip button, which is one here.
which is pretty,
Now it'll just
which is
play
really
the one
dope.
clip. But first we need to go to the
I mean,
start
this
of the
was a
clip.
couple of months
So I use the
ago.
previous clip
I
button to do
really
that.
like what Godox
And now I'm at the
did
start of the clip
with
and I'm
their
ready. This clip has an
MS60R,
alpha channel.
their full
so let's
colors,
use the A10 downstream key over here
which is like
to
this super
layer it over the live
modular,
video. And I can do that on the Mac over here on the
like
control panel.
portable,
So I've got the,
interchangeable
downstream
battery
key already
mount,
set up here.
and they have all the cool accessories
So I
for
just
it.
have to go on in.
I don't know. I'm
And
not.
now it'll be overlaid.
So
So if
for
I-
me, free piece,
if we can cut to
I'm
the,
not really
multi-view on the
digging
switcher,
these big
now the downstream key
output
one's on. Now when we
lights.
play the
I
clip,
feel
it'll,
like it's like
layer over the
it's
live video
getting
in
a
the
little
downstream
bit
key.
too ridiculous
And
with
the alpha
more
channel,
and more and more output.
In the clip will be out as a key
like
signal,
I'd
and then
rather
the
have
A10 key
like
will use that key channel to
more
blend the clips. Let's
affordable,
do that.
maybe
You'll see
less
that now.
powerful lights, but I have more
There it is.
control on how
Now the animation's
to
playing, and it'll
control
also
over the
stop at
scene
end
instead
the
of
clip.
filming. I
And
get
can
if
play
you're
it
in a
again. You can
big
play it as
scene and
many
you need
times as you
a
like. It does the same clip again and again
Shoot,
while the
shoot,
clip
shoot, shoot,
button's on. But even
They're
with the
good for
clip
the
on, you
cover.
can still scroll to other clips. So I can
just
still
spilled
like
water
jog
on
to
my
a
map.
different
Just spilled water on my map. But thank goodness for the cover.
one there, and I can then you can play
go
the
ahead
new
and put
clip
this down.
just by jogging to it. So I can go to the previous clip again, and I can play that one. Now I've got a different animation. A bit slower that one.
But yeah,
So that's really cool.
I'd rather have
Now, when we
small,
played the clips, it was
affordable,
using the
but
internal
give
storage.
and have me
There's a 2
be
terabyte
more
memory card installed in this
decisive
Hyperdeck
with my
shuttle.
lighting
So it's a
versus
Hyperdeck,
like
but it's
a
also
big
network
giant light.
storage, and this is really great
But
for
that's just me.
portable use because all the media is internal, and other users can access it over the network. So let me show you that. So I'll do a recording first. Go to the input, and then we'll do a record. Actually, I'll turn off the key up first. You don't want to do that. And now we'll do a short recording. So you can see now it's all lit up and recording. You can see the time remaining. You can see it on the monitoring output. It's really cool. In fact, one thing you can do is you can actually even still use the scopes when you're recording.
That's dope.
As your picture
I'm glad
picture,
I
which is
can.
pretty
I'm,
nice.
I'm glad you can just sort of do like a swipe.
close
That's
that.
dope.
And we'll go. We'll stop recording. There it is there. And now we can mount the Hyperdeck storage over on the computer over here. Now it's 10G Ethernet, so it's really fast. Let me go over here and do that. So I can go here, open it up. There it is there. And there's my stingers, but there's the clip I recorded. There it is there. You know, it's 10G Ethernet, so the network speed's really fast. So it's great. Now everyone on the network can access these recordings.
I
And
swear,
of course, you can also record
their
to external
cloud
network storage disks
connectivity
as well if you got one
is
available.
it's getting
So
better
it
and
is network
better.
storage, but can it record it? It can
I
also
recently
record a network
used
storage.
the present
Now it
in
syncs
DaVinci
to
Resolve,
Blackmagic Cloud, so
and
I
it
can log into Blackmagic
works
Cloud and sync the
amazingly.
media directly off the
And
unit.
it just
up
it
into
makes the
Blackmagic Cloud,
experience
which
for
is
myself,
great
but
if an
also the
editor's working
experience for
from
my
another
clients
location,
so
because
much
then
better.
Blackmagic Cloud would distribute
Especially
the
when
media
we're
to all the
doing
other editors.
if you got a tight turnaround
So it's pretty
and
cool.
need to get notes back
So
from
this
your
is an
clients really quickly.
extremely powerful Hyperdeck model. It's really ergonomic for as a media player for live production. All the controls at your fingertips. The LCD makes it
Alejandro,
really powerful.
I would.
I think it's actually the most powerful Hyperdeck we have.
I mean,
Now the Hyperdeck shuttle.
I would be
4K
shocked if
currently
they
priced at
didn't.
1,495. And we also have a model that
I'm pretty
comes
sure
with a
the
2 terabyte
original Pyxis
storage built in.
was approved for
It's
Netflix.
easy to add the storage,
But
we
with
thought it'd be just
given the
nice to have a model that's
sensor,
got
the fact
pre-installed.
that it does have
And
time
that model's
code,
called
the fact
Hyperdeck
that
Shuttle
it
4K
does,
Pro 2 TB, which stands for 2 terabytes.
I
And this
definitely assume
model
it's going to have an
priced at
OLPF,
1,895.
just
It's
like
about
the
to start
others.
production, so it'll be
I
available
would be
soon.
shocked if they
But I
don't
think it'll be really
have
great for
it.
live production.
But
It's an incredibly
again,
powerful
unless
media
you,
player.
I
And it
also want to
integrates
make it
so
very,
well
very
with
clear
the
to
Atom
everybody.
switches. You know, imagine setting
Unless
one up next to your switcher
Netflix
with its own
is the
dedicated
one
monitoring.
cutting the check,
You know, finding
the
clips and
list
playing them is
doesn't
really
mean
easy. So
squat.
it's going to be really nice.
Doesn't mean anything.
Okay,
You
next I
can
wanted to talk about
shoot
control
stuff that
panels.
is not on that
Last year
approved
we
list,
released a
and you can
low-cost
still get
ATEM
it on the
control
Netflix.
panel.
But
It
if
was called
they're
ATEM
not
micro
producing
panel,
it for the
and it
original
connects to the
content,
ATEM software
the list
control.
is meaningless.
So you get a
Just
really
remember that.
low-cost hardware
So
control panel. And it's
don't
got the same nice buttons
worry
that are
about
larger,
Netflix
really big
approved.
advanced panels. But it connects using Bluetooth or USB to the software, and it even has a battery in it. And that's been working really well, and people love it.
The
'Cause
thing
you
is,
get physical hardware
say
controls.
if they show
But now we're going to do
the
same
cameras
thing with
first,
camera controls.
nobody's
Let me
going to
show you.
see
I'll
nobody's
come
going
over
to sit
here.
through all of this.
Actually, I'll set. I got to do
They're
a
not-
camera device.
they
I'll
know
just
what they're doing.
Switch it to a local camera. Now let's come down here, and I'll bring it out because I've got a controller camera, so I should switch the switcher to a camera. Okay, so you can see it's the same controller as the large panel we have.
So
That's really
they
beautiful.
got a new
design.
camera
Let me turn it
panel.
on, actually. There it is there. It's got a
This would be
battery in it.
cool if they had a
Now it
PTZ.
uses the
If they
same
had a
mechanical
PTC
parts,
camera,
but
and
it's
I know
obviously
these
just a
can work
single
with
channel,
like
but
their
it's got the
studio
same quality.
cameras.
Um,
But
and
if they
it's
actually
love
went
those
and made a
white LEDs.
PTZ
And
camera,
it feels very smooth.
this would be
you know,
great.
It's really nice. So
But
if we can cut to
I
the
understand, man.
camera,
No, I get you.
this
That's why,
right
but
here
that's
adjusts
why
the
they make you
bars.
wait.
So you
They
can see I
know
can
what
adjust.
everybody's waiting for.
I've just got a
They're not
Parker Studio camera.
they're not
above
dumb.
the set over there with just a photography lens on it. And then turning the knob adjusts the pedestal. And then pushing the knob actually can adjust, can set an aux output to let you follow which camera you're controlling. So it lets you color grade multiple
Exactly,
cameras really
Trevor.
fast.
If you're
There's
paying for
controls
your
RGB
production,
balance. So
you
it's
can
really
use
nice.
whatever
Let me show
camera you
you
want.
the
As
color
long as it's
change.
good, you got the right connections,
there.
it gets buzz.
And then the blacks.
It can get onto Netflix
Probably do a bit more radical color change, really. There you
or
go.
any
So there's
or
color correctors in the
or
cameras.
even you can even get it
So
on
it's
Amazon
really
as well. You just
beautiful.
need to get yourself
Just
out
make the
there,
camera look nice.
let the project get a buzz and
bit of-
have know the right people.
Contrast in it. It's cool. So you can set gain and shutter angle and ND filters and everything in here. It's really cool. Now the buttons on the side switch between the cameras, but they do so much more than that. They also show the camera that's currently on air, plus the camera that's on preview. Now the LED display just here shows you the active camera. That's the one you're actually controlling. And the buttons do that. But the buttons light up red when they're on air, and they also light up green when they're on the preview row. So let me show you that. So you can see if I switch, I'm on camera 1, so that's why it's eliminated.
That's
But the
true,
switch down
Julia.
between
That
the
is very
cameras.
true. That's a good point you
See
did
there?
make.
You
Yeah,
see which
they
camera
would
we
need to figure out
control.
autofocus
So we can
if
adjust
they're
the
going
black.
to use
In fact, when you go to the
a
camera that's
PTZ
on air, the
camera.
number comes up.
Actually, I
Red.
just got a PTZ camera
pretty
to
cool.
try out. I'm gonna be doing a
Um,
review video in the next month or
Now, if
so.
I
I'm
cut on
still
the switcher,
putting
you
some
can actually see
paces.
that move around. So I'll just
'cause
pop down and I'll cut
There's
it.
some
And if you can get a
there's some
close-up of this, I'll
intriguing
show you.
things of some use
So I
cases
go
for
down here and then switch between the cameras.
it.
You can see that changing.
Hey, yes, AOL approved.
So, sorry, I'm
Always,
running up and
that's
down.
always that's
Um,
the most
So
important one. AOL approved.
because it stops you from adjusting the camera that's on air, because the buttons will show you what's on air before you try and adjust the camera. So I think the combination of the LEDs and the buttons are really good. Now these buttons are really high quality. Again, they're the same buttons off the advanced panels we use, and you can even take the keycaps off and custom label them as well. Now let me just show you the back, because it does have a few connections. Now it's got the USB-C connection to connect computers. That also charges it. It's Bluetooth, so it'll run wirelessly. You can see I've got, wires there, and it just connects to the ATEM software control. So it's just like the other ATEM micro.
Agree with you.
It's got
I
an
agree
internal
with you,
battery,
Julian.
which it's using now. And like I was
Also,
saying, it charges
what
through the
I was about
USB,
to
and there's a
say.
power switch on the back. That actually disconnects the battery. Make sure
To
you
me-
don't run the
to
battery down
me,
when you're not using
like,
it.
yeah,
You might have it sitting there for a couple
autofocus.
of weeks. You don't want the battery running down.
I
Although you
think if
do
they
need to
do
turn
that, that would
obviously
be
the
great.
battery back
I
on
also
again to
think
charge
if
it,
like
'cause it
if
literally does
Blackmagic
disconnect
ever
the
came
battery.
out with their
So
own
it's a very simple
cinema lenses,
control panel
oh,
to use.
oh,
And,
I
really,
think they're
really
going to be.
elegant
I think it
design.
would be. I
It's got
think
really
that would
nice
be
controls and very smooth.
a lot of
It's basically
companies
just
will-
like
are
the
going
high-end
to are
CPU
going to
controller,
be
so it's got very familiar
quivering.
controls for like a broadcast user. They'll find it very familiar to use. I think it's a really nice controller, and it's perfect for ATEM Mini, which is just awesome. For that, it gives ATEM Mini customers something this beautiful to use, and it's portable. It's incredibly portable, so you can put one in, and you could even stack multiple side by side if you wanted to create a multi-channel controller. Plus, it's got a lip around the outside edge, so you could actually cut a hole in the desk and insert it in the desk. So it's really cool. So the new ATEM micro camera panel will be priced at $595.
Oh,
It's just about to start
not bad.
production, so it should be available in a few weeks. I think people really enjoy using it. It unlocks the power of the color correctors built into our cameras. Even the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K has a color corrector built into it. It costs less than $1,000, so I think it's really nice. Yeah, the ATEM micro camera panel plus a camera is really an incredible combination because you get the full CCU and live production experience. It's really great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have some new software for our HyperDecks. This will be an update for HyperDeck Extreme
All right,
and the
so
Blackmagic Video Assist.
So
It'll support
also,
syncing the
I've
Blackmagic
been
Cloud. So this means that HyperDecks and Video Assist can sync the remote
I've
DaVinci
been
systems, which will be really
playing
nice.
around with the
That update should
microcolor
also be
panel.
available in a few weeks, so keep an eye out for that. I thought I'd just mention that.
As someone who loves color grading,
let's talk about ATEM
this
Mini.
is amazing.
A lot of people have been building some really high-end studios with
ATEM Minis. All right, let's see what we got here.
But the current ATEM Mini Extreme is
Let's see what we
really
got here.
ATEM Mini Pro with more inputs.
I
So
want-
we felt like we could do a
Riz, are
higher-end
you
model.
still here?
We've done that. It's
I want to
called
know if you're
ATEM
still
Mini
here,
Extreme
Riz,
ISO
because I know
G2.
this is you.
It's basically the second generation. It's still a HDMI switcher, but it's a lot more powerful. So let me bring one out and show it to you. Here it is here.
About damn time.
I'll move this over here. There it is there. So it's a wider design. It's got a much better layout. The audio mixing
Mini,
controls are
I
the same
saw-
as the ATEM TV Studio.
Man, they really
so
need to
that's
work
quite
on these.
different. The input buttons are also much nicer. They're the same buttons we use.
They
on
need to work
ATEM
on these
advanced
namings.
panels.
We love you. Still love you,
I noticed
Blackmagic.
high-end people wanted better buttons. It was one of the biggest requests we had. The switcher has 8 HDMI inputs, but it's actually got 10 input buttons because you can now assign them. So it's great. And also the cut and the auto buttons also are the same type. They're really nice, high-quality buttons. Now we have audio mixer controls with 10 knobs and solo and select buttons. We also now have a manual transition fader here.
Yes, thank you.
It's
Thank you.
the same as a T-bar, but it's a low-profile fader type one instead, so it's more portable.
I'm so happy.
So you don't have things sticking up. It's got 6 macro buttons along the top here, labeled macro 1 to 6, so you can trigger macros right from the panel. There's also a new feature where there's like a preview button. Now this changes the input buttons to the preview button. So when you press it, the input buttons turn green, and then you can select the preview source, and then you can trigger that with the cut and the auto button. So you can do direct cut bus switching, but you can actually then sort of use a preview bus to do transitions. So it's really cool. You can do those transitions with the buttons, or you can do it manually with the fader. Now, down the middle, there's all the buttons for the audio mixer controls here. There's also 4 upstream ATEM advanced chroma keys and 2 downstream keys, which we have here and here.
Not bad.
See, this switch has more keys than we had before. And you also have the buttons for recording up here, and there's also buttons to start the live
I wonder if
streaming.
they
There's some
updated
activity
up
lights here
the
for
super
this.
source.
Plus, there's some video output buttons over here that allow us to switch the outputs. This switcher has 3 HDMI outputs, and these buttons give you control over output 1 and output 2. And then of course, we have a little fade to black button down the back there. So it's pretty cool. Now, just in general, this works in all the HD television standards. It has standards converters on all the HDMI inputs. It's got also 2 media players built in. The media player handles 20 stills and 200 frames of animation. It does ISO recording of all the HDMI inputs. Plus, it's got 2 independent DVEs, and it also has a super source, which is a multi-layer processor, like almost an independent multi-layer processor. But it's got its own 4 dedicated DVEs, which is really good for interviews. So in total, you actually get 6 DVEs in this, which is amazing.
4
4
DVEs for super source. So still 4, but they got 2 additional
check
ones.
out the back.
That's
You'll
dope.
see the connections, which is where a lot of the changes have happened. In the back there, a lot more connections. So starting from the end, we have
they got we got finally we got some XLRs.
People had. We've got 2
Nice.
XLR analog audio inputs that use the combo connectors. Another huge request that people wanted. So you can plug XLR or jack cables into those.
quarter
also the analog
inch
inputs also have phantom
headphones.
power.
Thank you.
Now we've also added a MADI input for an additional 32 channels of audio into the switcher. Which
Oh,
is
we
great
got
for
MADI
connecting to,
too?
like ATEM microphone converters. All those MADI inputs have dedicated audio
Yeah,
channels, so this means you can really break
I
out
thought I
tons of
heard him say it's still
microphones, depending
HD. I
what you're
really
doing.
hope
Doing
it's not.
interviews,
It's
things like that,
4K.
you can record bands. You can have a lot of sound coming in. It's really good. You got the 8 HDMI inputs on the back, and each input has got a standards converter. And also, it supports camera control back through.
Don't
the
tip me,
HDMI back
Trevor.
into
Don't tip
cameras,
me.
Which is really good because then you get.
I'm
camera
trying.
control
I'm
through
already
that.
going like
Which
all
means
in
it
with the
works with proper
Pyxis.
cinema cameras,
I'm
all the
not trying to
Blackmagic
go
studio cameras.
fully
And you
broke.
get tally and talkback camera control. Sorry, not talkback, camera tally and control. So you can also route the sources of the outputs. There's 3 HDMI outputs, and you can route the sources for those. So they're not just dedicated program outs. They're actually quite flexible. You can put the program output of one of them, or you can select any of the input feeds or the multi-view to go out of those outputs. So you can actually connect up to 3 monitors behind your switcher. Now, all the HDMI outputs support timecode and plus a record trigger.
Cool.
Then there's
Yep.
also a
I mean,
Thunderbolt
that's the same as
connection built in. It's extremely powerful. The single Thunderbolt connection gives you playback of 2 channels of video into the switcher, which is fill and key. Plus, you can get live video back from the switcher to the computer. And that feeds like a 4th switcher output that can also be routed. So the switcher's like got 4 outputs because you can
Thunderbolt's still
capture
the same as before.
the video source on the computer from that destination, which is actually a 4th source. The Thunderbolt port also has network access to the memory card on the back, or a USB disk. So that appears on your computer as a network connection,
but
shared storage.
They have an
you can also
SDI.
edit the ISO files.
Now they got an SD card too.
So
I'm really curious.
One other thing, it does
Hopefully, what the codecs. I hope it's not just H.264. And at least there's H.265.
You can use the computer as a media player, or you can use DaVinci Resolve for replay. It's got everything you need.
Wait, is that CF Express,
Jonathan? Connections, if you can get a close up of those.
Oh, it is CF Express.
Got the webcam support.
Nice.
Record to external discs by plugging them in.
But you would.
Video out
I hope
really
then that means it will be able to record 4K
into a computer. You can also connect a computer into the USB and get ATEM software control running if you don't want to do network.
Because otherwise,
stuff,
why do you have a CF Express if you can't do 4K?
It's got a CF Express card built in. So the storage is built in now. It's not like a disk hanging off. You can actually put it in the switcher and take it with you. It's really good when you need portable access. Now you notice we've got two Ethernet ports. One is a 10G Ethernet port for fast access into the memory card. So all your editors can actually access the media over the network while you're actually doing production.
Yeah, they're going full CF Express on everything.
Edits while you're recording. It becomes the center of an entire production workflow. There's also a 1G Ethernet on there. And that's for like control panels and connecting to the internet, things like that. Now we've also got a 12-volt DC connector with a locking screw thread on it. So I thought it'd be good to show you some of the features that the switcher can do, particularly basically the new features. Now to save time, I've actually got a switcher plugged in and connected already. So let's bring that out.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Make a hash of it. So what I'll do is I'll move this across a little so I can get some space. We'll borrow this monitor. I'll move this over.
The thing is, I've seen this table at NAB, and I'm always curious, like, where are they hiding all this? Because it's not as big as it looks like it would be during these updates.
I'll leave a little bit of a gap between the monitors so I can reach in to operate the switcher. There it is there. And actually, that's the other thing I need to do. But it's still my monitoring connection from here. And plug it into the switcher.
But I know, again, I don't know if Riss, I don't know if you're still here, but
there we go.
This looks like right up your alley.
I've done that. So there's 3 HDMI outputs, but I'll just use the 2 because I've got 2 monitors. I mean, 3 would be too many. Whoops. But there's 3 buttons on the panel that let me change the display on each one. So, for example, I've got 2 monitors. They should be showing the program at the moment. But I could select like between multi-view, an audio display, or video. So it's really nice when you've got a single monitor because those buttons on the front there, you can use for rapidly switching the display. So it's really good. So the video output button is interesting. There's a video output button there. What that does, you can do quite a lot with this. You can use it to switch the sources to other sources. So basically, there's only space on the panel for 3 buttons. So we've made one of the buttons use the other buttons on the panel to then do.
That's clever. That's clever.
So if you hold that video output button down, you can select other sources. So if you pressed and held the video output button, then press one of the input buttons, you'll get the input routed directly out. It's the same thing as when you go to one of the menus in the software control and just select an input to go out of one of the outputs. If you press and hold the video output button and push the preview button, then you get a preview video going out that output. And if you press and hold the video output button and push the cut or the auto buttons, you'll get program video out. So let me show you how that works. So what I'll do is I'll change the video output to the different outputs. So that's one there. So I can go switch different sources coming out.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. That's now setting one of the inputs to come out. Or I can do the video out to program by pushing that. Now that's the program view, which is pretty cool. Now let's set this other monitor here to the multi-view because then we can see what's going on. And there's a direct
I'm sure they will drop the price of the URSA Mini Pro 12K.
And there's my multi-view.
It's probably still going to be a little bit.
And so you can also, of course, change those outputs in the software control. because there's that output menu that lets you
They
do
take
that.
they take a while to drop their
So let me
price.
show you
Like
how
they
this
recently
whole
just
control
dropped the
panel
Pocket
works.
4K.
So you can cut between
under
sources
$1,000.
directly. It's all pretty simple. So you can see here, especially if you look at the multi-view output, I've got the program view coming out as well. You can see I can just cut between sources. So that's all very easy to use. But if you press the preview button, you get the preview bus. So let me show you that. See? Now I can press the preview source, and now I've got a preview source. And you can see it changed green. So we've selected a preview source now. Now we can do cut and auto.
My only concern with this is that there's so many buttons that are redundant that I think certain technical directors are going to feel flustered or frustrated of trying to figure it out. That's my only concern.
Let me just move. I've got an overhead.
Especially if you got a young TD who may be working a live stream.
So you can see over the top there, if you can look down on that top view, this is where you can start and stop streaming here, and it can also start recording here as well. Now I've got ISO recording turned on, so it'll record all the input video to separate files off every input. So let's start recording. There you go there. Now that's recording to the internal memory card. Okay, so now let's check out the audio mixer. Now first I have another video output source. It's actually a Fairlight audio status, which I didn't show you before, but it's the third button over here. So let's set video output 1 to the audio source. There it is there. So it's really nice. It's a Fairlight audio status display. It's really nice to have. It actually provides so much power. So if you look at that, if you can cut to that status display, what you're seeing along the top there is all the audio inputs that are coming into the
Central.
switches. You can see
Looks
all
like
the
they were
video
hearing
inputs
you.
there. You can see all the
Looks
MADI
like they were
input
hearing you,
channels.
man.
We've got a MADI connected with just simulating audio coming in. Got loudness and monitoring audio on the right-hand side. Now, across what you've got is all these different audio channels. And then along the very bottom, you've got the same menus.
Yeah, of course, Gabriel. They're saving the cameras for
So
last.
the bottom menus are actually really important.
But
they're the same menus as
usually
once Studio, and they use all the buttons,
we'll be close once we get to Resolve. So now Resolve is going to take a while for itself,
levels, which
but
we're already in, I can now adjust the level
hey,
control,
you never know.
and you can see I'm winding down the level and input 1 there. I can adjust
But this is dope that we're now
processing such as EQ,
that now we could do we could have audio controls on the device itself, and now we don't need a laptop because I have the ATEM Mini over here. In order for me to adjust the audio, I have to use a laptop and use the ATEM Studio. It looks like I wonder if they're going to have like a 4-channel one that's a little bit more.
The EQ controls are come up along the
what
bottom.
makes this great is the fact that
changed quite radically,
you don't need a laptop. You just need some sort of monitor that can monitor those controls.
Are the same as the parameters on the bottom of the status screen. So if I start adjusting things, you can see
it looks like they're trying to move. Trying to move much more away from the ATEM Studio hub and have it where it's in the hardware itself, which is really great.
Cool. So you can see the channel. So this is actually, I probably should pause for a moment and explain exactly what's going on here. Now I'm in the channel. What you're seeing is a visual representation of the entire processing pipeline for that channel, and I'm adjusting the EQ part of that. And in the bottom section, I've got all the controls, all the parameters.
Hey, Jones, we haven't even got to the cameras yet.
So you can see what the status of everything is.
We haven't even got to the cameras yet.
The EQ controls. So it's pretty cool, and you can see the status screen. Now, pushing the select button is a great way to change between channels, and I can keep doing that. If you see, I can move across, and you can see that the selection is changing there. But what we can also do is we can use the preview bus, because the selection will follow the preview bus. So if I go into the preview bus here, and then I can select the channels, you can see it switching the selection, particularly if I move between 1 and 2, because the 2 is where I adjusted the EQ, and you can see that happening there. And as you see, the previous sources, it'll just follow along. Which is
I'm with you too. I'm doing my best to keep self-restraint.
Preview and do your audio adjustments, and it's keeping up with you. So I have other controls in here. You can see I've got all the EQs on. I've got expander, compressor. These controls are currently turned off. Limiter, gate. But I've also got camera control, so I can bring that up as well, and I can do a whole bunch of camera control on the knobs here.
What?
There's a lot of stuff.
What?
It's really cool. Now, I want to talk about another new feature. It's the Thunderbolt connection. Now, we have a Thunderbolt cable from this switcher over here to this iMac over there. Now, the single Thunderbolt connection has both the video and the networking. It's got video in and out but the video output has fill and key, so it's actually kind of like a 2-channel output. And you can use DaVinci Resolve as a media player. So let's play a media file with an alpha channel, and you can see how it works. But first, we'll have to set up a downstream keyer. So we'll go to DSK1, which is downstream keyer 1,
what?
and we'll select the Thunderbolt input. And you can actually see how this works. So if you come over, you can see in the user interface here, I've got the downstream keyer, and I can just select the Thunderbolt field.
Julian, I think when they say cameras, I think they're just talking about like cameras
Then I
you
can turn
can
on the
put into
keyer. So
the
I already have a
ATEM
DaVinci
Mini,
Resolve
not
project here with some
necessarily
stingers in it. So let's
they're going to
play them.
announce multiple cameras. They may, we don't know.
So we'll open it up, and we'll kind of stinger files, and we can play them. There it is there. Now they have an alpha channel in them, and the alpha channel becomes a key input into the switcher. And this Thunderbolt connection is 2 sources, fill and key. So that's how it works.
So
Now we don't
so
actually want the key to
basically,
come through when you're editing.
so
So
basically,
we can actually mute the video output when it's not playing to air. DaVinci will blank the video output inside the switcher.
so you can now
when it's not
use
playing to air, which is
Resolve
really great when you're doing replays.
as
Because DaVinci knows
your
when it's playing
key?
to air because there's a run
Am
button.
I hearing
on the
that
user
right?
interface, and it'll actually run
You'll
it,
be
which
able to
means
use
it'll
Resolve as a
unmute.
key?
So there's buttons on the panel for that, which I'll just point out here. Over here. These are the replay controls. There's dump, run, and cue, run, and dump. So let's open the replay palette, and we'll turn on the mute feature. Oh, there it is. It was already open, so we can go into here, and that'll shut the video off when we're not playing to air. And also, we'll turn on the auto stinger as well, because we'll do a replay. So let's turn on the auto stinger feature. And now I've got these stingers here, and they'll load in.
Yo,
It'll use these stingers when we run.
they,
So
wow.
now we're ready basically to do a
The-
replay. And that's the other big thing that you can really use this for is
They're,
replay.
Blackmagic, I'll
So,
just say this,
Let me show
Blackmagic
you
is
how the
getting
media works first, 'cause
Apple
what we're
level
gonna do
with
is
in
get
terms
media
of the
from that switcher.
integrations with
We're
all
actually
their
still
different
recording, so we'll get the
products.
media across.
They're
So
they're not
ATEM
fully
Mini
there yet,
has a
but they're
CF
getting
Express
they're
card
getting
that
there.
actually works as network storage, and we get access to that through the Thunderbolt connection. The computer thinks the Thunderbolt connection is actually an Ethernet adapter. You know, one of those Ethernet adapters you plug in. So the computer's connected to the network via the switcher, and you can use the you can access the CF Express media on the desktop.
Gotcha.
But that's how
We'll
we
see.
then bring it into
But
DaVinci.
we'll see.
So let me show you how that works. So I'll minimize DaVinci, and I'll bring up the Finder. It is there, and there's our demo media. There it is there. So that's what it's recording, the project and the ISO files. You can see them all there. And I can actually open one of those. There it is there. And that media file is being recorded as the program.
What?
That's pretty cool. So now we've got that mounted. What we'll do is we can do a replay. So let me show you how we do a replay. So first I got to load the media into the project. So let me do that.
So
So I can just go along here.
so now we can. Oh wow,
Find our
wow.
media.
So
Oops,
now
wrong
we can
device.
use
That was a hard
DaVinci
bit.
Resolve as a replay.
There they are there.
What?
Now we've got our media files. Now I can press the source tape and scroll through the media. The source tape acts like an automatic timeline, like DaVinci basically creates it. It strings all your media together end to end, so you can visually browse and just scroll up and down. It even flattens the bin. Let me show you. So if I go into the source tape, now you can see all my cameras end to end, and I can just scroll up and down that and play. But we don't really want to see our sources end to end because what's the use of that? We really want to see them in a multi-view, all synced up in time, it's essentially in parallel. So to do that, we actually have a setting for the source tape, which is called multi-source, and it lines up all the matching time codes.
Resolve
all
is
shots by time
is
code in
no
multi-view.
now. So
So if I
DaVinci
turn that
Resolve is
on,
now not
Here we are.
only
Now we've got all our shots.
a
You
editor,
can see it's now
a color
a
grading
single direction,
tool,
but we've got all our
a
shots.
special effects,
Um,
audio,
in the one multi-view.
audio
So you can see all
studio.
our cameras.
It is now
That's really cool.
a broadcast replay program.
So it's recording 8 video input streams while it's now playing back 8 video output streams. And so you can see if I go to the end of the viewer, you can see those streams coming in. You can see the
What?
playback point moving back as
What?
the additional media is coming in. And you can
I'm
also see
sorry,
it clocking up over
guys.
here. So it's
My
pretty cool.
mind is kind of
Now, we've already turned on
melting
the auto
right
stinger,
now.
so our replays
I'm
will
like-
play the stinger. So now we can do
I'm
a replay.
getting blown
Now
by
a great
this.
way to do that, so
Pause.
you can see it, is to
My mind is
connect
getting
the
blown
output.
right now. It's like
So what I'm going to do is I'm
whoa.
going to change the status display to the program out so you can actually see what it is, as we'll link that out. So let's change output 1 to program. There it is there. And now when we switch the viewer on the input view, you can see we can wait for something to happen. So if I go back over here, I can select the input view, just here. There it is. So what I'm doing is I'm watching a multi-view from the A10.
What?
Now the A10 Mini has 4 video outputs, like I think I was saying before, and 3 of those outputs are obviously dedicated outputs, but the 4th output is a Thunderbolt video input to here. So you can route the source into that. So I just routed the multi-view from inside the switcher to that 4th output, which is what's coming through here. And that's why I can see that in the viewer here. So then the viewer now is basically
Dude,
watching live input.
we haven't even
And
gotten
I
to the
can
cameras
switch the
yet.
input using this button over here.
And this is
There it is there.
insane.
And there's also a button on the replay panel. So I'll bring a replay panel out now, which is here it is there. So this obviously makes everything so much easier to use the replay panel. So I'll use the replay panel. It's got an input button on it.
Oh
so
yeah.
I can
Oh,
select
then
that.
he just magically just
So
told us. Oh, by
now
the
what
way,
we do
we
is we watch
we
for
got a
something to
Resolve
happen.
replay editor,
And
by
when
the
something
way.
interesting
Let me
happens,
just
we set a POI
pull this
for
out from
point of
right over
interest.
here.
So there's a
I
button
got
for that as well
yeah,
on the
yeah,
panel.
we got a
And a
replay
POI tells
editor.
DaVinci
Let's
where
let me just pull
to
this out.
restart shots when we play different camera angles. Because once you're playing one camera angle, you need to re-cue back before the next camera angle, and it'll do it before the POI. Now the POI time basically comes in from the timecode input from the live input view. So when we set a POI, a few things happen really quickly.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah,
set the
no
POI
man, time to
using the
clear the
video
color.
input time
Yo,
code,
it is
but it'll
spring.
also switch the
It's
viewer
there's
playback.
spring
And
break
it'll
yard.
cue the viewer
Hey,
to the
talk about some
POI.
yard
It's all
sales.
automatic.
Got some spring
And this
break
all
sales.
happens when we press one button. So let's do it. Now there is a set POI button on the keyboard, but there's also one on the UI, which is down here. There it is there.
Yeah,
But we can
I
use the
know, man.
space bar as a shortcut, and it's
But
much
this
faster
is
because it's easy to get to.
so
all we have to
sick,
do is
man.
press the space bar.
As someone who works, operates,
Yeah, there
this
it
is
So that's great.
This
so
is
a whole
sick.
bunch of things here. If you saw the viewer, you can see a whole bunch of stuff happen. We switched from the input back to the playback, and we've also marked there's a POI has been set, captured from the time code coming from the input.
they're
And we've also queued the
just going to
playback to
build
that
more
point.
of the
You know,
desk
the little indicator there shows how far
as he
away
goes
from
on in
POI
the
we are.
stream. They're going to just
So all
build
I
more
have
of
to
the
do is scroll
desk.
back a little to get a little bit of space before, so we can see the lead up until the event that happened. And then we're pretty ready to go. We'll select the camera. I think camera 2 looks pretty good. That looks nice. And so we're pretty much ready to go. Now, all we need to do is press run to start, and then DaVinci knows that it's in a replay. Now, we have a run button up the top in the UI here, but there's also a run button on the replay keyboard, and there's a run button over on the front panel in the
Yo.
Mini Extreme. So that's pretty cool.
Yo, we
So let's
almost
do it.
can't
We'll
see.
push
We
run.
almost can't see
Then if
Grant
you see the
right
program,
now.
you can see
There's
we've
so
run
many
our
products
stinger.
on this
Now we're
table.
doing our
Like
replay,
he's
and we
like,
can even
there's going to be a
slow
part
down
where
once
he's
to get
just going to be like,
towards
let me just put it here,
the
and
action.
then
We
it's
can
just
slow it
like
down
he's
on
going to
the
be talking, and
keyboard.
we
There it
can't
is
see
there.
him.
That's pretty cool. That white flash and the multi-view was actually the POI. We can run it back up again. That looks pretty good. Now we're past the POI, so let's pre-roll by pushing camera 1, and now we're pre-rolling to camera 1, and we can see a different view. And now we can go to camera 3, which is a gold camera. So that'll also pre-roll that, and we can also run that down in speed. So there you go there. It's pretty cool.
Mm.
And also you can see that the new feature in DaVinci 20 is it
It's-
marks the cameras we've used in blue. Let's
This
go to
is-
camera 4,
Look,
which is
like
the
I know
terrible
we're
camera
all
to use
excited
'cause
for the
it's all the way
cameras.
down the other end of the hockey match. But we can also
well,
get the crowd shot, camera
Is
5.
it?
So there's
Yo,
the crowd reaction. So there we are. So that's all there
Ooh.
really is to it. And then when
So
we
they
finish,
gotta
we can push the
replay.
dump key. It'll rerun our stinger, and we come out. So there it is. That's a replay all happening from that single Thunderbolt port. Now we've done the replay, but DaVinci remembers it. So if we push this button here, add to timeline, it'll now add the replay into the timeline, and there it is there. You can actually see the POI points. So that's pretty cool.
yeah, these
You can,
NMD,
Slide a
they
clip.
may want to. They
And you can
may.
also see we've,
One of the things they may want to
remembered
do
our
is just try
speed
to
changes, but
split,
you can
maybe
clear the
split
speed
the
changes on
announcements
keyboard
up.
pretty nicely.
Maybe do
So
one
it's
for the
pretty cool.
broadcast stuff, and then one doing for the
And there's
camera
our edit
updates.
timeline. And that's
Like
just
camera
the whole
Resolve.
replay dumped into the timeline. Oh, and the other thing too, you can actually go and add transitions if you want. You can do them in the replay, of course.
But oh,
It's all pretty nice. You can trim. So it's great.
this
Now,
is
if you wanted to then post that on social media, you can just do a quick export, and there you go. So that's all there is to doing replays, and it's all built into the A10 Mini Extreme G2.
that's still.
So I think this Thunderbolt connection will make a lot of new ideas possible. You know, it's a switcher that lets DaVinci Resolve become like the world's best media player. But it uses the DeckLink API, so any software could do this, and there's a lot of software out there that already works with DeckLink. So I think this new model of A10 Mini Extreme does everything people needed. It has better buttons. It's got a better audio mixer. It's got the preview bus with the transition fader. It's got XLR audio connections and a headphone socket.
Yo,
And it's localized
I'm-
for a whole bunch of
I'm gonna
languages.
get my
It's pretty
hand-
cool. There's a very
look,
powerful switcher.
I'm
but
gonna
it's
get my
also
hands
easy
on
to
it
use, but it's got
somehow.
broadcast features.
I'll
So the new
talk to some
8-to-mini
of my.
Extreme ISO G2 will be priced at
Ooh,
1995.
look,
That's a little bit more
that's
than
a
the
lot of
model it
money,
replaces, but it's
$2,000.
massively more powerful.
But
And that's
for
what
what
people
it
really
can
asked us to do. They
do,
wanted a really much more
this
high-end
is
solution with the
this is
larger
dope.
A2 Mini. Okay, so I might just move these monitors together, and I might actually put the audio thing back up on the thing and create some space here. So we expect it to ship in June or July. It's going to be an incredible upgrade for current A2 Mini customers. It easily fits into their
Yeah,
high-end
no,
studios.
I'm
And adds a whole lot
very
of new
impressed by
capacity.
that.
So I think it's going to be really good. Okay, so now let's talk about streaming. So we've been working really hard on streaming, and we're going to make some changes to our streaming products. Currently, our main streaming coders are called, there's two Blackmagic Web Presenter models. Now, they're great, but they've got kind of a funny name. It's causing a bit of confusion. Originally, when we made these, they were just SDI to webcam converters, and they used software on the computer to do the live streaming. But then we replaced it with a new model that did the streaming directly. They have hardware H.264 and H.265 encoders in them. Plus, they have a nice down converter built in, which means you can pick your standard streaming standard independent of the switcher standard. So even the HD model has a 12G SDI input and a standards converter. So it means you could be running an Ultra HD and streaming in HD, and it's fine. So they're great products, but they have a funny name. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the name.
Totally agree,
So now
Jones.
Blackmagic Web Presenters will be called
Like
Blackmagic Streaming
esports,
Encoders. So we'll have a Blackmagic Streaming Encoder HD
live esports,
and a
podcast. That thing
Blackmagic
is going
Streaming
to
Encoder 4K.
that thing is going to
And then make
sell.
them a lot easier to understand, and they'll be the same price. And we'll have a single Blackmagic streaming software utility that'll run both. And then we have a single streaming utility for all the streaming products. But when it comes to decoding, we have a different problem.
Yeah, no,
Our
agree.
current
Like
hardware decoder is
the
called
way
Streaming Bridge.
products are
That
now,
was
the
designed
costing
to allow
is
a direct streaming
compared to
link
what they
from an encoder or a
were
camera
like
to SDI. So we'll decode the stream to
5,
SDI.
10 years ago. It's
And then you
just
can
absolutely
connect the
insane.
SDI into a switcher like our ATEM switchers. It also has a reference input that's SDI, so you can connect it to the switcher output, and then the switcher output would send tally and talkback and camera control back up the stream to the camera. So that's very cool. And our remote streaming cameras can get a tally when they're on air. I mean, you imagine how nice that is. Even though these streams on air, when the camera is actually on air, on the receive side in the switcher, it sends that tally back to the camera no matter where it is in the world. It's pretty cool. So then also with the control, the camera operator can color match the remote streaming camera. So it's really cool. I mean, the guys in the control room can even do iris and focus. So it's pretty cool. But one of the things we couldn't do is with the streaming bridge is that, well, there's a bunch of things we can't do with the streaming bridge that I'm about to show you. So we need a new hardware decoder, and we built that, and it's called Blackmagic Streaming Decoder 4K. It's also nice because it's a rack mount design. It's 1/3 rack width, and it can decode both H.264 and H.265. The old one could only do H.264. And it also now works in HD or Ultra HD. So let me show you. I'll bring it out.
So they finally have a 4K streaming device,
Over here.
which is dope.
Looks kind of cool there.
But I think a lot of people are looking.
Blackmagic Streaming Encoder. So let's check out the back.
To me, it's really to me the big thing with the streaming things is more of the software, because I think a lot of people are going to be looking at, in terms of streaming, most cameras have the ability to stream themselves, and if you're going to go in,
HDMI can do Ultra HD. Then we have a SDI reference input, and that's SDI because we want to get the program output of the switcher, because that then means this encoder can get the talk, tally, and camera
but it's really the software side. Like this is dope, but
then it's embedded into the
there needs to be
SDI
like software like
output on the streaming encoder side.
StreamYards, like what I'm using right now, have sort of a setup like this where it's easy to set up, do presentations and things like that.
Basically, what it means is you can take
that to me is what they really need, is work on
send it to a whole bunch of cameras.
to work some software side streaming.
Because all the camera numbers are actually transmitted up. So you select the camera number on the cameras. But a lot of Blackmagic cameras also have streaming built in and a color corrector. So if you're streaming directly from a camera to here, that'll also work. But in this case, you don't need the encoder because it's actually built into the camera. So let's bring it around and show the front. So I won't demo it because it works exactly the same as the ATEM streaming bridge. You can even create an XML file from here and send it up to the encoder with all the settings or the camera. And that can be loaded into the encoder or the camera to automatically configure the settings to send the stream here. So it all works exactly the same as the ATEM streaming bridge, but this model is Ultra HD and rack mount. So I think it'll really help when setting up studios and control rooms, particularly centralized control rooms. So the Blackmagic Streaming Decoder 4K we priced at $675.
Okay.
It's almost complete, and it should be shipping in about in a month or two. But the good thing is it's got the power to do some of the new things we want to do, and one of those things is global streaming. So let me head down the other end where the computer is, and I can show you that.
So
one of the problems we had with the streaming decoder, doing it directly, is your internet connection. You have to have a fixed IP address for each decoder. You have to have special internet setups. and it's not really easy for most people. So to fix this problem, what we've done is we've added streaming into Blackmagic Cloud. Now, Blackmagic Cloud lets you manage all your streams in a single place, and all the streaming products just log into Blackmagic Cloud, which is super easy.
This
so
is
it's very easy to set up. It basically works the
this
same
is
as our video hub
cloud.
routers, so it's really easy
Okay.
to use. We actually started working on this before COVID, but then we got distracted
This
with all
is
that. So let me show you how it works. So if I go over to the
clever
Blackmagic
girl.
Cloud screen over here, actually let me quit out of DaVinci first. I'll put the replay panel away. We'll quit out of DaVinci.
So they're going to use. So
I'll
they're
bring up Blackmagic Cloud.
so they're going to be using the
So
cloud
you can see it there.
for
Now
the
we can
software
see there's a new app called
service.
Stream Routing. This is where we can connect and route live video streams. So there it is there. And it's showing us a new router. So to do anything, I need to create a virtual router. So let's do that. So I'll call it demo. And let's make a small 4x4 router. 4 inputs, 4 outputs. Let's create that. Cool, there we are. Now we have a blank router. Now it's basically the same as a video hub router. You select destinations along the bottom, and then you select the source along the top that you want to route into that destination. Now a video hub router already has its connections because it's a physical device with real SDI connections on it. But with Blackmagic Cloud, you have to define that. You have to set the ins and outs up. So let's do that. So the first thing, let's set up a source as a camera. Now, lots of Blackmagic Design cameras have streaming built in, and we'll be updating them so they can stream directly to Blackmagic Cloud. But let's edit a source button first. So we'll click on 1 there. We'll give it a name. We'll call it camera 1. And we can also assign it an icon. So let's we'll make it a Pyxis. There it is. And we can also assign it to somebody. But let's
We're going to make it a Pyxis. Let's make a Pyxis. Why in the world would we make it a Pyxis?
So that's all there really is to it. Now we need to have a camera that we can log into Blackmagic Cloud as a source. So let's do that. And I've got a Pyxis here. So if I can bring that up here.
We got a Pyxis right here.
There you go there. Now to save time, I've already logged into Blackmagic Cloud and I've got a wide Ethernet cable on this one. So I just need to go into the streaming menu and set the source. So let's do that. So I go into the streaming menu. I don't know if you can get a close up of that.
Yeah, I'm like, yo,
camera 1.
Yo, oh come on, Grant. This is cruel. This is cruel. Yo, I'm
just turned it off. There it goes.
Yeah, Shaquille and David, I'm with you. No, he's teasing. No, stop teasing us, man. Come on, give us the camera.
I've logged in under myself. But some sources can be assigned to you from other people, and they'll also be in that menu. It means I can invite other people into this stream routing. They just log into their
watch is going to be like, oh, by the way, this isn't our Pyxis 6K. This is actually our Pyxis 12K.
Icons appeared on the top of the source, and that means it's detecting a stream, and that's coming in now. So that's pretty cool. There it is there. So that means we've got one source with a stream coming in. But we need to obviously set up a destination, or we can't route the stream anyway. So we can use a Blackmagic streaming decoder for this as a destination, and this will convert the stream coming out, going out, back to SDI, and that's why I didn't demo the streaming decoder before. Now we've already got one connected, so I'll bring it out. There's the streaming decoder that's actually wired up.
Hey, yo, Fernando.
There it is.
Whoa,
hey man. Blackmagic Cloud. So let's set up a destination for this decoder.
You do you, man.
So we'll click on destination, and we'll call this. This is going into the ATEM, so we'll call it ATEM 1. And what icon can we use? We'll use some kind of switcher icon. That'll do, whatever that is. Pretty good with that. There it is. So now what we need to do is we've got the destination set up. We need to select it on the decoder. And I can do that from the front panel menu. It's in the setup menu. So let me just do that. Just grab it and go into the menu.
Too bad we can't see it, Grant, because there's a giant MacBook in front of us. So
select the source. Set.
I feel like if they were going to do a lot of these products, somebody should have been
listed in the menu as ATEM 1.
Somebody should have been on the side to assist and just sort of pull things
select different sources,
down,
repurpose the decoder
as they cut away.
So I'll set that. I'll go out of the menu. I'll put it back down there. Cool. Oops. Okay. Now all we need to do is route our source to our destination. So I click the destination, which is there, and then I route our source. And you should see the pictures coming through. So just like a router, you just basically select sources and destinations.
But does this...
Pretty easy.
Okay, we can see sources.
Now there's also
cool,
a take button up the top here, so you can use that. if you want to use it. Some people like to use a take button. It doesn't switch obviously as cleanly as a router because it's a H.264 encoded stream, so there's a slight switch over time. So it's not like this is not a live production switcher, but it's really designed for routing your streams around. So
But
you can use a take button because sometimes you can set the next source up and then you want to hit the take because you don't want it to immediately switch, but you can prime it ready to do it. So it's really cool.
I thought this
Now,
was
we've
going to be
done the
something like where you
route
could
and the
do
decoder
go
has
to
the
something like
stream,
YouTube and
and
Twitch.
it
Because I
just
was going to
waits
say if they could do
basically for the
that,
stream to come in and it converts
this
to the
would be
video.
awesome.
So what we can do is we can switch on the ATEM and see the video, which we actually already have coming out. So we can see the video on the monitor, and this camera is coming into Blackmagic Cloud. It's coming back out through the decoder, back into the ATEM over here. So it's pretty cool. Now, let's set up a second camera. And now we have one that's a remote user, and it's up on the roof, actually. So let's click on Source 2. And we'll
I like
call
how
it
he's not
remote
mentioning what camera it is. It's like, well, we got a camera. What is it? What is it, Grant? Stop doing this to us.
And we'll call it, it's also a Pyxis, actually. So we'll.
Oh, it's also a
put them
Pyxis.
But
Also
in
a
this case, we
Pyxis
want
as
to
well.
assign it to someone else. This is not our camera, so we have to assign it. So we assign it to the remote user's Blackmagic Cloud account, then it'll appear in their menu. So we'll assign it to Demo 2, because Demo 1 is what we are, and we'll set that. There it is. Okay, now we need to contact them, and we'll wait for them. They can actually see they're been waiting for
Where
this. So they'll
you
obviously
know
see the stream
Grant
appear.
must. I know
They'll see their
Grant must love
source
doing what he
appear
does.
in their list, and then they'll be able to set the stream up. So let's just wait
I
for them to
definitely
do
know
that.
he must love it.
There it is. So now we have two sources and we can switch between them. And you can see the icons there. They're showing us an external user, and you can see who that is, which is pretty cool. So when you assign a source
So
to
it's this
someone
sort
else,
of like
you don't
weird
see it on
NDI
our camera.
bypass?
It's not in your camera list. It moves over to them because you've assigned it to them. So let's switch to camera 2 from monitor 1 there. So we'll just switch across, and then we'll see the pictures switch over, and we'll see the remote camera, which is actually up on our roof. There it is there. It's looking out across the city. So you can see I can just switch between different streams into the decoder, and the decoder will just input
That is,
what comes out through into the
that
ATEM
is
switcher.
interesting.
So this
That
is
is
a remote
kind of
camera,
that is really
which I
dope.
can manage through Blackmagic Cloud. I think it's coming through 5G or something like that. So that's really cool. Now we also support tally and camera control back through the stream in Blackmagic Cloud. So we can send a tally and camera control back up to the stream, even when it's routed using Blackmagic Cloud. So let's I'll show you how this works. Now all ATEM switches output camera control and tally from their video outputs. It's embedded into the SDI video output. We just connect the SDI.
Yo, I
ATEM
might
SDI
be in
output,
trouble and
to
miss.
the
I
stream
might be
decoder's
in
reference
trouble
input
the
to
way
get
this
that
thing
to go
is
back up the
going.
stream. So I'll do
This
that.
is-
Have I got a cable here somewhere? I put my control panel on top of it. So all I need to do is plug the reference input to the stream decoder into one of the outputs of the ATEM switcher, which is here. There it is. And now, we can switch the stream to camera 1 back again, which is our camera here, so we can see, and I think you've got a shot over there. Now the camera here is already set to camera 1, and I have camera 1 selected on my switcher, so you can see the tally lights on over there, because now that's come on. I don't know if you can get a shot of that. There, if you can get a close-up of that tally light. There, and I think the tally's on the other side. Let me close the menu. There you can see the tally there. And you can also see the stream
Because it's a
status
12K.
coming up there as well.
Because it's a 12K.
Now, if I
a
switch on the
12K
switcher,
camera, Grant.
if I bring up the switcher control, so I can just switch. There you see.
Look, I will admit the cool
So
thing
you
that
see
you
that
could basically
camera
now have NDI.
All
Basically,
through Blackmagic Cloud.
what
It's all
I kind of
automatic.
was hoping that they would do
we can also
update,
do camera
but it
control.
looks like you
So if
got
I
to
go
use
to the
that
camera menu,
streamer thing set up.
I can adjust it.
But you can have essentially like an NDI control setup where you can have remote camera
Pretty cool. I can
video
actually do
sources, which
colour.
is dope. Like, look, all the live
Pretty nuts
events and
colours.
broadcast stuff is very interesting, but
I'll reset it.
we need this camera, man.
It's pretty nice. The tally and the camera control are all output from the switcher. They're connected to the stream decoder. The control and everything's passed up through Blackmagic Cloud, back down through, back up to the source, which is the camera here. So the Pyxis camera here gets its tally and control information via this link. It's pretty cool. Now we've been using Blackmagic Stream decoder here. But if you need to get a stream to a broadcaster quickly, you won't really have time to get them to a hardware decoder. So we actually have a software solution as well. We have an app called DaVinci Resolve, DaVinci Remote Monitor. And normally it allows clients to watch a DaVinci color correction, like a remote grade, something actually we developed during COVID so that clients could watch the grade independently of the colorist. Now we've added Blackmagic Cloud support to it, so it can receive a live stream from Blackmagic Cloud. So let's set that up. Minimize this. Now we don't really need to do much. I mean, obviously if it's logged in as us, we can see all these destinations, but let's set one anyway. So we go in here, we'll set a monitor looking icon, and we'll call it DaVinci Monitor, and that looks pretty good. So we'll set that. There it is. And now we can go into the DaVinci Remote Monitor app, and we can log in. Well, actually, it's already logged in, so we can just select the destination. So let's select it here. Wait to start up. It's logging into Blackmagic Cloud. And there we are, and there's our demos. That's the one we just created. So we'll select that and join. Now we actually need to route a source into it. So let's route camera 1 into that. So then we can see that camera 1 coming through in the DaVinci Remote Monitor, which is this camera here. If a broadcaster needs to get really running really fast, they can download this app, and there it is there. They can download this app, they can run it on a Mac or a PC, and then they can go to full screen mode to get a good quality video output that they can convert to SDI. It's really simple and allows them to get up and running really quickly. It doesn't obviously have tally and camera control support because it's just a software app, but a broadcaster can get, they can install dedicated hardware for streaming later. So it's cool.
That's dope. That's
now,
dope.
what happens if you need to add cameras quickly? So we also have an app called Blackmagic Camera that works on iPhone and Android, and it gives you a digital film controls on a phone. It's basically our software, our camera software on a phone. So it's pretty cool. It runs, even the biggest cameras run the same software now on a phone. It's been very popular. Now we've added Blackmagic Cloud streaming support. So you can now send a live stream from an iPhone or an Android phone into Blackmagic Cloud. So let me show you how that works. So let's set up another source. I'll need to get someone to bring over an iPhone for me. I'll set up a third source
man,
here.
this is...
And we've probably got some looking fun.
Yeah,
there.
Wait, look, this is dope though. I
we'll
really am happy with Blackmagic and how they are. They're really integrating all their hardware and software together and how it's working together. Like
so
they're really
the Blackmagic,
taking the most of Blackmagic Cloud with DaVinci Resolve
so I've got an iPhone here
and working that into like their ATA minis.
We'll go to Blackmagic Camera. All right. Now I can set up the stream here on this panel, and I can select on here if you can see that. I can select the phone demo there.
So now people
the
can.
I just set up.
So you can set up a remote video for your camera too,
which is
dope.
There. Now we're live streaming around the studio. And of course, it works this way. Well, I don't think it does it when you've got the stream on. Turn the stream off. I'm going to do it that way. Or this way. Turn the stream back on. There I am. So
Jones, I can't blame him because the virtual world is the new phase for many. The ability to live stream from your phone is everything for
and I can see I've got my stream up. If we go back to the screen, you can see the
totally
icons
agree.
The stream's there now.
The only thing I would say is like right now I haven't
that
seen
through to the
anything to outsource it to like a social media platform.
There it is. So now it's coming through the ATEM. You can see it. There it is.
But it is dope that you can send all this stuff out,
cool.
and you can even route it to like ATA minis.
That's really nice. Now we're decoding the live stream from the phone through the decoder. It's streaming out through mobile data. It's coming back around, which means you can.
This is all really cool, but I'm really eager to see how people are going to.
The app.
I'm really curious to see how people are going to deal with
and
this,
then they can just log
and how they're going to utilize
with their own personal
all
Blackmagic Cloud
this
ID. They'll see that source you've assigned them, and they can start the stream.
Data management.
And they'll even get a tally when the source is used on air, which is really cool. I don't know if you can see that there. There's actually a tally indicator there.
Let's see if there's any update on B&H.
See that at the top of the screen. So you can they can even tell when they're on air. It's all so easy. So let's route back to the Pyxis. Pretty cool. So I think this stream routing in Blackmagic Cloud will be really amazing. You don't have to really worry about complicated
on
internet
B&H
connections.
either.
You don't have to worry about weird streaming settings. You just log into Blackmagic Cloud and you start the streaming, and you can send all your streams through the Blackmagic Cloud routing
Exactly,
in here.
Julian,
It's really
exactly.
easy, and it lets the camera operator stream to
I
multiple
got, all of
broadcasters
this is
because
really
you
cool,
can
but the
distribute the
question is,
stream from one source
can
to
you
multiple
utilize
destinations.
this on
And you can build a
Twitch,
central control room with
YouTube,
multiple stream decoders coming
Instagram?
in
Like,
from
if you
different
could do all of
locations,
this, and then you
and the
could
remote
set up
cameras at
a
different
multicam
sites
where you go to
can
Twitch,
come into that
YouTube,
single
even go to
studio.
do something
You don't
where
need
you
to send
can do
broadcast trucks
IG
out on sites. It's much cheaper.
simultaneously.
I think it's a really
This
nice
would be
solution.
dope.
Imagine doing live production from your own office with remote cameras in various locations. It'd be so relaxing. It'd be quite nice. So we're about to start testing this publicly. So it's not quite available yet, but it should be available very soon. We really need to do a lot of public testing on this to make sure everything's working. It has to be really reliable. I mean, it's a broadcast solution.
Yeah.
So we currently have all this running in HD. We'll think we're going to do Ultra HD later. As far as cost, we expect it'll be about probably $2 a destination per month, roughly. We'll probably know a bit more soon.
That's
But the good thing is you can have as many sources as you like, which means you can have a lot of cameras in different venues, each with their own source defined in here. It won't
$2
cost
a
any extra.
destination a month.
You just have to pay for the destinations, which are your streaming bridges into your routers or whatever
Yo,
you do.
they're
So we'll
about
have a better
Blackmagic
idea of
is
the
about to
exact price
destroy all these
But I
streaming
think it's a very
services.
low-cost way of doing it when you think about it.
$2
You save a lot of money.
$2
I really can't wait to roll this out
above per
publicly. I think it'll be really
destination.
cool. It's a lot of fun to use,
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I'll take that.
And I think it's going to be so useful for live production. So
Again,
the DaVinci
if
Resolve
they add a
monitoring
social-
app will also be available to download soon. If you need to receive a stream quickly, then you can just download it. It'll accept streams from Blackmagic Cloud in H.264 and H.265, and it has also the full screen mode, which I can show you quickly here. So that'll fade away, and then you'll be able to.
Dude, I
run
wish
full
there was
screen.
an
Yeah,
NDA
so
I
you can
could
just
break.
Convert that out.
I really
The
do
video, and
wish.
then
I
basically you've got
really
yourself a
don't.
hub with, a software
Like,
decoder that you can go to air with.
They are
and a
really close to
broadcast
the
can get up
chest
and
about
running
everything.
instantly.
I
So
know
think it's
nothing.
cool.
The only reason
Now,
why I know what I know is because
we'll
of those
release the,
photos that got leaked.
Blackmagic Cloud.
I wish there was an
streaming,
NDA I could break.
Sorry, we'll release this update when the Blackmagic Cloud streaming is available. So as far as the Blackmagic camera app, that'll also be updated when Blackmagic Cloud ships. It'll stream to it's the same UI as other cameras. We also have some other nice features in there, plus we're adding some more localization, like we're adding Ukrainian, Turkish, and Polish, and other supported languages in there, so that'll be nice. We do posts on Facebook and X, so when all these things actually go out, we'll post on that, so just keep tracking us on that, and you'll know when things go out. But that's not all we've done. This is pretty cool, but that's not the only thing we've done. We've also been working on doing live production in the cloud. So we have a new ATEM Constellation switcher in the cloud. It's called ATEM Cloud Constellation HD4. It's actually a switch that's completely in the cloud, so you can rent it when you need a virtual live production studio. It has most of the ATEM Constellation features. So I'll run through the specs of it before I show you. It's basically
So now we have
a
virtual switcher.
It's got 4 streaming inputs. They can be H.265 or H.264. Each input has a standards converter on it. We've got a lot of the features of proper constellations. So the good thing about the standards converter, you don't have to worry about what video standards coming in. It just accepts it. It's also got 3 streaming outputs. So it's got 3 encoding stages in it. Now, they look like standard ATEM outputs from the point of view of how you use it, but they're encoded streams. Now, you really need 3 outputs. I think 1 or 2 outputs isn't enough. You need an output for your program video, obviously, but you need another output for your multi-view. But a third output's great for camera monitoring. When you're adjusting the color and iris on cameras, you need to kind of have a dedicated output for that. That's why you need 3 outputs. And
that is really dope.
Yeah, you can see the camera you're adjusting independent of the program view. Now, the ATEM Cloud Constellation also supports Taulian camera control. It has a DVE in it, and the multi-view actually can show up to 16 views. It's got 4 upstream advanced chroma keyers and 2 downstream keyers. It's got a lot. It's actually got too many keyers for the number of inputs, really, but it's got a lot of features. Now, ATEM software control will be updated to support it. So later we should be able to have ATEM Cloud constellations.
Exactly, but exactly, man, exactly.
We think the design
they saw Red's post about those broadcast extension adapters and said, "Hold on, beer."
Other parts of the ecosystem like the ATEM advanced panels. We'd like those to be able to log into Blackmagic Cloud, so you could use an advanced panel. But the ATEM software control works with the micro panels, so you could actually use the micro panels with the ATEM software control, and the ATEM software control drives the switcher. So I think it'll be pretty cool. So anyway, let's set up a switcher. Now, first we need to make some space here. I've got to clear.
I have no idea, man. I have no idea.
I'll leave that there, but I'll leave that there. So, okay. So what we need to do is now I need to show you how this works. So I need to go into the ATEM Cloud Constellation app. So if I go back to Blackmagic Cloud, you can see this is where you define a switcher. So if I go into Blackmagic Cloud, as this is still pre-release, I need the guys to buy a switcher for me. So if the guys,
I hope that's the case. Otherwise, we're not going to see Grant, man.
There it is. So it's quite
New
simple.
York,
There's not really
I
much to
hope
do in
that's
here,
what they're
but it does
doing,
appear in the
because we're
stream
gonna
routing.
lose
So let's go
Grant
back to the stream
at some
routing.
point of the stream.
There it is. It's appeared. I'll shorten my window a little bit to let it line wrap all nice and good. So you can see it's added 4 destinations, and they're the switcher inputs over here. And it's also added 3 sources, and they're actually the switcher outputs. You can see them there. So you can route these.
Oh,
So let's
dear
route
God.
the switcher outputs to our monitor.
I might
And
actually
then
not
the
get through
decoder
to the
can
cameras.
get the program out. So we'll get the
Let's hope.
decoder,
Let's hope now, man.
which is there, and we'll take our program out, which has got nothing on it for the moment.
Yo,
And then
10-minute
we'll also take
10-minute break
the,
between the
the
presentation.
multi-view to the DaVinci monitor.
I
up
agree
here.
with you,
So let's do
Trevor.
that.
No, we need a
So we
10-minute
can go
break.
to the DaVinci monitor up, which is there.
We need a bio
And
break.
take our multi-view. And we'll see that appear. And we should see something. We haven't got any sources in yet, but there it is there.
I gotta admit though, all this stuff is
Okay, now
really
let's
cool.
connect some cameras.
But
So what we'll do is we'll go to input 1.
but
and
you
we'll switch
can
camera
tell.
1.
But look, to be fair, you can really
go to
tell
input 2,
they're really
camera
excited
2,
about this
input 3,
cloud
switch camera
integration
3.
with
We could even
the
actually take
ATEM and
input
the
4,
streaming this.
switch that
But
to the same camera.
we all know what we're here
There you
for.
go. So I've got all my cameras.
So listen,
Everything's there. There's the iPhone. And then there's the camera on the roof. And there's our camera.
you missed some
just here.
things. The thing
And
that
we
we're
got
all
a
waiting
third.
for, you
can
have
see
not
we've got
missed,
all this,
man.
we've got all our
But thank you
sources.
for
Now
joining
we
the
just need
channel
control.
again.
Now
I
we
really
use the
appreciate it.
ATEM
And by the
software
way, I
control
know
for
there's
that.
65
bring
of you
up that
guys
software
that are
control.
on here right now, still
There it
with
is down
me.
there.
Dude, I want to
And
thank
that's
every
actually-
single
yeah,
one
that
of you
plugs
guys. I
into
know
the
this
cloud constellation.
this is going
There it
even
is.
longer than
Now,
what
this is a
I
real switcher. If
anticipated
you've
this
used
to
any
be.
ATEM switcher, then this
But
is very
thank you
similar.
guys
It's
so
not
much
exactly the same, but
for
it's
sticking
close.
it out with
We have
me.
palettes for all the different features down the side here, transitions and wipes, you know, the DVE, it's all there. And I can switch around the program bus, so I can switch. In fact, if I bring up my monitoring app here, I could obviously use 2 decoders, but this will work. So as I switch my different
But
sources,
yeah, as I was mentioning, like
see
you
my
look,
cameras
as
there.
much as this is,
That's
I
pretty
know
cool.
this is not the
And I can
thing that
also
we've
go and
all
do a cut,
been wanting to
because I've
see.
got a preview bus.
You can at least tell
I can
they're
do a
they're
transition there.
really
Pretty
excited
cool.
about all this
And
cloud
there's the manual transitions on the T-bar.
software
And also you'll
integrations
notice
that
on
they've
the, you can pick up
spent
the
the
camera
last
there,
couple years.
you'll notice that I've also got the tally coming back from the switcher. So that works as well. The cloud constellation sending tally back to all the sources. So I also have a hardware ATEM micro panel, which I'll bring out. There it is there. There's that. Now that's talking to the ATEM software control. So I got a really nice hardware control panel. So let's do some transitions. So there's the cut and there's the auto. So you can see it if you look at the program out. So we can cut to the program out and you can see, actually we've got a multi-view on it as well. That's cool. See it there. Actually, I'll bring this to the foreground and do it. So you got a full multi-view. And I can also use the fader. So it's so cool. It works just like a normal switcher. Now we have a lower third in the media pool. So let's then turn on the downstream keyer. I'll auto that. There it is there. You can even fade that on and off.
We're
using
all
the,
look, you
auto
you
control.
said it, you said it right there, man.
It's so
Shake
cool.
Shaquille,
Now all
you
the
said
other
it, you
features
said
are
it, man.
available, such as
Right.
media. I can bring,
Will-
bring this to the foreground and show you.
We're do-
So this is where I'm
I
load
hear
my
you,
media
man.
in here. So I've got the 2 media players. I've also got a full fairlight audio mixer in here. So you can see that's there. There's the audio coming in. I actually don't have any audio turned on. I can do that. I've also got all
Wow,
the,
wow.
the
Eh.
effects stuff as well. That's all in there. So it's pretty cool. You get the effects on all the inputs. So it's pretty
Thank
nice.
you,
And
Xavier.
also it does
Again,
camera
thank
control,
you
so I can
guys.
go
Thanks
across here to the camera
for
control.
continuing to do this.
And now I can control my cameras. We'll do this one here.
But yeah, it's like now you could basically
there.
do full on
Hold up, cut to
control,
camera 1.
full on
So you can see it. there.
streaming data, Ethernet
Right.
controls of multicam just completely from the
camera
cloud,
control.
which is insane.
Which is nice. I can do the colors. Which is
Yeah,
colors.
no, they all do. I
and
I
of
didn't
course,
think
if
there
you
would
have
just
the
be this much
camera
stuff.
control, the micro camera panel, then you can use that as well, because that'll work with ATEM software control. It's all there. So we'll be working on this and rolling it out after a whole lot of testing. We're not exactly sure when it'll ship. Depends how the testing goes, really, but it's got to be reliable. And we'll learn a lot as we start testing, and we'll let let everybody know about the cost at that point, but it should be pretty affordable. But I think it's a very interesting technology. It's really quite a nice solution. Imagine doing an entire live production in a hotel room. You know, you can connect the computer HDMI to a hotel room TV and then run the remote monitor here, full screen on the TV, while you use the ATEM software control on your normal laptop screen. It's like a live production in a laptop. I think it'll be really cool. Okay, so next up, I wanted to talk about DaVinci Resolve 20. It's a really big update
All right.
this year. We have more
So
than
we
like
finally
10 new and improved
all right.
AI tools.
We got another hour.
All of those tools really help with tasks that are mundane,
Resolve
or tasks
20.
that take a long time to do manually. So there's a lot of new features and in the edit and cut pages. You know, we got a bit distracted over the last few years because we're rewriting a lot of code. We had to rewrite all the image processing because there was new types of CPUs with Apple Silicon and ARM coming along.
That's
Plus
the
new types
kitchen
of
sink.
GPU processing, such
Thank
as
you for
Metal.
being here, GP.
So we
But
had to rewrite everything.
yo, he's
But we've
brought
done all
not
that
he
now,
hasn't
which
brought out
means
the
we're free to
Blackmagic
now
kitchen
build
sink.
new
He's brought out
features
the
on top of that.
Blackmagic house.
Yeah, rewriting code
He's
takes
got the
longer,
whole house.
which gives you a better base to build on. Anyway, I'm not going to demo really anything about DaVinci Resolve because I don't have the time, but I do have a video that's been prepared, and so I'll play the video, and then you'll be able to see what's new in DaVinci Resolve. So let's play the video.
All right, let's see what.
DaVinci Resolve 20 contains
we
more
got
than
with 20.
100 new features, including an incredible collection of never-before-seen AI tools designed to speed up every stage of your post-production workflow so you can focus more on the creative
Exactly, the
aspects
whole
of
city.
filmmaking.
They got the whole city.
Let's get started. There are extensive updates to both the cut and edit pages in this release.
All right.
Among the most powerful are the new AI tools. AI IntelliScript automatically generates a timeline based on the original project script. First, transcribe the audio of all the clips you wish to use in your edit.
Okay.
Next, select the clips, right-click, and choose Create New Timeline using IntelliScript. A dialog window will prompt you for the script text file. IntelliScript
Yo!
matches the transcribed clips against the script and generates a
This is
timeline of
oh,
selected
this is
best takes.
exactly what I wanted.
Alternative takes are placed on
Yes.
additional tracks
Oh, this.
and disabled
Oh,
to allow you to review
Oh,
and
I'll
compare
get-
them afterwards.
yo.
IntelliScript doesn't require the
Oh.
dialogue to be the same in every take.
This is
Even
what.
similar
Yo, this
wording will
is
be
this is
matched.
awesome. Like,
And
I
even
know
if
the
you don't
bait.
have a
Okay, you
script,
got
You
me.
can create one by exporting the transcription of the scene's master take.
Yo,
and then using
because
that
one of
as
the things I've
basis
always
for the
loved doing,
IntelliScript
the way I've
timeline.
been doing it is really expedite the process of my
The
editing
audio
of my
transcription
content
engine in
videos. Is
DaVinci Resolve now
create
supports over
is having the
60
scripts
languages, including Hindi,
written out in
Cantonese,
DaVinci Resolve
and even
and then
Maori.
drop it in. But now I can
And
do
the
that.
subtitle track
I can
now
drop it in there
supports
and I can
fusion
edit it,
templates
which is
that animate speech
oh,
as
this
it
is dope.
spoken. After generating captions on the subtitle track, open the effects panel and scroll to the animated fusion titles. Drag an effect onto the subtitle track header and watch the captions pop, slide in, and highlight to grab your viewer's attention as you speak. When adding music to a timeline, it can sometimes be difficult to cut the
Debo,
length
we're
of a
now
music
on
track to the
Resolve
duration
20,
of the
so they're
scene.
showing all the.
The AI music editor will extend or shorten the music track to a specific length based on the intuitive loops and edit points commonly found in
Oh,
music.
that's dope.
First,
Oh,
select the
finally.
clip and go to the inspector's audio tab. Under AI Music Editor, enter your target track length and click Adjust. Or select Live Trim and drag the audio clip
Yes.
to the desired location.
Yes. Oh,
The
this is
music
what I.
editor will intelligently find natural edit points in the track based on the music composition and change its duration without using time compression, expansion,
Oh.
or altering the pitch.
Oh my gosh.
The
Look,
result
we're
will
not getting to the
immediately be
cameras, but
visible on the timeline
every single one
with
of these is
indicators
just like
showing
written.
where the track
So
has been
now you
edited.
can extend it.
Use the
I
version
know
buttons to check
Adobe
out
had
alternative
something like
solutions to the
this,
audio edit.
but now DaVinci Resolve
You can even
has it too,
decompose
and
your
this is
edit
dope.
and use the sections of music separately if you wish.
Oh,
When editing to the beat, you can now right-click and select Show Music Beats to analyze audio clips containing beat-driven music and automatically place markers to indicate beats.
oh.
Use these as visual
What?
indicators for cut points, or drag the snap clips to the beat markers at the nearest frame. The AI audio assistant will
Oh
analyze the
my
audio
gosh.
tracks in your timeline to create a pro-level audio mix. When working on a timeline with audio elements that are not mixed or balanced,
A lot of our bread and butter over the years has been these National Geographic expeditions.
go to the timeline menu and navigate to AI Tools Audio Assistant. A dialog will prompt you for a delivery standard and then take you through the mixing process as the audio assistant organizes your tracks, evens
Oh
out dialogue
God.
levels, adjusts sound
Yo,
effects
sound
and music
mixes.
to the dialogue track,
Oh,
and
sound mixes
automatically
just
creates a
lost.
mastered final
just-
mix.
A lot of our bread and butter over the years has
What?
been these National Geographic expeditions.
Yo,
and this
my
time-
sound
This
guys
is a
are like
perfect tool for editors
my
to
sound
use to
guys are
simplify
like
their audio workflow
pissed right
and
now.
feel more confident in
I
their
know
final
my
mix.
sound guys are pissed.
Use the revolutionary AI voice convert tool to apply a pre-generated voice model to an existing voice recording, retaining its inflections, pitch variation, and emotion. Right-click a dialogue clip and choose Voice Convert to get started. DaVinci
Yeah, no,
Resolve
Jonas,
comes
I was
with
just thinking, I
4
was like,
pre-built
oh my
voice
God,
models,
this is,
but you can always generate your own using sample recordings.
sound mixes,
For
oh,
privacy
my
and
sound
security,
mixers are
this
like,
voice generation and conversion is performed entirely
are
on your
like,
local device,
probably pulling their head
ensuring
right
no
now.
unauthorized uploading and web access, even in cloud-based workflows.
This afternoon, we rigged up the Pyxis on the gimbal.
After rendering, the track will play with a selected model voice.
This afternoon, we rigged up the Pyxis on the gimbal.
Yeah, it's great. This is the most beautiful place I've ever been.
Yeah, it's great. This is the most beautiful place I've ever been.
From sailing the chundering massive waves of the Drake Passage.
From sailing
What?
chundering massive waves of the Drake Passage.
This tool can be used to improve your own voice if recorded in a noisy environment, or for creating perfect ADR using the original actor's own voice, among many other applications. AI Dialogue Matcher matches one piece of dialogue to another.
Yo, the
matching
AI,
tone,
the AI in
level,
Resolve
and
was
room
already
ambience.
insane.
First, select the primary
This
reference
is-
clip,
Look at this bad boy.
more of an ambient sound.
This is a master.
Our target clip is way drier and more intimate.
Getting feedback from trusted partners.
In the clip menu, choose AI Tools, Dialogue Matcher, Capture Dialogue Profile. Click the target clips you wish to match and choose Apply Dialogue
What?
Profile.
Getting feedback from trusted partners.
This is a master cloud story.
Use this tool to match dialogue recorded in different environments, on different devices, or on shoots spanning several days. The Edit and Cut pages now
Aw.
feature a dedicated keyframes palette for easy visualization and editing of keyframe
Shaquille's like, I'm
parameters.
using scratch audio
Switch between
only.
keyframe curves and parameters mode to control keyframe placement, animation
Yeah,
speed,
no,
and
hey,
easing
why we
style.
need a boom block stuff?
Additionally,
Hey,
you can
no, don't
expose
need
the
a boom
keyframe
anymore.
tree
Let's
at the
just go
bottom
ahead.
of the edit page to view all the
Oh,
keyframes
yeah,
of
this
the
AI
currently selected clip on the timeline. When working with vertical timelines, the layouts of
No,
the cut,
this is-
edit,
this
and
is-
color pages will
David, this is
automatically be optimized
insane.
for working
This
with a
is
vertical screen.
ridiculous.
This ensures there is no wasted space in the viewer panel and reduces the need for zooming when working vertically. And if you use an ultra-wide monitor, dual screen operation is now supported to give you faster access to more controls.
That's all right. That's dope.
The AI smooth cut transition is vastly improved and can now handle longer discontinuities for seamless transitions between jump cuts. The new
Cool.
multi-text tool allows you to add and individually format several text layers within a single interface. Create a new text layer by pressing one of the layout icons: point, text box, or circle. Point behaves like a regular text asset with no boundaries. Text
Oh,
box
oh,
allows you
this
to
is-
warp or clip large
Oh,
sections
this
of
is
text
oh
to the
okay.
confines of a text box.
This is now see
And
I
circle
really
will
love
write
this.
the text in a circular fashion.
Oh,
Use the
okay,
tabs at the
cool.
top to navigate the many formatting parameters and design and animate your text exactly as
Julian,
you wish.
usually usually they
Finally,
have the
you can
beta
use the
come
text
out
list
like
to rearrange,
immediately
lock, or
after
remove
the
text
stream is
layers
over.
as
So as soon
needed.
as the stream is over, they have the beta ready for you
The
to
Text Plus
download.
tool has also been updated. to
How
include the
long will
layouts
the
point,
actual full
text
version be
box,
out?
circle, or path style,
Usually it's
meaning you can control
usually
the
it's a couple
layout of your
months.
text graphics with greater flexibility than ever before. When working with PSD
No,
files
that
on
that
the
sound
timeline,
mix was
you can now
was
right-click and
ridiculous.
choose to split the PSD layers in place in order to access and work with the individual layers.
Yeah, man, you got to get that new.
In the
You got to
media
get
pool,
that
you can
GPU,
now
new
import
GPU power.
Blackmagic Cloud folders that have been shared with you across multiple Resolve projects and without the need for a Resolve project library.
No, totally.
These
That
will
text
appear as
that
virtual
text edit
folders
was
and
awesome.
clips until they are used in the project, after which they will be added to the media pool. Unused media will remain virtual. This allows collaborators to share a large repository of media they might use, including reference clips, titles, or sound libraries, and allows you to access and review all your available media while keeping your project media pool focused and organized.
Oh, that's dope. That's
Also
dope.
in the media pool, you can now drag clip thumbnails to sort them in any order you like. First, select the sort order icon in the media pool and choose custom. At the bottom of the list, you can opt to have the thumbnails snap to grid for
Yeah,
tidier media management.
I have the M4
Then,
Max
drag and drop
MacBook
video
Pro,
clips and images
and
around the media
it
pool
handles
as needed.
everything,
You can even
all the
select
different
clips and
effects,
create a
how much I
timeline
stack
based
on
this
it.
custom order.
It handles it. It lags a slightly
cut
bit when
page,
I like
new features
really,
help
really
you
work
edit
it. But
faster
the
and with
M4
greater
Max
precision.
MacBook Pro
You can now drag in the
is
viewer
awesome.
to live overwrite a camera angle directly onto the timeline. With either the sync bin active or when working with source tape in
I mean,
multi-source mode, drag
given other
horizontally
options,
to
I
right
definitely
and
I
at the
prefer
playhead
nodes
position,
central,
or drag
but
down to turn the angle
I
into
totally
a
get it. If
drivable
you
clip.
guys work with layers,
The
if you want
speed
to work with
editor
layers, I
also
totally get
supports
it.
live overwriting with edit keys and the search dial.
Yeah.
The cut page now
Dope.
features a safe trimming mode that will prevent you from accidentally overwriting media at trim points.
Thank you.
Available in the
Thank
timeline
you.
options,
Like
when
that's
trim with
that's
safe edit is
annoying.
enabled,
That's
you can
annoying
drag
when
the
I'm
trim
on the
points
speed
and clips to
editor.
fill gaps in the timeline without fear that you will affect neighboring clips. When you do reach a cut point, your action will be briefly paused by a timer. Keep dragging to override the timer and trim the adjacent clip with purpose. A new voiceover palette lets you quickly record a voiceover track during timeline playback.
Oh,
Activate
that's
in the
dope.
toolbar and use the cue, record, and stop controls to record to a new dedicated voiceover track at the bottom of the timeline or any target audio track.
That is dope.
Additional controls let you choose your recording setup, load and work with a prompt or script, and perform cleanup with the voice isolation, dialogue leveler, and stereo fixer
Oh,
tools.
they're definitely dropping a camera.
The new audio mixer panel
we're
allows
all
you
ready
to
for
easily
it.
balance and adjust your audio tracks. Each channel strip includes a left to right pan slider,
I'll
fader, solo,
look.
and
This
mute
may be
buttons.
showing my.
Click
I
expand
don't
to see
remember
the full
Audio
range of
Desk
audio
Smoking
tracks
Flame.
and check your loudness levels. A new metadata palette allows you to quickly review the camera angle, scene, shot, and take of a clip, as well as its frame rate and resolution.
Okay, that's
Activate
dope.
by clicking the metadata icon next to the search field while the viewer is in source clip or source tape mode. There's also a new dynamic trim mode that you can select in the track ruler header. When the playhead appears yellow, you can slip or slide using the JKL keys on a keyboard or using the edit action and the in and out keys on the speed or replay editors. In the edit page, AI Multicam Smart Switch can automatically switch multicam angles based on the active speaker in a scene. After you have created your multicam clip, which now supports the selection of a single reference audio track, place it on the timeline and enable multicam mode in the source viewer. Click the AI Multicam Smart Switch button and configure your edit preferences. There are two modes.
Yo,
One for when you have a
podcasting
mic
and
on each person,
podcasting
and
just
the
got
second,
so
unique
much
to
easier.
DaVinci Resolve, for when you have only a mixed audio source that is common for all speakers. This tool not only analyzes audio for individual speakers, but can also utilize the video for lip movement to switch angles based on who is currently talking.
Okay. Wow.
In the edit page source viewer,
Wow,
the new
that's
source tape mode allows you to navigate a string out of all the media in the active bin. This allows for much faster review of dailies and quicker rough cut assembly.
Oh, gotcha, Central.
Another new mode allows you to turn the source viewer into a second timeline viewer. This means you can have two timelines open at the same time for comparison and simultaneous editing. The timeline tab will
thank
highlight
God.
the active timeline viewer labels.
I've
Blue
been
for the
wanting
source
this
viewer
for
and red
years.
for the timeline viewer,
I've been
jump
wanting that,
between
trying to
edits
look at
and
two
retain
times
focus
simultaneous
on the correct
for
viewer.
years. I'm so glad that
This
this finally
feature
here.
is even more powerful when working with stacked timelines. With both timelines open at once, you can quickly
Dude,
compare alternative edits and drag and drop media
I'm
between
happy
the
tap
timeline
dancing
panels.
right now underneath my
Conversely,
feet, man.
you can also open
This
source
is
clips
great.
as a timeline, allowing you to view the entire clip length in order to set in and out points or markers, which can be helpful when working with long sources. Audio adjustment or cross-patching can also be handled in the Inspector's File tab Audio Configuration area. The edit page also has a new voiceover feature. Click Record Voiceover in the toolbar and indicate the file name, audio input, and destination track in the dialog. You can also use the Options menu to specify additional parameters, like input monitoring and adding a countdown in the viewer. When ready, click the microphone icon to start recording. The Fusion page introduces several major updates, with the first one being the introduction of a compositing toolset for deep images.
What?
A deep image is an EXR file that contains multiple color, opacity, and depth samples per pixel. This allows for extremely accurate and flexible depth-based compositing. You can view deep images in the Fusion viewer as normal, or you can view them in Fusion's 3D environment by using the Deep to Points node. Deep images can be manipulated with a range of new nodes, allowing you to merge, transform, resize, crop, recolor, and generate holdouts. However, unlike a 2D node, these nodes accurately account for the depth contained in each deep image. For example, the demerge tool combines pixels based on their depth samples, so there's no need to arrange sources in layer order.
Oh my gosh.
Where you'd normally have to composite one image over another, you can now composite one image inside of the other. Deep image support in Fusion also allows you to render deep images directly from Fusion's 3D environment.
It's time to get a new Mac. This gonna be the Mac Studio, M4 Mac Studios are going to be going like
hotcakes. Fusion has now
hotcakes.
implemented support for multi-layer images across all nodes. This means Fusion can read multi-layer EXRs or Photoshop files preview the layers in the viewer, and access and manipulate any layer in any node.
They got a
The main way
Fusion
to
now
interact
can be
with
used for
layers is through the
Photoshop.
Layers subcategory on the selected node settings tab.
Wow,
Here,
that could
you can
open
use
up
the process
some
layers
of
dropdown
LiDAR's
to choose
video
which
editing.
layers receive the output of the active node.
Yo, that's right, John. I didn't think
The
about
input
that.
layer
This is
dropdown
insane.
lets you choose which input layers to process. By default, this will match your process layers selection, but you can also choose a single input layer. This powerful workflow allows
Yo,
you to
I'm with
access
you, man.
layers
It's time
at
to
any
learn.
point
It's
in the
time to learn about
composition
deep
to adjust your
images.
image, or to combine layers to build a new layer or even a final composite. Fusion now natively supports EXRs that include cryptomats. Cryptomats define all aspects of a CG render, allowing you to efficiently isolate specific assets, objects, or materials and manipulate them independently. The new
Man.
vector warping toolset brings a range of tools that can be used for digital makeup, precise mapping of images onto complex dynamic surfaces, motion vector-based noise reduction, and other creative vector warp-based effects. Fusion now has an enhanced dome light tool, allowing you to light your Fusion 3D scenes with 360 HDR eyes. The VR 360 tools have been extended to now support VR 180. Not only can you adjust VR 180 images with tools like spherical stabilizer, lat-long patcher, and panomap, you can now also render 3D scenes to VR 180 using a spherical camera and render.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I've
In
always
addition
been
to these major
intimidated
updates,
and not
Fusion has received various quality of life
trying
updates,
Fusion,
including
but seeing
user-selectable
this,
start frames for
it's making me
compositions,
want
the
to
ability
try
to view a
Fusion,
clip's active color grade
which
through
says a
the
lot
layout node,
about
and
how
faster
far
GPU
this
acceleration
whole
for various tools.
program has come.
The color page has seen substantial upgrades in its existing tools. In the Color Warper, the new Chroma Warp lets you create natural looks using an intuitive warp interface. Use the normal stroke mode to select the color in the viewer and drag to simultaneously adjust its hue and saturation.
Oh, that's
Use
dope.
point-to-point mode for greater precision. Isolate specific color ranges and shift them as needed.
Oh, this is dope.
Add pinpoints to isolate regions you do not want to affect. And use the parameters in the sidebar to further refine your selection. AI Magic Mask has been completely updated with an all-new process that produces far more accurate tracks and now operates within a single mode, allowing you to select people and objects faster and with greater results than ever before.
Oh, that's good.
Use
I'm
points
glad
to
I don't
make
have to switch.
selections, and the paint tools to include or exclude regions of the image. Use the transport controls at the top to analyze and track the selections, and then use the mask finesse parameters to refine the resulting matte. If desired, the legacy object mask modes remain available in the palette options.
Oh, that's cool. At least we get
Dramatic
to keep...
improvements to the AI depth map effect means you can now get much quicker scene analysis and more practical mattes. As usual, after application, you have the ability to adjust the resulting matte and isolate specific depths for grading.
Gotcha.
The legacy depth map tool is still available by setting the quality parameter to faster. When using the Resolve Warper effect, the new Curves Warp mode allows you to create a custom
that magic mask.
It's
like now we can just hit dots and it's just like, all right, we got you. We know what you want.
When working in high dynamic range formats, you now have the ability to
Hey
generate
man,
HDR
look,
level
if
PDF
this inspires you to go out and film, go. Then it's doing its job.
Have been made
Definitely
to the
do
remote
that.
monitoring feature. You can now opt to display power windows and other overlays while remote streaming. This option has been designed for colorists or their clients who might be working on a system in a remote location and need to see overlays on
this
their local monitor.
definitely that, especially when it was the stuff in
Additionally,
Fusion.
you're now
I
able to
totally agree
remotely
with you, Rob.
stream H.265.422, and remote monitoring is now available on DaVinci Resolve for Mac. DaVinci Resolve 20 supports ACES 2.0, an improvement over previous versions, which offers more neutral and accurate output transforms, enhanced gamut mapping, and better HDR support.
Awesome.
And addresses earlier issues like hue skews and workflow complexity. And the Samsung Log color space has been added to the list of color management operations to give you greater control over the extended dynamic range recorded on the new S25. The Fairlight page has many great new additions and feature upgrades. Automation improvements now allow either global behavior or per-channel automation mode switching, giving you greater flexibility and speed during a mix. You can now set some channels to be in snap or latch mode, and others in trim or the new trim read mode, all in the same pass. Trim read lets you trim levels up or down without writing automation in order to try different levels before committing your changes. Right-click the track automation button on a channel to choose a different mode, or use the default global option to follow the designated settings in the automation toolbar. The new AI IntelliCut provides powerful clip-based audio processing to handle tedious audio tasks in seconds. The remove silence feature analyzes your audio clips for low level or silent areas
Yes.
and automatically removes
Oh my
those
God,
sections
yes.
for a cleaner audio track.
Yes,
To find
thank
a
you.
range in the timeline, right-click an audio clip and choose Remove Silence to instantly see the detected silent sections in the clip. In the dialog window, adjust the decibel threshold and other handles as needed. Use the checkbox at the bottom to add automatic fades to each edit.
This is dope.
The more fun you can make it, the better your story will be.
Checkerboard to new tracks splits a dialogue source clip to separate
Is this?
tracks for
But
each
is this?
speaker,
Is
allowing
this only in
individual mix and
Fairlight,
processing
or
control.
is this on the
It's an
edit page
essential
as well?
step for
I mean,
post-dialogue
it's just a
editing and
click
mixing.
over, but it would be
Just
really
right-click
dope
on a
if this
selection of clips,
if this
choose
is
AI
also
tools,
in the
then
edit
checkerboard to new
page.
tracks. The clips are analyzed and then split into individual tracks ready for mixing.
No, man,
leaving the
this whole
original
thing is
clips
amazing.
muted.
Yeah, I totally agree, man.
If your scene needs dialogue
Yeah, no,
replacement,
extremely
IntelliCut
useful.
can create an ADR
Because
list from
I
the
tend to
dialogue.
have times where I'll have long
Select your clips
pauses
in the
where I'm
timeline, right-click on AI
redoing
tools,
my
then
dialogue
choose
or my
Create
talking points.
ADR cues.
So having
You
this
can
where it
opt
could
to
just
run
go and
speaker
go,
identification when working with an
because
audio clip
instead
that
of going
features
to the
multiple
transcript to
speakers.
remove the syllables, because sometimes
Then
it
open the ADR panel
pulls
to see
parts
your
that I
new cue
didn't
list
want.
and update the character names
So
in the
I'm glad they
ADR
do this.
setup panel. Fairlight now includes two new clip processing options, EQ Matcher and Level Matcher, both found in the main clip menu or the timeline's clip operations context menu. These clip operations let you adjust a target clip's audio to match a reference clip's level or tonal spectrum. Create an EQ or level profile from a clip and apply it to another clip as a real-time process. You can even EQ match dynamically, so it is automated across your clip to maintain a tonal match. And the results of the level matcher help you seamlessly intercut clip sections.
So now
What?
it's time
You can now
to
create
travel
custom
for weeks
effects
on
chains
end,
with your
land in
favorite
a
plugins and operations with the new Chain Effects plugin.
You-
Add up to 6 effects in
oh,
a chain, customize
yo,
settings, and save
one
the
of my
preset.
one of my
You
good
can even
friends is
combine
going to
chain
be
effects plugins for
so
longer chains in the chain effects
is going to be
slot.
so happy
Over
with
in the
this.
inspector, you'll find
One of
the
my friends is
improved
going to be
clip
so
EQ with
happy.
6 bands on the cut, edit, and Fairlight pages. This allows for more
I think it
tonal
is on the
control
other
at the
page. I
clip
film
level
corporate
and
interviews, and this
matches
is
the
going to be
track
amazing for
EQ
me.
in the
It's going to
mixer.
make no,
So
it's
now
going to
you
make
can
everything
easily
so
copy
much
and paste
easier.
settings between the clip, track, and EQ plugin for more consistent,
Remove silence for
flexible, and
YouTubers will be
precise
great. The mere
control.
fact that it gives a threshold of phase
These
makes it
final
possible.
updates affect general
Exactly.
DaVinci Resolve operation.
This is
When
because
a
the
new
only way you
project
could
is
do the
created in
silence
the
sort of an
project
AI
manager,
way
you will now
before
be
was
prompted
during
to
the
assign a
auto
location
transcript,
for your
and it
internally
would just
generated
a lot of
project
times it
name.
would just remove
This
too
means that
much
files created
that I
in
wanted.
DaVinci Resolve, like voiceovers and voice conversions, will automatically be stored in the same project media folder. The Resolve Extras Download Manager allows you to selectively download gigabytes of various AI models and other feature add-ons. Currently, this includes the voice trainer and an extended language support model. More options will be added for downloading in the future. You can now assign custom presets to the Quick Export dialog. In the Deliver page, go to the Render Settings options, find the custom
Absolute,
preset,
yeah,
and
word.
choose Add to
DaVinci
Quick
is now
Export.
the most
This
amazing
preset will
in
now
Elite.
appear in the Quick
I think
Export
it's
dialog of the
DaVinci
Cut, Edit, and
at
Color
20.
pages, allowing
DaVinci
you
is
to perform
now
quick
to me
renders without the need of
clearly
the render queue.
#1 in
As
Elite.
usual, DaVinci
Without
Resolve
question.
supports an ever-growing list of codecs and deliverable
However, I'll say
workflows.
this, man, it's
This
going to be a
includes
lot.
support for spatial video encoding,
Hold on.
decoding Blackmagic Raw using the latest SDK 4.5, and the
Oh,
new
that's
URSA
dope.
Cine immersive clips.
That's
Additionally,
dope.
you are now able to remotely stream H.265 422 from macOS systems and those using NVIDIA
Cool. But what I was
Blackwell
going to say is it's going to still get people to
Many of
move off
DaVinci
of like
Resolve's
things like
beloved
Final
tools
Cut
have
and
been
Adobe
significantly
because
enhanced
they
in
got
this
so many
version.
clients
Superscale now features 3
files
times and 4
stored
times
up there.
enhanced upscaling,
Transitioning from
ensuring
one
the highest
a whole new
visual
into
quality
leads.
of all the
It's
media
a
in the
hassle.
project, regardless of source resolution. In the preferences, the new cache management section allows you to automate the handling
Yeah,
of
man,
old
exactly.
cached files and to configure audio and source clips as multi-mono upon import. Finally, we also want to mention 2 new features coming very soon. With the
Okay.
recent release of the Blackmagic URSA Cine immersive camera, new tools and parameters have been developed throughout DaVinci Resolve to support Apple immersive workflows, including support for spatial audio. This means you'll be able to ingest, edit, grade, mix, and professionally deliver
That's
media
dope.
for the Apple Vision Pro.
Ooh, that's dope.
The AI set extender generates new visual content in a scene based on a simple text prompt. This generative process will automatically fill in missing regions of a frame, creating a finished environment in shots with blanking, cropping, and limited angles.
What?
You can also indicate a custom region to create a new background behind a selected foreground object. The AI set extender will be a Blackmagic cloud service with details to be made available later this year. We hope you enjoy
Oh.
using these new features in DaVinci Resolve 20. Thank you for watching.
Oh my gosh.
As you can see, this
That
is a
last
really
one
big
was
release,
nuts.
and there's even more features than this. So DaVinci Resolve 20 is free to download. The paid version of DaVinci Resolve Studio is also free. We'll probably eventually charge some kind of upgrade for this, but for the moment, we're still doing the DaVinci Resolve Studio upgrade free. And we have a public beta that you can download now, and then you can try out all these new features. So it's pretty cool. Plus, one thing we'll be doing
remember
at
what I
NAB
said at
is
the beginning of the
showing
stream? I
Vision
said,
Pro
look,
workflow as
yes,
well. We've
you
been
can
putting
do it
that
upgrade,
into
but it's
DaVinci.
like you
We'll have
can
some Vision Pros
never,
on the booth, plus an
never, but
Immersive
it's
Immersive,
never
and
been.
then we
It's
can
like
show the
it's
immersive
like a
pro
never
workflow
set
with
rule.
Resolve
They can always do
20.
it. But
It's all
hey,
new, and there's
camera
more added
times,
features as we
camera
go.
times, people.
It's all very exciting. It's
So,
like a whole new viewing
here we go.
experience. It's awesome. And it's all integrated into DaVinci Resolve 20. There's so many different ways immersive can be used. So it's going to be fantastic just to have conversations with everybody about it. Okay, so now let's talk about Blackmagic Cloud. Now, Blackmagic Cloud ties all these workflows together from a production point of view.
Okay.
So we've
Why
also
you
been
do
working
that,
on some
Grant?
new features in Blackmagic Cloud for post-production. There's a lot of improvements we can add, and one of the areas we've worked on is storage. So currently, Blackmagic Cloud Storage is linked to a DaVinci Resolve project, but that's quite limiting. So now you can create a cloud folder without a library. It's just shared storage, and you can then create it and share it. You can access it in DaVinci Resolve, even in a local project. So let me show you. So I'll just let me just declutter a few things here. Which I'll get rid of this panel. I need the switch panel now, and I'll just quit a few things. Okay, so
Exactly. He said,
we
wait,
have
there's more.
the cloud section here, and I'll go to cloud storage here. So this is where we set up the cloud folder. So let's create one. Well, actually, the guys have already created one for me. I mean, it doesn't look like much without any clips in it, but let's drag some files in. So we'll go to, this is actually the Hyperdeck Shuttle Pro over there. So what we'll do is we'll just drag the proxy folder in to save ourselves some time, so we don't have a lot of time. So you can see it's now uploading the clips here, and there's an upload status. Oh, it's done. And so you can see it uploading, and the clips will then be listed when they've loaded. So you can see the clips have arrived. And then the
cool.
thumbnails will come through as they're processed in the servers. So you can see the clips arriving there, and I can mouse over them to see them. Cool. So now I can change to a thumbnail view. Oh, sorry, I have a list view and a thumbnail view, so you can see them there. Now, once they're uploaded to the server creates the thumbnail. It takes a few seconds to do that. And you can obviously see the thumbnails there, but you can roll the mouse over, and you can also get the clip metadata. And so we have a metadata window on the side here. And then you can get the metadata and clip information. This helps you manage your media in Blackmagic Cloud itself.
This is actually,
if you're doing the storage in Blackmagic Cloud, you're often managing all that storage before it gets to the editors.
That's
So,
actually really cool,
let's
because
open
now
it.
that
We'll
I
look
can,
at the info file
we can
open
put
here,
information
and
in,
then if I
put the
click on
metadata in,
one of the
and
clips
if
here,
you use like
you'll
a
see
lot
all
of the
the
scene, the
metadata
text, and
appear.
the smart bids, you can use
Pretty
the smart
cool.
bids, and it can
And you can
really
also
help
mouse
you with
over
your
the,
editing. So that's
palette
actually
here
really
as
cool.
well. And that's been created in the servers. So it's pretty cool.
No, I
But we
agree,
want to share this
Ramir.
folder with our editors, so we can do that. Let's
Look,
do that.
it's been a long
So I'll
time.
sharing
Again,
menu.
thank you all for continuing to be
So
here
I'll
and
go
watching,
here and I can type
streaming,
in
or watching this with me. Everything has been really
one.
cool.
I can add them.
But
So I've got multiple people.
Resolve is just like
Now my folder shared with multiple
insane.
people. And you can add or remove people
So,
at any time. Now let's
but
see what this
I'm
looks
ready
like
for
in
the
DaVinci
cameras, and
Resolve.
I think he
Now, we
realized.
don't need
I
a
think
shared
Rich
project in
realized that
DaVinci.
they're
You
running
can just
way
load this
longer
folder
than
in any
I
project.
think even
The
he
same way you
anticipated.
import a local folder. In DaVinci, it's just a cloud folder. So let's do that. So I'll go into DaVinci. I've got my, well, I've still got my replay.
Yes, the
thing going on
candy.
here.
We're here for the candy.
So let's, well, just bring the folder in, I guess.
Let's give us the candy.
There it is there. Add folder under, add, and then there it is there. There's my folder. Now the media is not actually really in the project unless it's loaded into the timeline and used. It'll load the proxies first, and so you can scroll the media in the folder immediately in the source tape. So you can see all your media. And there it is there. That's already come through in DaVinci when I added it. So you can go into the source tape, scroll through the media, and then when I see a shot that I like, I can edit that into the timeline, and then it'll, as you edit in the timeline, it'll download the original camera media original file once you've done that. So it stays with the so the cloud.
Not
so the
not
media
4
that you've
hours
used in
yet,
the
but
timeline will
we're
stay with the
creeping up to
project,
that.
Or if you select to download it, or if you move it outside of the cloud folder, it'll then stay with the project. So even if the cloud folder disappears,
Yeah,
because
it's
someone else
been
shares
a
it with
while, man.
you won't lose the
So
shots
again,
that are
thank
in
you
your edit.
guys. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me.
And you won't have any offline clips in your edit. So you can just, you can obviously drag shots out of the cloud folder into the normal bin if you want to keep them.
Yeah,
Also,
well, maybe
shots in
if
the
there's
bin
multiple
will
cameras, that would be dope.
like recreated if someone updates them.
We'll see.
So if you don't want that to happen, you can drag a file out of there. So it's pretty cool. So it's really good for keeping the latest shots updated. If someone's doing like master titles, they can be recreating them and you'll have the latest versions. But if you don't want that, you can just drag it out of the folder before you use it. Now you can also add files into this folder and it'll upload them. And anyone who has access to this folder will also then be able to share those media as well. And those cloud folders will appear in the cameras, they appear
Blackmagic Cloud
everywhere.
Cloud.
So you can share
Blackmagic
into
Cloud
the cloud
is
folder, into the storage, and Blackmagic Cloud will then sync
extremely
the files
powerful
into the editors
for
even
what
if
you
it's just
could
got a
do
local
with
project.
that.
And this is what makes the cloud folders so powerful. They're synced to DaVinci Resolve, but they're also supported in our cameras, in our cloud stores, in Hyperdeck Shuttle Pro 4K, plus the Blackmagic camera app for the phone, for the iPhone and Android, will all be updated to support Blackmagic Cloud folders. So customers can buy the storage without needing a DaVinci Resolve library, and the media can be uploaded and managed in Blackmagic Cloud. Also, the permissions are set in Blackmagic Cloud as well, so you can share a folder. Also, you can share a folder with the organization, so you can use the organization features as well. Now, Blackmagic Cloud folders will be available as a public beta with DaVinci Resolve 20. We'll be releasing updates for cameras and cloud stores over the coming weeks, and I think it's already supported in the Blackmagic camera app. And we've been using it in-house, and it's really good. So next, I'd like to talk about network storage. We have a new software update we'll be releasing. It adds SMB3 multi-channel support. This lets users transfer more data using multiple 10G Ethernet ports. And that's great if your computers support it. It's great with the Blackmagic Media Dock because you can do.
No, pricing is not bad. Like I think right now,
we'll be adding SMB
for
signing,
the
which is
half
needed for Windows
terabyte
support.
that we have,
And
I
that
think it's
Blackmagic
like
Cloud Store update 1.6
I think it's
is available
like
now, and it's a free update, and it works with all
like
Blackmagic
$7.50
Cloud
a
Store
month.
models.
Like it's nothing.
Okay, so we also have another Cloud Store update coming soon, and we'll be adding NFS support. Some people have asked for NFS support, so we've been working hard on implementing that. Now we're testing it now, so keep an eye out for that if you need NFS support in Blackmagic Cloud stores. Okay, now let's talk about cameras.
All right, we're finally talking about cameras. Okay, we got cameras.
Autofocus and pre-record. Autofocus lets the camera live track the focus of objects. So if something moves, it'll stay in focus, and that's more important on large format sensors. They've got a really nice shallow depth of field.
Wait,
the objects can move out of focus really easily.
Wait, what?
So now the camera will just track the object and stay focused.
Oh, so camera autofocus.
Works. Now I've got a Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K here, which I'll bring out.
Wait.
And I'll plug in a monitor cable so you can we can cut to that and you can see the result.
Wait, what? Autofocus on? There's continuous autofocus?
Now there's a focus mode.
Did he just say continuous autofocus?
Around here to get the camera. We'll see if you can get that. So we'll bring that in. So there's the focus controls there, if you can see those. And I can now object track.
We have continuous autofocus?
Now tracking the focus, and if you can see that.
What?
There. Now that's basically tracking whatever's in that position. That's called continuous autofocus.
What?
So if I move around here a bit, and I change the tracking, it'll stay focused. So you can see if I move, probably see that if you switch the HDMI out, and I move to the connectors, you can see the BNC connectors are now out of focus. But as I move back, it'll change the focus. And of course, if I move in and out, it'll stay focused on that section.
What?
And I don't know if you can pick this up. If you get too close for the lens and the lens won't focus, it goes red. See that? Gives you a red indicator that the lens is at the end of its travel, which is, I think, really nice.
No.
Then there's
no. So it's been there the whole time?
So you can select that. And what object tracking will do, and if you can see the back of that there, as you move the shot around, it'll track the object.
What? I had to text my friends.
So as you move out, you move in, it'll keep the focus. So now you can reposition the framing, and those connectors will stay in focus. That's pretty cool.
So so this got to be a firmware update.
That's awesome. And of course, I think it'll still show you when it gets too close. Yeah, so he's having a problem. I think that's nice. You can see the move around and stays in focus. Now, one of the other ones, I would need a couple of
No, Joe, this is not April Fool's.
Marketing area. So there's also face recognition. So
if
I
this
can
is
do
the
if I
cinema
bring the
camera
camera
6K,
over
this is
here,
not a new camera.
and if you can get a
It's
shot of
in
that,
the camera
see
then.
how it's now recognised the faces?
Yes, they really
So I
said
can
home by
move
here.
in on
John,
the
what's
face,
yo, John? You been here this
move
whole
around and
time,
stay in focus.
and you
But I
haven't
can
said
also
anything? What's up?
select another face, and it'll jack back the focus across the
13
other
stops.
person.
You're right. Grant
Now
has
I
got
can
all the Infinity
focus
Stones.
Move around, and it'll recognise everybody.
Yo, they just like
That'd be pretty cool.
low key just said, let's just add continuous offers for software
awesome.
update.
So, we've actually added a neural net into the camera, and it's an AI process that's doing all this
Like,
stuff.
how far
It's
will
really
this go
exciting.
back?
Our plan will be to public beta the new autofocus feature, and then initially we'll support this Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K. This camera has an L-mount lens, which we need for autofocus.
Yes. All right.
We've been
That's why.
testing with a
So
lot
I'm
of
happy.
lenses.
I'm glad.
We
This
hope
is
to
why I
release
got
the
the Cinema Camera
autofocus
6K.
on other
This is
cameras
why
with
we
large
got it.
format sensors as well pretty soon. So we'll keep working on that. Now this update will be called Blackmagic Cameras 9.5, and it will actually post it today as a public beta on our website, so you can just download that and give it a try.
I'll give it. Oh,
Now, I
well,
wanna
I'm
talk
definitely
about
going to give it a try.
pre-record. Now, a lot of broadcasters need this because they need to be constantly recording without filling the media. And pre-record lets you basically record before
Yeah,
your
that's.
main
I don't
recording.
know.
And
I
you can
have
set how
so
much
I have
pre-cache you want.
the Sigma
Now, let me show you how
28 to
that
70
works. I'm
f2.8.
gonna do
So
it with
I'll
Pyxis
see how
6K
much it
here.
works on that one.
So I'll sort myself out here. Let me make some space.
I think it's just current.
I'll grab
John, Jonas, I think it's probably going to be current gen. I don't know if it's
So
going to be
you
like
can
the
see
older
that, if I can get a
4K
shot
and 6K cameras.
of that. Over here. Is that a focus?
Now they
I've
just
got a
need
few
one stop
more
harvest to
here,
start.
you can get in on there. So to do a pre-record, you can just hold down the record button for 2 seconds, and it'll
Ooh, we
start
get a
pre-recording.
pre-recorded.
The pre-record duration is displayed above the record button. So let's hold that finger down there to start the pre-record. There you go, so you can see it. So now
Vin,
what it's doing
what's
is
up?
it's got a certain amount of cache that you've set in the menu that'll be stored and continually flushed through. So then when you start recording, it'll add that to the start of the file. So let me start recording. There I am recording. And now what it'll have done is it's putting it's currently recording into the file, but it's put the additional pre-record in front of that. Now after the recording stopped, it'll come out of pre-record. So you'll see there it is there. Now so holding your finger on the button is like a temporary pre-record, but you can also turn this on in the menu, and it'll always
Oh,
do,
it's
pre-record for the recordings.
Mr.
So to do that, we
Mr.
go into the
Innovative,
menus.
they gotta come to the
Okay.
sensor. It has to come to the sensor, and
We're
I'm
gonna
pretty
turn
sure
on
it's going to
the
come to
pre-record. You can see if we can get a shot from it here.
all of the current gens.
And now when you go back, the pre-record's always on, and you can see there's a menu to turn it on. And you can also change the pre-record duration in that menu as well. So there it is, it's all on. And it'll always be on, and it'll always be used when you record. So if I start recording, I'll use the side button, see there? And when I finish recording, the pre-record's still there. It's still now keeping
yeah,
a
I mean,
cache, so everything
we'll
the camera
see.
sees, it'll record. So I can set the camera up to watch something.
But now,
then
and
when
we got
some kind of event
pre-record too.
happens,
That's
I
dope.
won't miss the start of it. So
That
that'll
is
be
that
really
is
cool.
awesome.
Now, the new pre-record feature will be released on the Pyxis 6K and the URSA Broadcast G2 initially, before before we run it out on other camera models, because we want to make sure these new features
he
are
almost
working
slipped
well,
out the
and a bit of
camera.
public beta testing is always good. Now, this update will be called Blackmagic Cameras 9.6, and it should be released in a few weeks. So if you have one of these cameras, then you can download it and give it a try. Okay, so one other update I've got before we move on to new cameras is we have an update.
New
to,
cameras.
Blackmagic
Plural.
Micro Studio Camera
He said
4K
cameras.
G2, and it'll now support the Pyxis monitor. This is great because the Micro Studio camera has a USB port, and that supports the monitor. Plus, it also supports the heads-up display, so it looks like a regular camera with an LCD built in. And you can also tap on the heads-up display
Yeah,
control.
that is
because
going to
it's
go.
USB, so you actually have a touch screen, and you can even set the menus. So let me bring it out and show you. I'll just move the Pyxis aside.
Blackmagic will most likely release it to support all the
this,
current
here
gen
it is here.
cameras once it's out of beta.
So there's a Micro
Yeah,
Studio
totally
camera,
agree. No, they're going to have it come
with
for
a
all the
monitor
current gen.
plugged in. So Micro Studio cameras are generally rigged. So you could have the Pyxis monitor on a long USB cable,
no, those
and you
days
could
are
use the
Trevor.
camera
Those days are
remotely.
over, man. So,
Like if
and
the
it's also
camera's
cool
at the end
that
of a boom,
the
you can have a long USB
Micro
cable
Studio
wrapped on a lighting rig.
4K is
So
now
I can show
going to
you
be sort of
the,
purchase.
You can get a shot
Yo,
of
this is.
there. You can see you got the heads-up display. So you can
Oh,
adjust
this is actually going to.
settings,
Yo,
put a
this
sun
is.
fade up.
I
go
think
to the
this.
menus.
I think the Micro Studio
Pretty cool.
is there.
You
That's what's
can
going to
swipe to move,
completely
remove
replace the Pocket camera now.
controls.
The
So
Pocket
it's all really
4K.
cool. And you can even bring on digital slate, and you can enter metadata.
Like, because now you can control everything right
Digital
there. And
slides
now
there if
you
you
got
want a shot of that.
you got a golf ball
There it is.
size camera.
It's pretty
So,
cool.
oh,
You can
they're
access the
not
menus.
playing. They are
So
not
if you want to change the
playing.
record settings, so you could go into the record setting, which is actually already up there. There it is there. You can see it. You can
For
even load
right
3D
now,
LUTs
for
if
right
you can use
now,
3D LUT, load a 3D LUT. There it is, it's
right
really
now,
nice.
man, it looks like it's just they're putting out for a
So,
few cameras.
So the software update for this will be called Blackmagic Cameras 9.7. It'll be a free update and available in a few weeks. We're actually just need a bit more time testing it. And then you can use your Pyxis monitor with your Blackmagic Micro Cinema Camera 4K G2, which I think is going to be a wonderful combination. It's going to be nice. Okay, so now I want to talk about URSA Cine. So I'll bring out a URSA Cine 17K. So you can have a look.
Yeah,
A bit of a
I
size
mean,
difference with
they're
those
going to
two.
talk about the
So we
17K
recently
because this will be
introduced a body-only version of the URSA Cine 12K. I'm actually not sure why we didn't do that originally. Yeah, we only had it in kit form with all the accessories, but we designed the camera to work with the industry accessories. So it was a bit strange that only ship it with accessories and we didn't have a body-only model. So that's why we introduced
yo,
the
that's
body-only
true.
model.
They could crush it.
Includes
If they
an
imagine if they
mount
build a
and
true
press
action
media
camera,
module.
that would be insane.
But pretty much that's it. That's all you get. It's just the body, and you can put all the accessories on that you already have. So now that the URSA Cine 17K is shipping, we want to do the same thing for it. So we're introducing the Blackmagic URSA Cine 17K 65 body. So I can bring one of those in.
So body. So now they got a body only 17K.
It's the body only.
Body only 65
version.
millimeter.
There it is there. Now this body is the same as the rigged one here. They're both URSA Cine 17K 65
So what's the price
cameras,
of this?
But the body only model means you can rig it with the gear you already own.
My guess the
And
body
this
only is
rig
going to
has,
probably be
stuff from a
like
lot of
20,
different companies.
20,000.
But there is some differences between the body only packages for the 12K and 17K cameras. The 12K camera includes an EF lens mount, but on the 17K camera will include a PL lens mount, as you can see on the front there. Plus also we're going to include a 8 terabyte media module. So even though you can shoot an 8K on this camera at 65mm, I think anyone who buys it's probably going to want to see, try out 17K.
So the terabyte
So we felt like it'd probably
modules
be
come
worth
with.
including the full 8 terabyte media module, which you can see here. So that'll come with it.
Gabriel's
And it'll
saying
handle
it's
that,
going to be
really high
16K
resolution shooting if you
body
want
only.
to
Do you
that
guys
really
agree?
well.
My call
Otherwise,
is
it's the same
20K.
amazing camera that we've got here.
Yeah,
It's got the
yeah, I'm
built-in
with you,
screens on the
Marani.
side
20K,
and it's
20K.
station over here. So that's really nice. And of course, it records in Blackmagic RAW. So you don't need external recorders. There's high-speed 10G Ethernet network storage built in.
It's like, yes,
the 8,
Trevor.
The 8 terabyte module is network storage, but you access it over the 10G Ethernet. It even has the built-in high-speed Wi-Fi. Plus, it syncs with Blackmagic Cloud for real-time, and it does real-time HD proxies. Even when recording in 17K, you still get the proxies. So DaVinci systems get the media while the camera's recording. So it means you can do post-production while you're shooting. And if the editors need anything, they can call you and let you know because you're still doing the shoot while they're editing. So it's really nice. You can even live stream straight from this camera. So producers and post-production teams can, watch the shoot. And if we send it in the Blackmagic Cloud, and you can bring it in the multi-view.
So Trevor says 20K.
On set, streaming into a multi-view, then that coming
Saint
out
Production
into a
says 20 to
decoder on a
22K.
television in the production
Jonas
office.
says
I think it'd be really
16K.
nice. So it's such a nice camera. Everyone's worked
Or
really hard on
70.
it.
Or
And so the
he switches
price of
17K.
The Blackmagic URSA Cine 17K 65 body.
Yes.
Only model will be priced at
22, 22.
And it's available for order
Saint
now,
called it.
because we're building
Saint
it now.
called it.
Okay, so now let's talk about Pyxis, Blackmagic Pyxis.
All right, here we
It's been
go.
Received really well.
Here we go.
And people are using it to do some amazing work. How we thought it'd
Pyxis
be really
time.
nice to kind of create a news camera for broadcast with it. We've always pushed digital film quality in broadcast, so why should feature films look like films? I think any kind of work could look like films. So we thought it'd be really nice to rig a Pyxis for television production. So we've got 2 new products to help that. First, let me show you the camera. Here it is here.
There's 2.
There we go there. Now, this is a Blackmagic Pyxis 6K with an L-mount lens, and you can see it's rigged very differently. It's on top is a television production handle, and then the side.
So
is
yeah,
a
so this is
side
the
grip
Pyxis.
as well.
So they're showing off the Pyxis
So you
Pro
can see
handle.
it's a really
So
nice
this is what I was talking
It's
about. Yeah.
essentially an extended viewfinder built into a handle with a microphone. On the front, you can see it's got a stereo mic, and if you can get a close up of that.
That is.
And
like
there's
I said-
also a lead indicator for when it's recording and tally. There's mounting points on it on the sides there, and also there's a viewfinder on the back here that tilts up. That's really nice. Now it's got the same glass lenses as the Cinema Camera Pro EVF, so it's really good quality, and it really has a really nice fine focus adjustment. Plus, you can even set up a focus chart so you can focus it. So it's an OLED display that's really sharp.
Yeah.
And again, the same display in the Cinema Camera Pro EVF.
Like I
So
said,
it's
this
a
is
very
let's go
premium
to like a
accessory for
handicap.
Pyxis.
Let's go to.
That's because,
This
yeah,
is
Pyxis is
literally
not a
what I
cheap video
asked
camera.
for. Like when
It's
the
a full
Pyxis was first
high-end format
announced,
digital
I was
film
like,
camera.
put a
So
side
on the
handle on
store,
it,
you
give
just
me
bolt it on
give me
top
it
of
from
the
the
camera,
back, make
and
it
you
like a
plug the USB
handicap.
connections in.
It will be
And we also
it will be
include
dope
a custom
because
USB
it'll be
cable with it, and
much
that
more
locks down on the
discreet.
camera with
You
locking
look a
screws.
little bit more
Now, we've also
touristy,
got
and
some
you don't have
controls
to.
on the top, which I'll see if I can.
And you can also
get a shot of
stabilize the
See
camera.
there? So you can adjust it. There's a couple of function buttons, and you can adjust the zoom
That
and
top
record,
that top handle
and
is
there's a
dope.
mount on the top.
That is an
So if
that.
you've got a
Again,
zoom
I
lens, you
don't
can
know
actually
how
zoom
it
from the
feels,
handle,
but the look
which
of
is nice
it
if you're using the camera down low.
looks
'cause
like
you
a
can get
dope
down
top
low
handle.
with it. So it's really good because you can do it with your thumb.
Yeah,
So
Trevor,
you
this
can
is the
also record
same
on top with a record
insane
button.
number of
So we've
announcements.
also got a side handle. Now this is really a video style grip that lets you hold the camera. It's got it bolts onto the side. Actually, it bolts onto the side of the camera where the Pyxis mount is. So it also plugs into the USB port, and there's a USB-C loop on there, top handle for that. It's got a hand strap, so you can put your hand through it. And it also includes a zoom control on the top, if you get a shot of that.
The man,
it's quite
we
nice.
let the man speak. The man
So
has
you
been
can
speaking
zoom
for going
by
on
holding it.
over
It also has a
almost
record
3
button on the back.
hours. Trust
Let me,
me,
bring that
Mark,
around so
he's
you
been
can see that.
speaking.
So you can get a shot of that. So you can hold it and then record with the record button. And so I think these work really well together. I think it's really cool. Now, with these accessories, I think Pyxis makes a really great television production camera. And of course, it syncs to Blackmagic Cloud. So imagine using it for news. And as you shoot, the media's arriving back at the station in real time. You can even live stream from it, which we were doing before. Plus, with the new pre-record, I think it makes it perfect for broadcast. And it'll also get the autofocus stuff soon as well. So I think it's going to really help raise the quality of broadcast production and news, because this goes way beyond what a traditional broadcast camera can do. And I think it's time broadcasters had better quality, digital film quality. So the Blackmagic Pyxis Pro handle will be priced at $895.
That's dope.
And the
Ooh,
Blackmagic
that
Pyxis
is
Pro side handle will be priced at $119.
that is
I think they
expensive
should
for
be
a
available
top
in
handle.
June or July.
$900 for a
I can't
top
wait
handle.
to chat with broadcasters at the show about it. You know, we've got a lot of broadcasters switching to DaVinci Resolve, and they've been super happy with it, but they're not happy with their old camera gear. So I think this will be really like a dream camera for them. Okay, now we've got next we've got a new camera. We have a new Blackmagic Pyxis camera today.
All right, here
So
we
what
go.
we've done is we've taken
Here we
the
go.
Blackmagic Pyxis design and upgraded it, and we've added our 12K sensor from URSA and added it into the Pyxis design.
Yep. Okay.
So we have all new electronics and processing
3
to
by
handle
2.
it, and it's amazing. Plus, we've upgraded the network connection to 10G Ethernet, and it also has a
Nice,
USB-C
10G.
connection that's faster now, so it can record quicker to discs and things. So let me bring it out. Here it is here. You can see how small it is, but it's a full frame 12K sensor. Let me take the lens cap off. There it is there. So we can get a shot of that sensor. I'll get there. So this is an amazing sensor. Now the top frame rates aren't as high as URSA obviously, because that camera is insane. But it does do, you know, I mean that URSA does hundreds of frames a second. But this 12K sensor performs very well on this camera. Now you can shoot in 4K, 8K, and 12K in large format. I think people think you have to shoot in 12K, but you don't have to do that. The sensors have got multi-scaling built in, so it lets the photo sites get combined, so you can shoot at lower resolutions.
What's the frame rate
large format
options?
Sensor frame. So you don't need to window the sensor to get the higher frame rates. You can window the sensor if you want, but you can shoot 4K and the whole sensor open gate, all in Blackmagic RAW. So it's awesome. Now you can
So
shoot large
he's saying
format open gate
6,000.
in 4K 3x2 up to 72 frames a second, or
Okay.
4K 2.4:1 up to 112 frames a second.
I'll-
It's the same
okay.
with 8K. You get
72
large
frames.
format open gate at
Look,
8K,
I'll take it. 72 frames.
3x2 up to 72
112
frames a second.
frames. All right.
And the 12K frame rate is lower because there's more data, but you can
For-
shoot large
40
format
frames a
open
second.
gate 12K 3x2 up to 40 frames a second, and it also does 12K 70x9 up to 50 frames a second, and 12K 2.4:1 up to 60 frames a second.
Okay.
So it's an amazing camera. I'll put the lens cap back on.
Look, 112 frames a second. I'll take it.
So
I'll take it.
Now all the accessories from Pyxis work. I can bring out one that's fully rigged here. There it is there. So you can see it's a wonderful digital cinema camera. The images look amazing. The front has the USB-C port for the viewfinders and monitors, plus the mini XLR socket on the front with the phantom power for the microphones. So you can check out the back. On the back, it's got the faster USB-C port for external SSDs.
And
it
that's
has the 12G
Ernesto,
SDI
yes,
for
it's the
monitoring, and there's a
RGBW
BNC connector for
sensor.
timecoder
It's the
referencing.
same one that's
And
in
now
the
it's
Ursa
10G
City
Ethernet,
12K.
lets it connect to your network, so it acts like network storage. So editors can mount the CF Express cards and actually edit while you're working. And so just by essentially opening the camera up to the network, there's a 12-volt DC power connection plus a 3.5mm audio input for microphones and a
So
3
12 so yeah, 12
audio
volt.
output for headphones. It's also got the two CF Express cards, so you can do non-stop recording because you keep swapping the cards. And
John,
then,
I
when
told
the
you,
card
man,
fills.
it's a side handle.
So
Just
on the
go,
side,
just
it's
go
got
get yourself a
the,
small rig side handle,
built-in
man.
4-inch LCD.
You're
You can see
getting
that
so
there.
much for it.
You get a shot of that with the touch controls. Plus, it's got dedicated buttons for iris focus and record and more. There's even a HFR button, which is really helpful. Gives you high frame rate access instantly. And it's got some dedicated function
Notice
buttons.
I
It
assume the
records in
rolling
Blackmagic
shutter is
Raw.
going to be
It's got
the
support
same.
for
It's
3D light on the
the
monitor-
same
3D
sensor.
light on the monitoring output.
It's just
And you can
it's
adjust all
just
the menus
been
on the side
a
screen.
power. The frame rate
You can get a-
changes
you can
the
get a shot of the
power,
side screen. I
not
can show you
necessarily. I don't think
record
has
menu.
anything to do with the
Let me
readout
bring that
speed.
up. So, menu, record, and you can see the. If I bring that around there, I think you probably get a shot of it. There, you can see all the different record options there, and also records a HD proxy. And then, of course, you can share your media with Blackmagic Cloud, and the proxies will upload first. It also live streams, even though when you're doing 12K, it'll do that. And so it has all the DaVinci Resolve. And
I don't
Blackmagic
think it
Cloud
has internal
workflows.
NDs.
So I
Well,
think
hey,
it's
he
really
hasn't finished talk about it.
So the Blackmagic Pyxis 12K will be available in
$5,000.
L-mount,
Okay,
EF, and PL mount models. All three of these models will be priced at $4,995. I think
nice.
it's such a nice camera. It's so portable.
For $5,000.
You can take
Yes.
it anywhere. It's really nice. And it works great with URSA Cine 12K or 17K on multi-camera shoots.
$5,000.
Because it's got the latest Generation 5 color science. I mean, this is the camera I want to take on holiday. It's just,
I mean, look, that was
just
it made
beautiful.
sense. It's
I can't wait to get one
5,000 sit
myself.
right in
So it'll
between
be available in July.
the old Pyxis and the
As
City.
usual, we'll be doing a bunch of testing. There's so many features on these cameras nowadays that it takes a bit longer to test than it used to. Now, one more thing before we finish up. We have
One
a new
more
Sentinel
thing.
scanner today.
One
it's
more
based
thing.
on the current model, but it's designed for 8mm small format film. It has different optics, a different optics path. So it's higher resolution in 8mm film, and it's also higher resolution in 16mm film than the standard model, which is really good if you're doing a lot of 8 and 16mm film. It also
Wait, are
features
they
a new
are they
16mm
making a
gate
film
design.
camera?
What we've done is we're using
Are they about to
rollers
make a
instead of
film
skid
camera?
plate. So there's basically no wear, and the film's mechanically more stable. So because it's rolling across rollers, not scraping across the skid plate. Now the new scanner is called the Sintel Scanner 8/16. It'll be priced at the same price as the current standard model, so it'll retail for $32,045. So that's all for this update. We've got quite a lot of products and updates we've been working on. It's really nice to be able to explain.
We've made it
everything
through.
and Sort of some of our thoughts about sort of why we designed them or how we designed them. Also, I want to thank everyone at Blackmagic Design. Everyone has worked so hard on all these products, so it's pretty cool being able to work with such a smart team. So thanks for watching. Please travel safely if you're heading to the show.
Yeah,
so
no,
take
there's
care.
no internal
Bye for now.
NDs. No
See ya.
internal NDs. All right. Okay, so we have. So let me go ahead and silence this. So yeah, guys, we finally got. So we got it. The Blackmagic Pyxis 12K. It's going to shoot. You can shoot 12K up to 60 frames a second, 8K and 4K up to 112 frames a second. Perfectly fine. There is no internal NDs, which is what I anticipated because I was like, they're not going to do internal NDs. But there was still a lot of great things. I know a lot of, look, it was a long, and again, there's 85 of you guys right here. Thank you guys so much for staying here. It's been a long process. The Pyxis is a day one buy. Even it's $5,000. That's going to be worth it. That top, like the top handle, it's dope. But $900 for a top handle it's going to be a bit much. But I have to get ready to get going. I really did not anticipate this. But let's get. I got a few more minutes to get some final thoughts and talk to you guys. Obviously the Pyxis 12K is what everybody was excited for. They of course announced a body only 17K. I think there's going to be some people, some higher end filmmakers who are going to look at the body only and build it out. But what's the thing that you're excited about the Pyxis and Resolve? The Resolve features are insane, especially those new audio and fusion updates. I'm definitely going to be downloading Resolve 20, the beta version of Resolve 20, and checking it out. But it's been a great update. The Pyxis for me is a day one. I was just hoping as long as I could get 100 frames a second, and either 8K or 4K. Even if it was just 4K, I didn't matter as long as I get like at least 100, and we do. So I'm excited about that. It's I can't wait to get my hands on that camera. It's definitely gonna be day one. I'm definitely gonna get it as soon as I can. I know it's been a long time and you guys have endured it. Let's go just see right here. It's been fun. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. They just out tap Apple for content and are 1/10 of the cost. They need to make an ND adapter like the red ones. I was thinking, I think that's what I was expecting, but it looks like the mount is still not interchangeable, which really sucks. Best creative company on earth. They're definitely on the top ones. I definitely agree with that. The autofocus. I was like when they were just like, oh yeah, well we got continuous autofocus. So I've got to update my cinema camera 6K. So in the next couple days, I'm going to update that and I'm going to give you, I got on my camera is the 28 to 70 f2.8 Sigma lens. That's L mount. I'm going to give it a shot and see how it works and get back to you guys on that. Rob says he likes the URSA City 12K better. Totally get it. I mean, the frame rates are ridiculous, and it's definitely made for like a large crew production. I just personally love this Pyxis for solo operating, which is where I get a lot of it. Stuart, buy one? Yeah, we're definitely going to be buying one. Jones, thanks again for being here, man. I really appreciate it. Wow, we got to 100 right here. It is with an EVF. Yes, that is true. It is with an EVF. So and it's got a record button on the top. So it's just like, wow, that's a lot. Look, I've still got a dog. Because I gotta travel all the way down to Virginia for a baby shower tonight, so I can be there in time for the afternoon. Wait, I missed the part where he said it's gonna ship. It's gonna ship in July, so it's not coming out immediate. So I was wrong about that. I was hoping that they were like, oh, it's shipping now, so probably means we won't get it till October. Let's be honest. That's probably what it means. Yeah. They updated the store. They updated the company. The whole company just got updated. Like, Gino, thank you so much, man. Again, appreciate it for hanging out with me. The Resolve audio features were amazing. Dude, I'm so amazed and sick by it, but I'm also feeling, because I know my sound mixing buddies are like, they've got to really tweak and work around it. Yeah, ships in July. Saving time, JJ. Not sure what that means. I reckon those frame rates will improve with firmware like the Pyxis did. It's possible, but Jonas, I think it has more to do with power consumption, because with the URSA City 12K, if it's run on 12-volt power, the frame rates are automatically limited to 60 frames a second. So it may be more of a power issue than necessarily the camera itself. But hey, they've done more things that I didn't think they could actually do, and somehow they did it. Is the Pyxis 12K the same size as the Pixel 6K? Yeah, it's essentially the same size. It looks, now I could be wrong, but from the looks of it, it was the same size. Probably January. It's probably January. That is true. That's true. AK 120 is saying the only non-Blackmagic camera that can do that is the V Raptor. Well, technically, I think it's 800. It's 112, but close enough. Close enough. Amazing. Yes. I'll be waiting for the review of the autofocus. Yes, like I said, I'm gonna definitely update it. As soon as I get a chance to update it, I'll keep you guys updated on that. I'm only torn between the PL and the L mount. Well, for me, given the fact that it still doesn't have NDs, that tells me I'm going to go with the L mount, just for the variety that it can offer. Top handle of audio, record, zoom, control, view, 900 miles, not bad. True. Okay, that is true, Central. I'll give that to you. I wish we could change out the mouse. I agree. That I don't really know what was the reason they gave us for why we couldn't change out these mounts, but I really wish they had. Specs are up on the website. When I'm going to air DaVinci Resolve 20, in the next couple days. So in the next couple days, I'll do the autofocus, and then I'm going to update my older computer, which has Resolve 19. I'm going to update it to Resolve Beta 20 so I can test it here before I move it into my main computer. In VA, we're going to Richmond. Gabriel, we're going. My friend is in Richmond, so that's the part of Virginia we're going to be in. Thanks, Stuart, for being here. Yeah, guys, there's somebody for the Pyxis 12K. Yeah, I've got some stuff lined out. Credit card is going to be used. It's definitely going to be used. Notice the poster on the Pyxis. Let's see here. No, yeah, that's the one I'm shocked by. No new video assist. I was really anticipating that that would be something they would do, but there's no video assist, which I'm shocked by. Something about the difference about the amount of text. Oh no, I didn't mention. I didn't see that. Oh, but I'll keep it out. Not gonna lie, I wish they had a do. Gabriel, I'm totally with you. Like the L mount is cool, but given the type of camera it is that doesn't really have an autofocus, this would have been really, really great with an L mount camera. Jonathan, I think I'm selling my Komodo X now. Yeah, for a camera that shoots 12K, 60 frames a second, 8K, 112 frames a second, and 4K as well, for $5,000 compared to the Komodo X Super 35. Look, it's still a global shutter, and it's still a great camera. I'm not trying to compare it, but Blackmagic has really, really added the pressure. Just got to get back to edit. I got to get going too, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and just wrap things up. Before this, James, which ND filter do you use on your Pyxis 4? So I use K&F Concept as one is, or if I'm using my matte box, because I have a Tilta Mirage melt box, I use the variable ND filter on the Mirage. But either that or I use K&F Concepts ND filters. So those are the ones. But I gotta get going. I'm definitely gonna do give a video on the thought process. I don't know when, because there's so much going on today, but I'm definitely going to give my thoughts on it, so stay tuned. Maybe it may just be just on an Osmo, just raw thoughts, nothing really to edit, so that may be it. But thank you guys so much for joining me on this stream. I really do appreciate it. It's been awesome. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. And as always, until next time. Take care, everyone.